Yeah.
All right. I think we're live, bro.
I think we are.
I think we are. I could see myself. I think we are live. You got the camera on me, though.
Just make sure the audio is good. No.
Oh, let me turn this on. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay, bet. Perfect.
All right. We're good, bro. All right, guys. Welcome. It's your show. You do the intro.
Hold on. I'm make sure everything's active.
All right, I'll do the intro. Welcome to the debrief, guys. I've hijacked the studio.
There we go.
I'm here. I'm here with Akademiks.
He finally took me up on my offer.
Hey, man, you finally showed up.
So that time I was beat, bro.
Yeah, I know. I told them that it was your birthday the day before. They were trying to spam. Oh, Elak. I was like, bro, it was this dude's birthday. He had a live event with his people.
And then it is what it is. I was done.
And he was drinking the Henny, so I already knew he was cooked. I called it too. I told your sister, I was like, he's cooked, bro. I know he's not going to be able to do this. But here we are.
No, I'm glad we're here. Listen, this is a hybrid of, as you might see, this is off the record. I don't know why we didn't use one of other studios. I think Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's Wi-Fi. So we're using an off the record studio. Got to use it for something. Here's the thing. First and foremost, I'm glad to be doing this. We're combining streams. If you guys haven't noticed, my stream just went up. Mm-hmm. So we're all streaming from like this one thing.
20 locations.
Yo, this is kind of what the YNs do now. Like they'll have like, say Aiden.
Yeah.
Like he'll be at his boxing match and he gives everyone his code and they just plug his code in and they're all streaming Aiden's stream.
Yeah. It's the way to go. Multi-streaming is where it's at, man.
Yeah. Okay. So first and foremost, everybody probably knows why we're here. Listen, probably the biggest trial. I heard someone say since the OJ trial. I wouldn't compare it to the OJ trial.
Yeah, from a race perspective, no.
That shit was on TV.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted,
in the 90s, which was a different time.
I was in Jamaica, and I remember that was on TV all day.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
And I was in Jamaica.
And mind you, in the 90s, the last big case that was televised like that was Ted Bundy. So, and really? That was the first televised trial in American history. And obviously, you know, his case was infamous because he was a serial killer. He was chasing them. He was leading them across multiple states, killed 33 women. You know, serial killing was still relatively new at the time. And he was a lawyer, well, educated as a lawyer. He was a good looking guy. He could, you know, finesse the women. So the Ted Bundy thing was crazy. Then you follow that up with OJ and it's just like, yeah.
Yo, it's super interesting. So like, you know, I've covered.
You guys are in good for a good one tonight, by the way. I hope you guys are ready because you guys are in for a really good one tonight.
Yeah, I've covered a few of these. Oh my God, that's my phone off now. I've covered a few of these. Well, a few of these cases involving high-profile rappers. We did Tory Lanez. We did YSL. I guess we did whoever the killer was of Dolph. But this is super high profile.
O-Block indictment.
O-Block, YNW Melly. This is something else.
Yeah, I think this is the biggest hip-hop case of all time.
Okay, so let's try to bring people into the world that we're in and we're seeing.
Sure.
And I think this is the hardest part of me covering the case, right? Me covering the case is trying to think about my regular audience member. Mm-hmm. And I think I got a pretty smart audience. I think
smart?
they usually, no, smart.
Oh,
smart.
Okay.
They're not like, there's a couple like groups of people that fuck with other people. I'm like, these are dumb motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I can tell you're dumb by basically who you're following. But
yeah, facts.
I know they're pretty smart and shrewd and they're witty and they also could think outside the box. But it's really hard sometimes. I know I put in a lot of prep work in trying to get documents, understand exactly what's going on, even learn new things. And then now I'm like a translator and I got to be entertaining with it.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part for me in covering these things because no one wants to feel like they're tuning into like C-SPAN.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, bro. You know, breaking down legal documents is very boring.
Yes.
You know, whether you're reading a criminal complaint or an indictment, I think criminal complaints are way better because at least you read it from the agent's perspective and it tends to be more detailed with the evidence and how they develop the probable cause versus indictments are, you know, written by the AUSA, far more mundane, not as interesting and more generic and less actual facts pertinent to the case of how they came up with the probable cause. So, because they're going to a grand jury at that point. So it's a lot more formal. But yeah, man, I mean, this case is so different on so many different levels, unprecedented. Obviously, the target with Diddy being, you know, as successful as he is, it's absolutely nuts. I think it's the biggest case probably in the past. I think it's bigger than Epstein. I think it's the second biggest case after Trump. And honestly, at this point, it's bigger than Trump because they never actually took the Trump cases to anywhere. I mean, you can make the argument, oh, he went to trial for the falsified business record case. That was a BS case.
Now we're getting the details here.
Yeah.
Hey, so again, let's kind of break it down for the audience.
Sure.
I'm glad I'm here with you, right? And we're not even there yet.
Yeah.
We do have all the information. But
Yeah.
I want you to describe like what your day is, because I'll tell you what my day is. Like these days now, I'm doing 10-hour streams.
Yep.
I'm like hyped up on coffee. I didn't even know coffee would start giving you like yo, I had bubble guts today.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I drank 2 cups. I'm like, but also it's kind of like really there's a little prep on my side, even to make sure, hey, these are documents that were submitted the night before. It's in the docket. You got to be able to read it because you're gonna have to explain it in the morning. Because sometimes the tweets could be cut and dry. What's your day like? Because that's way more hell. You have to go there. Explain the process of court.
Yeah. So I'm waking up, right? Roughly 6 a.m. I'm walking into the courthouse. Takes about 10, 15 minutes. I get there and there's already a line, bro. There's people forming a line at 5 p.m. the day before. There's people forming lines. There's people that like stay in a line and get paid to do so. And then the person that's paying them shows up at like, 7 o'clock and takes the position from them and they go home and sleep.
Wait. So people show up the day before.
There's people there at 5 p.m. when I'm like leaving. Like last week, for example, when Cassie was there were people lining up at 5 p.m. when I was walking out the courthouse.
How do you get in? Because it kind of
how do I get in?
Well, before you get there, it kind of feels like there's like these barricades. I see people just out there. I see you got heckled by some chick. She went viral again today. She said she want to be in the freak off. She's trying to get in it.
Of course.
Yeah. So I'm watching that and I'm like,
too bad for her, only men invited.
Oh, yeah. So
we can get into that. Yeah.
So I'm like, is everyone there trying to get in, or are people there for the fanfare, being outside? It looks like a damn cookout.
Yeah, bro. So I get there. Shout out to one of my guys. His name is Mel. Watching the world. Shout out to him. He's the one that gets me, and his YouTuber's well up and coming. Nice guy. And he's been hooking me up with getting in, because at first I was getting into what's called the overflow room. So the way it works is the first they got like a press section. Actually, if you want, I got a diagram of the courtroom. I can show you.
Now, Myron is like detailed, man. This motherfucker started drawing the courtroom. This
because I want to really describe it, because this courtroom is actually very unorthodox compared to other courtrooms. How big is
it? Pause.
It's not big at all. That's the problem. It's very narrow. The one
that Diddy's in.
Yeah, it's not big.
How many people you think?
People that
could fit in this courtroom.
That could fit? You got 6 rows. They're letting 7 people sit a piece. I mean, I guess you could say it like seats a decent amount, but I've seen like bigger courtrooms, especially federal, man.
100, you think?
No, not 100.
Really?
Let me get this diagram.
It feels like everybody's there.
Yeah, dude, it feels that way, but like, here's the thing. His family takes up like 2 rows, and then 2 rows are taken up by artists. There's, that like the people that like that draw the paint and stuff.
Yeah.
They take up the first 2 rows. Nobody sits in the same rows as them. Okay, here we go. Here's the map. Is there a way you want me to show it to your audience?
Yeah. I mean, I think what's the closest?
Oh wow, nice. That's a good ass camera, bro.
Okay, wow.
Okay, so you want me to point at stuff while you hold it up?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll point it as you hold it up. So right here is the judge, obviously, right? The judge sits right here, and then right in front of his, and then obviously the witness box is right next to him, right? It's a little bit, it's a little bit closer, but you guys get the idea. Then the important thing that I noticed that was very weird is that the first table is the row of AUSAs, okay? And there's 6 AUSAs. Unprecedented. That's another thing that's crazy about this.
Do they fit at the table, or they're like kind of like?
No, they all fit.
Really?
It's a long ass table. And then behind them is another like half table, and there's 4 defense attorneys there, right?
Wait, the defense attorneys are behind?
Behind, dude.
Isn't it usually when we see it on TV?
Side by side.
They're side by side.
Side by side in every courtroom. So they're sitting behind. That was the first thing that I was like, what the fuck? And then the case agent.
Hold on. So the defense attorneys, just keep it on close. Keep it on close. So the right where where the defense attorneys are.
Yep.
Diddy has 9, right?
He has like 7 or 8.
And they all fit as well.
There's a couple of assistants. So I like, and I can tell you who I think they're. Yeah, okay. I think I know who the paralegals are, and I could explain. But yeah, I'm pretty certain 4 of them are attorneys that sit here, right? Okay. Then the case agent sits all the way at the corner next to the defense, which is weird as hell. The case agent should be sitting next to the AUSAs. Really? So it's weird that he's not at the same table. Yeah, it's weird, bro. But the table's kind of like divided. He's sitting there with like one other person, maybe someone helping him. Then behind them is his main attorney. I forget his name.
Agnifilio.
Boom. and then Diddy is right next to him, and then Brian Steele sits next to him, and then like 3 other attorneys. Then the other interesting thing too, 2 marshals sit behind Diddy right here, and then another 2 sit to the left of him over here, and then one of the paralegal aides sits next to the marshals. So 4 marshals, 1 legal aide sitting on the side.
And then here's a gallery. They're gonna have. Okay.
And this divider right here is a divider to get to the audience.
Okay. Interesting. You're giving us like a realistic.
Yeah, I'm trying to put y'all there because when I tried to explain it to everybody, I was like, this is not going to make sense to anyone.
I'm glad. Let's keep this up for a second.
Yeah, sure.
Zoom back in again. Okay, so I heard from reporting from some people. They said at times, for example, when Cassie is testifying, Diddy's eyes consistently goes from the AUSA, Cassie, but he also looks at the jury box.
He does.
What's his body language? Have you, do they
It's a bit
take
tough.
him out of cuffs before?
Yeah, so I can, so here, if you hold this up real quick, I'll show you real fast. So he's here like right in the middle of the third table. Then the marshal's right behind him. Then here's a divider, with the swinging gate when you go in any courtroom. First set, this is where the artists sit. They hog both these front things cooked. Like there should be seating like
Really?
20 people. It's like 15
In front of the
people.
mom and everybody.
They're there first. And there's 2 artists, one on the right, one on the left, and they're there and they take up
One
both
of them
sides.
is New York Post. New York Post got the illest drawings. I
Okay,
kid you not.
probably.
Yeah.
She's probably the chick on the right. She be cooking. She does like 3 paintings in a day, bro.
I'm wondering how they get special privilege just to draw some shit.
It gets crazy. And you can hear the noise too when they're fucking chalking it up and shit.
Really?
Yeah. So second row, that's his family. Right behind the artist. Row behind that, also family / friends, whatever, because nobody else sits here besides like maybe media. Then these last 3 is last 3 is
Credential press?
No, sorry, public.
Public, okay.
So you're a YouTuber, but you're not press, you're there. Now I sat second to last in the middle. So I was directly behind Diddy, like 5 rows, pause. Okay.
Wow. So you got to be in line for that because they're picking the first
Bro,
like
you're
20
if
people.
you're not like in the first 20, you're cooked.
Really?
If you're not on the public side. Now on the press side, here's the press side, right? So press has 3 rows.
Okay.
21 for the press, right? And then behind the press, which I noticed this as well, especially when Cassie was testifying, I noticed this. 6 HSI agents sit behind them over here. And they're in fold chairs. They're not even on the bench.
What about like, for example, say Cassie was in there, she wanted, and I think he was in there too, Douglas Wigdor, that's her personal attorney. We see people.
I'll tell you where they're sitting.
People coming with their friends or
Yes.
where.
Let me show you where they're
witnesses.
sitting. So hold this real quick. They sit, so artists right here on the right-hand side, the AUSA's assistants, they got a bunch of paralegals, they sit here.
Okay.
And some of them are even AUSAs. Then next is Cassie's people. Her husband, her lawyer, her mom, family, etc., and her brother. We're all here. Right? And then
So
this is also where
she's like grilling. So he's in that third row grilling Diddy like it's like Joe Budden and 50.
Yes, he has a clear shot. He has a clear shot to Diddy, and they pretty much sit almost opposed to the Diddy family. And then after the family, like the defendants, the witnesses' family is there. Because Dawn, when she came, she brought her people. Every witness that comes in, anyone that comes with them sits there. And then 3 rows for press. And then the last row here, folding chairs, is HSI agents. And they walk every witness in.
Really?
Because it's their case, and the marshals are not going to deal with that.
Interesting.
And then the jury box, of course, real quick. And then
jury box is over here.
jury box over here, 18 jurors, 6 alternates, 12 main.
Has any missed any day?
Nah, they're all there, bro.
Okay.
They're all there. And it's very even. And then the witness box, which is also weird, witness box is right next to the jurors, bro. They had to like move it there because the court is so narrow. Because it's New York City, you know how it is. So they can't move from that area. So if they want to walk around and talk, they can't do it. They got to sit at that box.
Okay, could you describe demographics-wise and age-wise and gender-wise when it comes to the jury? Because this is the thing where early on in the case, there was an important argument raised. And the argument, I forgot what it's called. It's an application. It basically was saying that the prosecutors took all 7 out of 9 black people out of their preemptive strikes.
Oh yeah, that was cap. Well, they took 7 black people out.
Yeah.
But it was 100% warranted. I could go through why they took them out.
Okay, before you go through why,
sure.
what's the final makeup?
Okay, let me get it here. I wrote it down. I gotta go back to like day 1 almost.
Let me try to pull up this chat.
I'm the librarian.
This motherfucker's writing.
Yeah, bro. I was right in.
So you've been in the main court with Diddy so far?
Yeah, for like 3 or 4 of the days.
Really? Have you been in? So if you didn't get in the main court, you're in the overflow court. How's that court?
Okay, so yeah, I'll say that real quick. So if you don't make it into the main court, which I just showed you the courtroom, which you basically only got like 15 spots.
Yeah.
If you don't make it in there, then they put you in overflow. And there's like 4 or 5 different courtrooms on different floors. The main courtroom is on the 26th floor. 24, 25, 23, those are used as overflow courtrooms. So if you don't got enough room, then they put the other people in these other courtrooms and send them there.
And
the marshal sends you there.
Phone in the overflow room?
They do, bro.
Really?
Yeah. Now in the main courtroom, you can't chew gum. You could only drink water. They're super strict in there. Nobody could talk, nothing. They kick you out if you talk. The other ones, they're a bit more lax. You can talk, but you got to be quiet.
Wow. So there's rooms. So there's probably about like 100, well, probably like 200 to maybe 300 people watching it. Only about like 70 in the main courtroom, but in the collective courtrooms,
if you want to count family and all that.
Yeah.
And the main, but yeah, there's hundreds of reporters there, bro. There was a chick from Kazakhstan, Spain, Australia, Canada,
really?
England. Every English speaking country sent somebody.
Jesus Christ.
And then even countries that, Spain.
Okay, so, all right. While you look for that about the jury, I want you to break down like a typical day, right? Because what we see is, and shout out to our inner city press, we see, hey, listen, these guys walk in the room, right? Or we walk Diddy in, and then the judge, they usually do some like So
Diddy is there like first.
Yes.
Like, and I think they do that on he doesn't walk out in chains. Every time he's wearing like either a beige or like a brown sweater with some slacks, white shirt underneath. Never cuffed.
Demeanor? I heard he threw up the little love thingy.
He does that to his family. He blows
every single time.
He blows kisses at his family. He blew a kiss at a dude today. I don't know who it is. There's a guy that shows this dude that shows up every day with like a bald spot.
This nigga don't fucking change.
That has like a bald spot. That has a free puff. He wears a free puff shirt and a free puff hat. I don't know his name. He's an older black gentleman. He blew a kiss at him today. But he's probably family or some shit. But yeah, he blows a kiss to his family and he goes like this, or he gives them the heart like you mentioned.
Okay. So by the time you get in there, Diddy's already seated.
He's already seated.
Usually are the AUSAs and the prosecutors already into it with the judge like, hey, listen, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do.
They're already arguing because they let the press up first, then they let the public up.
Okay.
So they give the spots to the press, then the public goes up, and then by the time I'm getting in there, they're already arguing about something. Rule 413, like 408, like they're arguing already.
Okay. At that point
which is a good sign because that means that both parties are extremely engaged and they care. Bro, when I used to go to trial as an agent, and the reason why I'm able to compare and contrast this, when I was an agent, bro, defense attorneys are like, nigga, we lost. Like, yeah, we're not gonna wait. Yeah, we're not gonna object. Yeah, whatever. So like when I'm going in there and I'm watching defense attorneys actually get up and fight, and I'm seeing multiple defense attorneys take the stand to cross-examine people, I'm like, oh yeah, these dudes aren't here to play around.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to get into that breakdown because I made like a whole notepad. I took my own notes on it. Yo, it appears that Diddy's using a full team.
Yes,
right?
dude.
Like,
yes.
So what I had was Tenny did Tenny Geragos, who's the daughter of Mark Geragos. She did the opening. Then for Flores, we get Brian Steele. Then after
who got Young Thug the 15-year probation, which in itself is a W. Then he went to jail with him for a day.
Yeah, or he was down to. He didn't go to jail. He had to report on the weekend, and by the weekend, every lawyer that works in that courtroom showed up, and then the another lawyer, which actually his wife.
Because I know they held him in contempt. Yeah, they actually took him in though.
Yeah,
they booked him.
Yeah, they brought him to the back and that booked him, but he had to report to jail.
They rolled his fingerprints. They had to have rolled his fingerprints.
I have no idea, but he was supposed to report to jail the weekend.
Okay,
so I guess they booked him however they did.
Yeah.
But then he had to.
It's a bullshit booking. Roll the fingers, get out of here.
Yeah.
Generate FBI number.
And
that's what they did to Trump too.
Oh, okay. And then pretty much what happened was his wife is also an attorney. His wife came with an appellate lawyer, and then they basically said that, hey, we're appealing this. Could you at least stay? Like he doesn't have to go to jail. Then the appellate court basically they didn't dismiss it. They had delayed it, then dismissed it. So he's good. So but think about it. So we got Tenny Geragos opening. Brian Steele, which by the way, this is an interesting use of Brian Steele too. Yeah, Brian Steele. If you watch,
he cooked the first guy on. He cooked witness one, the security guard.
Yeah,
embarrassed. I'm not gonna go through that if you want me to. Exactly how he did it,
but here's the thing, though, right? Brian Steele is a bulldog.
Yeah.
Like, you don't bring him in to like smooth it out. You bring him in to chop heads off. Now, this is a case about sex trafficking. You've done sex trafficking case because you used to work, you know what I mean, at the border, the southern border. It becomes a little bit different, especially when you're dealing with female witness or victims. You can't just be like, "Yo, bitch, you're lying." You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. So they send him at the security guard. Then they put Xavier Donaldson. Yo, I also noticed they matched race. They matched it race by race.
Okay.
Right? Obviously, Brian Steele is not Hispanic. Flores is. But other than that, Donaldson is black. Xavier Donaldson.
That was a tall black dude, right? Bald?
Yes. He went after Phillips. He's the weakest one.
Yeah,
he was the weakest one. So he
His
went after
cross-examination was clown.
Yeah, he went after Phillips. And then after Phillips gets off the stand, they bring up Cassie and they get Anna Estevo to go at her.
Okay.
Right? Then afterwards, they bring up the special agent.
Yeah, it went. Flores, security guard. I might have ripped that page out with the thing, but I do have the 7 jurors that why they got kicked out. If you want me to go over that, but shit. Yeah, okay. First witness was Flores, Intercontinental. Second witness was Phillips, the stripper / escort. Third witness was Cassie. Fourth witness was Special Agent Vinda. Fifth witness was Dawn. Yeah, Dawn.
Yeah.
6.
And by the way, they brought a black lawyer to get Dawn.
Yes,
Westmoreland.
Which I'll talk about that.
They brought a black chick for the black chick. They brought the black dude for the black dude. They brought like a non-ambiguous, like mixed women or just non-black
No, they're being
women.
Tactical with it.
They are being
They're
tactical.
being very tactical with it.
Alexander Shapiro, one of the best federal appellate lawyers. You know, she's making sure every objection is like on the record that if they lose this, they're already sowing the seeds that on appeal they could get something. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
And then they brought Carrie, her best friend, and then now it's this guy James, the personal assistant. He's on the stand right now.
Yeah. Okay.
So those are the witnesses that they have. I'll go real quick. Okay, so they made this excuse, right? They struck 7 black jurors. And this is when I knew, that the AUSA's office was very good. Okay. So defense goes, hey, they struck 7 black jurors. We object, blah, blah, blah. AUSA already anticipated. Okay, well, the lead AUSA stands up. She goes through it. She says the first person, or juror 51, she knew 17 names on a witness list, all of them. And she knows all the kids of Diddy. She watched Making a Band.
Show the blogs.
Exactly.
And probably watch Bad too. Get her out of here.
Yep.
Right?
and she was her fiance was 4 years in prison. Second person that got struck.
Your little commissary bribe her ass right away. Get her ass on out of here, man.
He got arrested for harassing a cop, and he lied about it. He had lack of candor issues. Didn't tell the truth. And domestic violence problems. Third juror.
Well, let's speak about that for a second.
Yeah.
So in the jury questionnaire normally, does it say tell any arrests you've had? Because I don't think it's the arrest, right? It's probably him not being truthful about it, right?
Yeah. So when they give you the questions in the voir dire, right, where they're asking these questions, whatever, then they followed up with questions. If you're not truthful in that, because you have the ability to elaborate on things, right? Because if it might say there, have you ever been convicted of felony crime or whatever? But then what they might have asked him when they actually spoke to him is, have you ever been arrested? And he didn't say that. He didn't admit it. And then they ran a criminal history and they saw that he got arrested in 2010 for harassing a cop and he had domestic violence issues. The third person got ex-husband spent time in prison for murder, brother arrested for drug trafficking, too close to criminals.
Really? So if you married, one of these YNs, they caught a body, caught 3 hats, they like that pretty much gets you. Okay,
you're on jury duty. Same thing. I tell all my listeners, if you work in law enforcement or you have anyone in your family that's law enforcement or you're super pro law enforcement, you don't want to do jury duty, say that I'm super pro law enforcement. I believe the police. I don't trust criminals. I believe the police. They'll kick you off immediately. The defense will immediately get rid of you. Okay. That's how you guys get out of jury duty. You're welcome. If you don't got a criminal family. If you got a criminal family, you can flex that.
Wait, okay. Now here's the thing too, and I heard this, and what do you think about this understanding? Because I get what you're saying. For like a regular person on a regular jury that you're not interested in, Don't you think it's a lucrative opportunity, and don't you think people are trying to get on this jury?
I'll tell you this right now. So check this out. So I'm going to get to that here in a second. So two brothers, so another juror got kicked out because two brothers for felony convictions. They watched the media coverage on a case. He admitted he would lose 30% of his pay by doing this trial, but he still wanted to do it. They got rid of him because they knew he would try to make money.
Yeah,
what you're saying.
Yo, it's going to be a great book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this is a great book. Like, I'm telling you, a publishing house right now. I'm racing to. I would have started setting up the deals the week before closing.
Bruh, when they were, that was a big thing for them was anyone that had like media ties, anyone that was like maybe interested in like making money or some shit, they're like, nah, this dude, he said he was going to lose. Because I think one of the questions on there was how much money you're going to lose from being here. This dude said 30% of his income, but he said, nah, I still want to do it. They're like, get the fuck out of here, nigga. It
felt like there were more down to say, like the people who were like, yeah, I don't know. And they're like, no, you have to do it, right?
Yeah,
more than the people, like, if you're too eager, like, yeah, I'm losing out a lot, but I want to be here.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
The next person, bad English, can't be fair, nephew's in jail, and for shooting a cop.
Like some ESL shit, can't speak English?
Can't speak.
Or just stupid?
Can barely speak.
Holy.
Like ESL shit. Next person had sleep apnea.
If they were black?
Hispanic.
Okay.
Hispanic. Next person, sleep apnea, lied on the voir dire. They said nah. Next person saw the CNN video, thinks the victim jumped on the bandwagon. So he's a Puff fan.
Okay.
So he saw the CNN video and he don't believe him. So they got rid of him.
Okay, so so here's the thing. That CNN video is all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, a dog might have seen this CNN video.
Yeah, bro, yeah.
How do they flush that video out? Or, shit, let's think critically here, like from both sides.
I don't think seeing the video in itself
that can't be.
Disqualifies you. I think him saying, because he said he thinks the victims all jumped on the bandwagon.
True. Oh, okay. So one of them ones.
Like, because he's like, oh, the Cassie filed a lawsuit, then this chick files a lawsuit, then there's a criminal case. Like, they were kind of like, this is bullshit. So they're like, nah, get this nigga out of here too.
Oh, yeah, they have a bias already.
So, so these 7 black jurors that were kicked out, basically, or he might have been, they say black, but he could have been Hispanic, Afro Latino.
Yeah.
Basically, that's the reason they kicked him out. Okay. All valid reasons. And it's funny. The AUSA knew they were going to do that shit, bro. So she stood up, she didn't even stutter. And she rattled it off like that, and I was like, "Yeah, this AUSA is on point."
Well, 6 of them.
Like, 6 of them, yeah. But that was the lead AUSA that did that. It's like she
Emily Johnson?
anticipated it. Yeah.
Yeah. We've only seen like
she sits in the first chair, and then the other guy.
There's somebody in Slavic or something, or
she's like, I think the second chair AUSA, second or third chair.
Okay. All right.
Or the blonde actually, I think is second chair. Now I think about it. I think the blondie is Emily. Yes.
Yeah, Emily's blonde.
What's her last name?
Johnson.
I think Johnson.
Yeah. Okay.
Because she did the cross cross. She did the direct on Cassie.
Okay. Yeah, it was interesting.
Who's their most important witness?
Yeah, Tenny did the direct. Then she didn't do the cross. No. Yeah. Sorry. Tenny did the opening statement.
Yes.
For Diddy.
Yep.
But was not involved in Cassie at all.
Yeah.
It was Anna solely, which I think she did a good job.
Yeah.
So by the way, we're gonna get.
I'll tell you why that is. So I can already tell how they did this case. Yeah. They compartmentalized it. So each AUSA is very obvious, had a certain role, and each lawyer on the defense team has a certain role. You're taking this because remember they get the witness list way before.
Yeah.
Who are the witnesses, etc. So they prep. This is my witness. I'm gonna cook him. That's basically what it is. This is, because keep in mind, they got all the reports.
Yeah.
So they're reading the reports, they're reading the proffers, they're reading everything. That's why, and I'll talk about that later when we talk about Dawn, they were able to roast her. She went through all 8 of her interviews with a fine-tooth fucking comb. Bitch, you said this. No, that doesn't make sense. You said this. Then she read her complaint. And I'll talk about that later. I don't want to jump the gun too much. But it's very obvious. Each defense attorney had a specific witness that they were targeting to cross-examine. And then for the AUSAs, they each had a witness to direct examine and also cover for. So when the defense was cooking them, objection, which they did a really good job of doing this on, which witness was it? It was it Cassie? No.
What was the what?
The government, I think it was for Cassie. The government did a really good job. Yes, it was Cassie. The government on, I think the last day that Cassie testified, the second to the last day, she was on the stand for damn near 24 hours, like 3 days pretty much. The government had a bunch of exhibits ready to go. Excuse me. the defense had a bunch of exhibits ready to go from Cassie's phone.
And there was a whole argument about that. It's an interesting legal conundrum because, again, everything was turned over. These are either Cellbrite extracted text messages or she handed over her phone before. So
it was all Cellbrighted because all the stuff was destroyed. So the agents, because it's funny, the freak-off stuff all came from her devices. None of it came from Diddy at all. So all of it came from her. So when
that was surprising.
Yeah, that was actually shocking. So all the freak-off stuff comes from there.
She said, I was too scared to open that computer, but I kept it there. I didn't want to bring it to the Apple store.
She claimed it was broken and she couldn't activate it, but then she gave it to the agents. They were able to Cellbrite it perfectly. And for those that are wondering, guys, Cellbrite is a device made by the Israelis. Yeah, no surprise. That basically extracts all the data from phones, tablets, etc. And what it does is it pulls all that information out. It's called a phone dump. Pulls all that information out and then it puts it in a nice report so you can analyze text messages, video, everything is there for you. And then you can compartmentalize whatever you need to for evidentiary purposes. Really good for the AUSA's office when they present in a criminal case or a trial. So they take all the stuff from Cassie stuff, right? The agents extract it. A CFA probably, which you know what? I guarantee you a certified forensic agent will probably testify to in this. That did the Cellbrite stuff, I'm assuming. So anyway, and also probably every agent that sees the evidence from the different search warrant locations will also testify. We got the New York chick. She's a little bit of a rookie. She testified first for the hotel room. Someone's probably going to testify from Miami and someone's going to testify from LA from those search warrants is what I presume.
Yeah.
But going back to the cell phone stuff.
Wait, before we get off that, I just wanted to get this because we didn't get to it. Just approximate the jury makeup of the 18 people.
Oh shit. Okay. I'll give you the approximate. Very mixed. It's almost damn near 50-50 down the line. Different age groups. We got some young, I know there's like young white guys on there. There's young black women on there. There's like an African looking nigga on there. There's a Hispanic older woman on there. There's an older white guy on there. Extremely diverse.
Really?
Extremely diverse, yeah.
Yeah, one of the big
almost
issues,
50-50 down the line and very diverse between white, black, Hispanic.
One of the big issues was, could they get a fair jury? And I'm going to be honest with you, it did take a week, but they got there rather like sequentially. And I'm going to be honest with you, what do you think about the judge? The judge seemed to be on business. He was not going to let it, and I think he was a little bit perturbed that it went into Monday morning, but even Monday morning, they chopped it down from 45 or 43 to 18 pretty quick.
Yeah.
He's on the shit, right? What's your thoughts about him?
So the judge, and I want to make this very clear for our audience too. So people need to understand this when it comes to criminal cases that go to trial. The judge prioritizes the jury. That's what he cares about. He prioritizes the jury. He's like, fuck the lawyers, fuck the people in the back. I care about the jury. Because he looks at it like the jury is why we're here. And these are civilians that are inconveniencing themselves for due process. He does everything for them. So like if they delay anything and the jury's waiting, he starts to get angry. And this is what any judge, every single courtroom I've ever been in, when they go to trial, the judges always care about the jury. Jury's over everybody. They will rail out an AUSA or a defense attorney for the jury. Now that we know that, everything he does is like, okay, we need to be expedient to the jury. We got out at 3 o'clock today. Why? Because he wants the jury to not get burned out. And he knows that this is going to be a longer case. It's going to take all the way into like damn near July. So he's going from, first it was like 9:30 to 5. Now this week, he's going from 9, he's trying to start earlier, to get them out at 3. And why is he doing that? Because he wants the jury to be refreshed and not to be frustrated and get bogged down. Because if you lose your alternates or whatever, you're cooked. So that's what judges care about the most. So yes, he's on point, but he's on point because judges are always cognizant of the jury. That's the number one priority for them.
And by the way, I think your perspective might be a little bit, not a little bit, I think it's definitely probably influenced by not only your experience, but you're a federal court guy, right? Mm-hmm. Like you were a federal agent, you're a federal court guy. When I talk to like attorneys,
many times.
Right? When I talk to attorneys, like for example, Bradford Cohen and even Drew Finland, they're like, in state court, it's much more lackadaisical. That's why cases drag on. Like deadlines keep getting re-deadlining. Like it's like, hey, all right, we'll do it later. Let's another continuance. This judge, remember, he turned down Diddy's request for extra 2 months. No, let's get it going.
You know why,
now.
Right?
Why?
I didn't tell you that. Okay, so first you want a speedy trial. They always request a speedy trial. They don't get bond,
that, right? Yeah, because once you can't get bond, you want that speedy trial.
Yeah. So that's a given.
Big U just opted for that in his case. He's the only one who opted for it. Everybody else is like, Yo, there's 20,000 wiretap calls. Yo, that's just.
Oh yeah, he's cooked, bro. You got wiretaps on somebody, bro. It's
yo,
a wrap,
20,000, bro.
Like, see, here's the thing with human trafficking. And I was talking about this. I was talking with Shade Room. They interviewed me about this, but you get it first because they ain't posted. Look, as someone that's investigated human trafficking cases, I've been telling people this for fucking years, and they don't believe me. I tell them all the time. Human trafficking cases are not as common as people think they are, okay, in America, in the United States of America. And the reason why is because human smuggling is common, and that's what people conflate as human trafficking. Two completely different crimes. And the reason why human trafficking cases are not as prevalent is because it happens.
And trafficking are different. We'll explain.
Completely different.
Okay.
So human smuggling, I hope you guys better fucking support Akademiks, man, because it's going to be a great show. So human smuggling is where people are trying to come to the United States illegally, and they're paying a human smuggling organization to come to the country, right? So it's basically the illegal movement of migrants into the United States. It's a for-profit business, right? And the aliens want to come here. Versus human trafficking, that could occur with illegal aliens or with U.S. citizens, where you're basically, forcing them to do work that they don't want to do, peonage, sex trafficking, whatever it may be, right? It's very broad with what you make them do or whatever.
So a coyote grabbing about like 35 Mexicans and just throwing them in the back of the shit, throwing 50 bananas on them and just saying, we driving to motherfucking Laredo, Texas.
That is AUSC 1324, alien smuggling. Damn. Versus the human trafficking, it's a Title 18 code, completely different, not in the INA. So the thing with human trafficking, I'm not saying it doesn't occur, but it's not as prevalent and not as common, and most importantly, not as commonly prosecuted. And I know this, any HSI agent that's watching this, or anyone that the FBI from Human Trafficking Task Force, they'll tell you. You get the witness. Yeah, I want to he's trafficking me. My pimp is an asshole. 2 days later, nah, I don't want to. Nah, I was just mad. He's not really trafficking me. I kind of want to do this on my own. So the problem with human trafficking is it's extremely reliant on testimony. And anytime a case is heavily reliant on testimony, you run into problems because the people that you're relying on for testimony tend to not be credible. Prostitutes, people that are drug addicts, etc. Now in this case, Cassie's a drug addict. A couple of people in here, Diddy, etc. But they're rich and affluent, so it makes it a little bit different, more high profile. But a lot of the times, and she has a financial gain. She had a civil case, etc. So she's gonna see it through. She has an axe to grind. But a lot of the times, the prostitutes or the people that are being trafficked, I don't want to testify. They don't want to testify, you don't got a case. And since it's so reliant, it's not like drugs. Catch you with the drugs, bro, I don't want to cooperate. I don't give a fuck if you don't want to cooperate. I got you with 20 keys. You're cooked. You don't got to say a word. We're either going to do this controlled delivery or not. Poppy, okay, maybe I'll do it. All right. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you brought that up. And we're not trying to jump all around here, but we're trying to, hit
I got all night, bro. We
right?
can give these guys all the value. This will be the most comprehensive explanation on how federal cases work. And with the state court thing, the other thing I will say, because you're saying it's lackadaisical, 100%. State court is a clown world because ADAs have way too many cases. Judges have too many cases. They're too bogged down. They don't have the time and the ability to be more refined in their process. In the federal court system, an AUSA might have 10, 15 cases on their plate total because AUSAs get the privilege of picking the cases they want to take. ADAs don't get that privilege. They're taking everything from murder one, like YNW Melly, all the way to disorderly conduct, to DUIs. They're taking everything, bro. So, unless they're in a special unit, whatever, they're getting all the bullshit. So a lot of the time, they just don't have the resources and the ability, and they're underpaid. An ADA might get barely 50, 60, 70K per year. Right? So a lot of times they take it to get the litigation experience and then go private sector, or they try to take the feds. But even the feds, a lot of the times, though they make six figures and they do pretty well, a lot of times they pick an AUSA job up to move into the private sector as well. Because if you get an AUSA, that's an extremely prestigious job. You'll get into any private law firm because these private world, they don't litigate shit, bro. You litigate in state court or federal court, you're above these, loser ass consumer lawyers or whatever the fuck. They don't litigate shit. So it's a great way to get your feet wet. So that's what they do a lot of times. And then retention is tough. ADAs don't stick around. They don't get paid enough, and it's very stressful. So that's why the state courts tend to be, they have low conviction rates. They lose trials all the time. Cases get dismissed so much. Local police tend to be a lot more sloppy. Because think about it. Trooper stops you on the side of the road. You got a joint in your car. I'm arresting you. Well, you didn't get probable cause. How'd you get the probable cause? I don't know. And then, okay, well, this case sucks. Because they're dealing with criminals like right then and there, and they're making probable cause arrests right there and then. That's prone to a lot of mistakes. Versus the feds, they're watching you for 4 years.
It goes into also what you said though, right?
And they can't make an arrest unless they get an AUSA concurrence. Feds, people don't know this. Feds have no power without the U.S. Attorney's Office. I remember when I was an agent, I had to call an AUSA even though the motherfucker had 20 keys of coke in front of him and we had him at the port of entry, like I still had to call the AUSA to get concurrence. Feds can't do nothing without AUSA concurrence.
They had to call AUSA when Dirk was right there, and they're like, he getting on a private jet, that nigga go to Switzerland, that nigga ain't coming back.
Bruh, they probably had to fight to get that criminal complaint.
Yeah.
They probably had to fight to get it.
They faxed it over to a judge or a magistrate at the time, and they got it signed off.
Well, the affiant, if I'm not mistaken, was from LA. So the affiant was from LA. So I already know she probably sent that shit like, we need this guy now. And they drafted it like same day.
Yeah.
So you know what they're probably doing? They're probably getting ready to indict him. And then they found out he was leaving because we're really getting in the weeds now. You can put an alert on somebody, right? I won't say well what database, but you can put an alert somebody with HSI and customs. We can put alerts on people when they want to leave and come out the country because you know you have that authority with immigration and with customs. They probably had a record on him. He booked flights. Dumbass triggered the fucking thing. He booked multiple flights thinking he'd be able to escape. What he doesn't know is like there's ways to figure stuff out. So they just, deductive problem solving, and they figured out where he was at. More than likely, probably had his phone numbers, pinging, figured out where he was. Bam, found him and got him.
Damn.
That's probably what created the urgency because he booked the flights out probably same day or whatever. They said we need to get the criminal complaint immediately.
Yeah, he was the only one that was charged on criminal complaint.
And USAs don't like to do criminal complaints because they gotta indict within 14 days.
And by the way, that's what I think even as well with
double the work.
That's the same thing I think with the Big U case. Big U was the lead in the RICO case, and they couldn't find him. I think that's why they had a criminal complaint. When they arrested everyone else, it took a day for him for them to find him. And I think,
didn't they put everybody on the criminal complaint though, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they did.
I don't know why, because it was such a long criminal complaint. I don't know why they went the criminal complaint route.
It looked like they were about to get an indictment, but you know what happened? Man, Whack 100 was telling these niggas run for the hills. Like,
Probably,
it's coming. Go to Mexico.
Yeah, and anytime a complaint comes out, that means there's a sense of urgency to agree. Because the problem is most AUSAs don't want to do criminal complaints because if you do a criminal complaint, that means you got to indict in 14 days. So you got to do double the work. So I got to complain him. It was that.
What happened if you don't indict?
Oh, he's going to get released.
Okay.
You need to formally indict him within most jurisdictions is like 14 days.
Is that a situation of like habeas corpus coming into effect, or because the criminal complaint will get them locked up, but then
they'll do a detention hearing and then a lot of times they'll challenge your probable cause. Like you'll get I used to get this all the time because I used to arrest most of my people on criminal complaints, bro. Every single time, niggas hit me with a probable cause hearing. Okay, cool. I'd say I'm gonna show up, and then once they find out that they just gonna show up or whatever, they just oh no, we'll cancel.
They'll waive it, right?
They'll waive it, especially if it's pretty solid. And I used to write my criminal complaints in a way where I used to put extra detail in there because they say bare minimum for probable cause. Fuck that. I used to put so much where these niggas could never take me to what's called a PC hearing. But if you indict them, they don't get the PC hearing. And then
you hitting these niggas with a Denzel Washington, man. They build prison because of me, man.
Bro.
Hey.
And then they also try to hit you with suppression hearings too. That's another bullshit tactic they do.
Yeah.
Where they try to suppress the evidence that you have. And then if they know that you're going to show up to that, then they'll cancel that too. It's defense attorney tactics to delay. But long story short, but your AUSAs are on point, bro. They're not like, oh, I forgot. Like 14 days they're doing it.
Okay. So let's get into probably the biggest testimony since Why So Woody. Okay. Cassie, Cassandra Ventura. Now,
yes.
I don't know if you watched all 3 days of the time she was on the stand.
Mm-hmm. I saw all of it.
Okay, I'm glad you did.
From day one of it.
The reason why I'm glad you did, having been someone who's an agent who works sex trafficking cases, and you just brought up a great point saying the reason why those cases are harder to prosecute is because you rely on witness testimony. I want you to describe the range of emotions she really went through, but also where it went, because at the end of the testimony, and you tell me if I'm wrong, it felt like she was almost saying, I don't really want him to go to jail. Cause she was I still have love for him. She was like laughing at little things. She was kind of still almost showing signs like, I love this guy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And she even said, I believe, and you probably have in your notes, she said, I have love for what we had, or and I was thinking about it.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
because she asked, do you have love for Puff now, or do you have love for him? And she was like, no, I have love for what we used to have.
And that struck me as, man, this chick just wanted a baby of $30 million, man. That's it. She don't want Puff in jail, man. She don't want Puff in jail.
Well, it's important.
You don't want Puff in jail? The husband. You can't sleep good knowing the motherfucker is partying every day and has your girl bent up like a pretzel.
Yeah,
having
facts.
30 niggas skeet on her.
By her own admission, too.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, so I think the important thing to note here is that the prosecution prepares the witnesses well in advance of the trial.
Okay.
Because, and the reason why they do that is because a lot of these people, they're regular people. They don't understand public speaking. They don't understand credibility. They don't understand, you know, being tact and being able to speak in a way where people believe you. So, you know, trial preparation is very real, and AUSAs take it extremely seriously. And actually, this is where the defense got her, was with the trial prep, with the whole rape situation.
Yeah,
that's where they got her, because so
just break it down from, like, you know, from your expertise. You're going into a case. This is the lead witness.
Yep.
Now, to put in perspective for everybody who's watching, and I at first was a little bit confused by the timing. I'm like, why drop your big bombshell, your big witness now? But apparently she is pregnant. She's about 8 months pregnant.
That's what fucked Diddy up on the speedy trial. I had to finish on that. Sorry.
Ooh.
So
there we go.
Yeah. So what fucked him up was he didn't get bond, right? So he's like, all right, speedy trial. But then he didn't realize, oh, she's pregnant? Oh, this is not good. Because I'm sure his lawyers said, yo, you know what, Puff? We should wait until after she's pregnant. She won't look as vulnerable. This is bad for the defense, because, you know, she's waddling in the court and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, she
baby
looks,
kicking and screaming. You know, fuck Puff. Like,
she's
right?
very pregnant. She's like taking breaks constantly when she needs to. Right, when she cries, gonna look extra vulnerable. Like, she's a family woman now, so it's very difficult to look at her as like the former drug addict, partying 304 she used to be. Now that she's like a mom and her husband is there and her family's there, it's complete. She's a different person now, not to Puff's benefit. So they tried to delay it and it didn't work.
Okay, so two things. What do you think, you as a agent, but also from your knowledge of how AUSAs work,
yeah,
what's that preparation process like for her? And then describe the first day of court, what usually happens, and then we can relate to what you saw with Cassie.
Yeah, so as the case agent, right, like, you become, if a case is going to go to trial, you become the AUSA's bitch. So you put the whole case together, you gave them the stuff that they needed. So the agent
just keeps working? Oh,
yeah.
Really?
You work even more now, because, so most of the time you're hoping that the shit pleads out. But if they actually decide to go to trial, now the AUSA's feet are to the fire. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to say, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. Right? Now, normally you give enough for your grand jury package to, like, you know, kind of get the trial stuff going. But if they actually decide, no, we're going to fight it, and then we're going to fight it, and we got a team like Diddy's team, yeah, you're going to become the AUSA's bitch. Not only are you going to become the AUSA's bitch, your entire group and your GS are going to become the AUSA's bitch.
GS?
The group supervisor.
Okay.
So the GS 14. So every FBI, DEA, everybody, there's groups. And the way it works is each group investigates different crimes. FBI calls it squads, HSI calls it groups. I think ATF calls it squads, whatever. DEA calls it enforcement groups. I'm getting in the weeds, but the GS is the GS 14. He's the supervisor. So all the reports that are written, anything that needs to get approved or whatever is going through him. Then it goes up to upper management. The supervisor is the conduit into upper management to get your stuff approved. The agents that underneath the supervisor, they carry the cases. So you, as the case agent, when you have a case as big as this, everyone in your group is going to be involved in supporting. Like I told you before, 6 agents are there just doing security for Cassie, right? And there were even more in the back. I saw 6 just in a thing. There were there were like another 4 or 5.
So you think this is like security?
Well, they had to, because they got to bring Cassie in and take her back home so that she doesn't get mobbed by the paparazzi.
Wow. Okay, so we've heard this being mentioned a lot, and again, we're still in the preparation stage of a main key witness of a case that's this big.
Oh, so the case agent gets everything that they need. You become the AUSA's bitch. So I know that this case agent guy, he's working his ass off, getting everything that they need, and that's like leading up to the trial. Then when the trial starts, as things go on, so they're gonna need more shit. So
before the trial starts, and because we've heard this a lot, and Diddy's defense strategy right now. We saw it with Dawn Richard. I hate calling her that. It's Richard. But whatever. She's trying to be a little French. All right, Richard. So Dawn Richard, apparently Diddy's defense team up on Cross, they keep going over pre-trial interviews, answers, mixed with your civil complaint allegations than what you said on direct, or like they're trying to like, hey.
They got Cassie like that too.
Yeah, you've said this 3 times, but you said it wrong. How many interviews or like preparations that are then put into the record? Because this had to go in the record.
So let's go. Let me hit Cassie first. So where Cassie? So this is a perfect example of a civil case coming in and fucking up the criminal case.
Okay.
So let's start with Cassie first. She makes the allegation that Diddy raped her.
Yes.
Right. And she makes the allegation. She says that the allegation happened in her complaint, in her civil complaint, and I think in interviews with agents in September.
So in her civil complaint, she says after Burning Man, that's when it happened.
Yeah, or before Burning Man, one of the two.
Yeah, but it was a month. There's a month difference. And
yes,
it seems that, and you know, I really want you to speak to the idea of this, you know, the AUSA flushing out these points, because it looks like for a civil complaint, you're dealing with a civil attorney. Yes, Douglas Wigder is a pretty good civil attorney. He got you the bread. Shit, $20 million. Who gonna complain?
He was there too.
But here's the thing. I feel, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, AUSA is gonna be like, wait, hold on, the dates aren't matching up. Even for this little small point, because she readjusts the date from her civil complaint that never went to court. She got paid. And when
I'll tell you why. She readjusted it.
Okay.
In the prep.
Yes.
So her civil case comes through, right? She says, I think she alleged September that she got raped, right? Well, the problem is that the text messages don't line up with that. So when the AUSAs are doing discovery and they're going through the text message with a fine-tooth comb over this rape allegation, they find out, bro, this happened in August, because they got the Diddy text the day after. That's how they knew.
Let me ask you a question.
So she got actually allegedly raped August 20th.
So let me ask you a question.
2018.
Like today I'm watching Tony Busby. He's on Piers Morgan. He's talking about why he dropped a few cases, also talking about the Cassie testimony. Yeah. And he said, they're like, hey,
he's the worst.
They said, would you like to backpedal on some of the stuff you alleged against Jay-Z? And he's like, no, the person who came to us for Jay-Z, one lawyer vetted them, then our team vetted them. Compared to an AUSA vetting somebody's story and then like say a civil attorney. Yeah. What would you say the levels or difference is?
Bro, it's night and day. For a civil attorney, they just need preponderance of the evidence. That's 51%. For AUSA, you need beyond a reasonable doubt. And then not only do you need beyond a reasonable doubt, your reputation's on the line. You're a United States attorney. You come from the Southern District of New York. Like with these attorneys, they don't lose. This is the same prosecution office that went after La Cosa Nostra. This is the first prosecution office that, like, you know, Giuliani went after the mafia. This is the same office that put Tekashi in jail. This is the same office that went after Casanova. Yeah. Some of the biggest RICO cases, organized crime cases, were out of the Southern District of New York. The only 9/11 prosecutions, Zacharias.
I was going to say R. Kelly, but that's Eastern District.
Yeah, I think he was out of Brooklyn. But either way, like they're ops. They fight each other. But regardless, two very prestigious firms, two prestigious AUSA's office. So
everybody's
they're held to a way higher standard.
When you hear SDNY,
oh, it cooked, bro.
If they're on an indictment, it's over.
Yeah, I've never seen them lose.
Okay,
they have a reputation. So because. And I can get into my predictions on what I think is going to happen with this Diddy case.
Does the interview that Cassie did with them, does that go on? Because Diddy's lawyer clearly knew she told investigators something different.
Yes, so they had the reports. They read the ROIs. So they read the HSI ROIs.
What's that?
Okay, sorry. So every agency writes reports of investigation. For HSI, it's called ROIs. For the DEA, it's called the DEA 6. For the FBI, it's called the 302. So these are reports of investigation where, you know, they document their stuff. Now, when they went and they debriefed Cassie, she sat down with prosecutors and she sat down with agents. Now, the fact that she sat down and AUSAs were there leads me to believe that it was under a proffer, which means she basically is able to talk without being prosecuted, because normally AUSAs don't want to be witnesses to interviews. But when an AUSA is there, that's like almost a telltale sign that it's under a 5K proffer, which would make sense because technically, she committed crimes too by fucking getting escorts. Okay,
so I'm seeing that now we're getting to somewhere good now. I like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
People better like the goddamn video, bro. And subscribe to your channel, subscribe to my channel. We give them some sauce.
Well, here's the thing. I think both of our audiences are like really good at getting shit.
Yeah.
Because what we're talking about right now is
we're getting in the weeds.
Well,
which is good though.
It's really high level shit.
Yeah.
So. Because, you know, people hear these words being thrown out, right? So it's different if you have either maybe a local officer that's deputized to be federal, or you have an HSI agent, whatever, that's doing an interview. But yeah, if now you have the U.S. attorneys who are sitting there, it's most likely a proffer. So if you...
Because I'll tell you how, I remember vividly, I would tell AUSA, hey, we're going to go interview this high-level target. You want to come? They would always say no. And I'm like, why not? And they're like, I can't be a witness. And I was like, all right. They're like, but under a safety valve or a 5K proffer, I'll do it all day. And I was like, okay, cool. And the safety valve is basically the same thing as a proffer, but more for drug cases.
Okay, perfect. So
Gives them immunity for the day. But that makes sense because Cassie was recruiting the escorts.
Okay.
So she had to get a proffer.
So what do you think that proffer looks like? You being maybe in similar situations.
Yeah.
Maybe not the same thing, but sorry. What do you think her proffer probably looks like?
So
it's definitely it
I'll
can't
go
be a
in with
5K1 letter because she's not being charged.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that needs sentence reduction or whatever.
You can get a 5K without basically you can get a 5K even if you're not going to be charged.
What would be like? Well, I would think it would be mostly immunity though, right? Because isn't a 5K1 letter it's a reduction or that's waiving the mandatory sentencing guidelines.
It could also be like used preemptively to like keep you from being charged too. It's like protection as well. But it's not used that often like that though. That's because AUSAs don't like to do that because people feel like they're free. They don't got charges hanging over their head. So,
but do you think they're giving her like blanket immunity or something?
What I predict, again, we don't know. But what I think is
we never know.
Yeah, we'll never. Well, you know what? They never didn't ask in trial. What I predict is, this is me just predicting here. They gave her a 5K. They didn't indict her. They didn't charge her because she's a star witness. And then indicting her also would make them look bad because then they're going to say, well, you're only testifying to avoid charges.
Why do you think, by the way, you just brought up a great point. Why do you think Diddy's lawyer didn't bring up in front of the jury, beyond the money aspect, because they ask a lot of witnesses here, like, why are you here? Why didn't they say, hey, based on what you've said, you've hired these people. You've done A, B, and C. Have you spoke with the government and gotten any deal that secures you from that's something we see sometimes.
Yeah. You want to know why?
Why do you think that didn't happen?
She got extra protection because she's a sex crime victim.
So you think that's probably something either off the record or
not even? I think that is what it is. Whenever they were grilling her, there were times where they had her on the ropes. Government objected. 408, 413, and let me look it up, make sure I got it right because I don't want your audience to be off. I just want to make sure.
So they probably objected to this, or they worked it out like, yo, you're not going to bring up.
Yeah, so Federal Rule of Evidence 413, yeah. Sometimes I get the numbers confused, but yeah, 413, basically similar crimes as sexual assault cases. So they were using all types of objections, but one of the ones that she gets to enjoy is, since she's a victim of sexual crime, she gets certain benefits that other people don't. Why do you think they were able to cook Dawn to a significant degree that they weren't able to cook Cassie to?
They put her ass on a skillet, man.
Bro, they destroyed her. And I could go over the things that they did. But okay, so with Cassie, let's go through this and then we'll go over the thing because we're going to talk about the discrepancies, right? So with Cassie, in her civil lawsuit and when she talked to agents, she said she got raped in September. Yeah. But then when they start doing trial prep, they find out, because you really start to get in the weeds when you do trial prep. Now you actually got to look at the text messages. Now you got to really analyze. Now you got to really do the full cell brights and shit. Oh, damn. This actually happened in August. So when she comes in to testify, she testifies saying, oh, it happened in August. But then the defense attorneys are like, well, you said that it happened in September. This is kind of off. And then what the defense attorneys did, the government did when they came back on redirect, was they said, did you read any of the documents prepared by the government before today? No, I didn't. Did you have the ability to correct agents or prosecutors on their documents before today? No. Are you aware of anything that they prepared? No. So that kind of saves her because she can say, look, it's a month discrepancy. It's not that big of a deal. And you didn't even see the documents beforehand, right? Because at the end of the day, like, it's not like a crazy overt lie. It's just a month discrepancy, right? Now, the defense went further with that, though. They said, okay, you lied about this, and then they went into the, because they just built on that, right? They knew that the month discrepancy wasn't going to be that big of a deal, but then they built on that. Okay, so why are you texting Diddy heart emojis? Why are you guys communicating? Why did you guys go meet at a party after? Why do you guys continue to communicate after that? Why did you go to hang out with them on September 27th? Right, 2025. This is someone that allegedly raped you. Sorry, 2018. September 27, 2018.
I want a clarification on this. I never got it during for the tweets, nor anyone who spoke about it.
They're communicating for a month plus on text and seeing each other, and they're like, "This is someone that raped you. This doesn't make sense." And then you had sex with Diddy.
Okay, so
that's where they got her.
So part of that clarification, even like right after supposedly this sexual assault, she then goes to. Like, she then starts dating Alex Fine, but still does free calls with Diddy and fucks him. Here's
she was waiting since 2018, bro.
Okay, so there was a part where they argued with the judge. This was Mark Geragos, and he said, yo, listen, we're going to use possibly Alex Fine as an impeachment witness. So we need him to be outside the courtroom when we start talking about certain things that overlap.
It was the rape.
Did he step out?
Yeah, he wasn't in there.
Oh, okay.
When they talked about the rape, they got him out of there.
Yeah, because I was wondering, because
and they argued about that for like a day, bro.
Yeah, in that thing, she admits she cheated on her current husband.
Yes, bro.
With Diddy.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, I think that was effective for the defense.
I wish I wasn't in the main courtroom. Bro, I wasn't in the main courtroom for that, but I'll tell you this, when I was in the fucking overflow room, everyone was like, oh shit. Even I said cooked when she said that. Because the defense attorney was like, is it not true that you, when you met with Diddy, is it not true that you had sex with him on that day? Yes, I did. Okay. Is it not true that your boyfriend, who is now your husband, FaceTimed you and you declined the call? Yes, I did. Cooked, bro. And that looks so bad because remember, they started with, you said you got raped on this month, but it was really this month. Then it was, why are you communicating with, and they showed the text message. She sent heart emojis and shit. And oh yeah, I miss you. And then they set up to meet up in person, all this other shit. They walked line by line from the rape all the way to the consensual sex. Made her look terrible, bro.
What was the demeanor of the defense attorney, Diddy's attorney, Estavio, when she says that? Given first day, I thought she was on bullshit because she really was like, I hate to use this term, but she was giving Cassie the noose to hang herself with. First day, and I remember seeing that, I said, this sounds goofy. She says to Cassie, oh, wow, you're pretty. Like, she gives her a compliment. Yeah. And I was just like, yo, Diddy, you got another lesbian on the team. You got to get her the fuck out of here. This is game time. This bitch is over here trying to eat some pussy too. What the hell? But come to find out, she know I'm for real, because I'm like, yo, ain't no way.
Because I wrote that shit
Ain't no way I hired this bitch and she talking about you look cute. If I'm Diddy, I'm be like, yo, I freak off with Cassie, not you, bitch. You my lawyer. But she used all of that, and now I get to realize she buttered her up. She got her comfortable, right?
Yeah.
So she was giving her compliments like, damn, you're a pretty girl, blah, 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 blah. Which, again, this is exactly why I think they brought in a woman to do the cross instead of a dude. If it's Donaldson, first of all, he fumbled on the sex worker, so whatever.
Yeah.
If it's Brian Steele's a bulldog. You bring him in to go get the shit. You gotta snitch. He's gonna turn that snitch into an idiot.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So when that happened, and how'd you judge her demeanor from day 1 to day 3? Where day 3 she's basically just saying, "Come on now, girl, you know what happened. You said he raped you, but you were freaking off with him still. You were cheating on your husband with him.
Yeah,
you were texting A, B, and C." How was her demeanor in how she like laid that out? Because it looks slick, even through tweets.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, when you're cross-examining someone that long, it took them like a day they got like a full day and a half. Yeah. You got to build a rapport, because the thing is so it's interesting because even the way they were dressed revealed the antagonistic nature of what was about to happen. So on day 1, or when Cassie was doing the first, when she was on direct, comes in, tight dress, super vulnerable, little jacket, whatever, super pregnant. When she comes in for first day across,
could you see it over the desk, belly hanging over, or it's kind of like tucked in, where like maybe the jurors are not?
The first few days when she was on direct, you could see it clearly. She came in like with the first day, bro. She came in with a brown dress, super tight.
Looked like she ready for another.
Bro, yeah.
Come on, man.
And the stomach was poking like this. I was like, what the fuck? I was shocked that she showed up like that. I was like, what is she wearing? But it was to show that she was clearly pregnant.
Oh, okay. I thought she was dressing for the last and final.
She was in there to show that she was pregnant.
Holy.
That's what Diddy didn't want, bro. So she does that, right? She comes in. Then when on the first day the defense is doing direct, she shows up, boots, black leather jacket or black jacket, big blouse, right? So you can't see her bump, hair pulled back.
Ooh. That quintessential, I'm a lady, I am not a ragdoll whore who's just like very fun.
Well, she also came with like leather boots and shit. Okay. So she was like, I'm here to fight.
Okay.
Like when I'm not
adversarial this time.
Yes, hair pulled back, wearing black, blue conservative blouse, right? That's big, so you can't see her stomach, not vulnerable. And she sat down like what? And then the defense attorney also had her hair pulled back. So she was ready to go too. It's very interesting how women fight in the cerebral. You know what I mean? But both of them had their hair pulled back,
This
which
is
I
a
thought was
chess match,
interesting.
bro.
It is a chess match.
Super chess match.
You know, 100%.
How did both of their demeanors change? Because also I read this, and you could tell me when it happened or what was her demeanor. I heard she started crying at several points, and she asked for a break once.
Yeah, she asked for a break like two or three times.
Like how is this? She like, bro, like no, hold on, please, I need a break. Or are they passing her tissues? Like, what's going on in there?
When she asked for a break, it was at a time when she wasn't getting hard questioning. Okay. So it was like, I know they probably told that, do not ask for a break when you're getting like cooked. She only asked for breaks when it was like, I'll be honest with you, it was reasonable. She would ask for a break like after an hour and a half of questioning. And like the judge would immediately be like, okay. And he would be like, you know, because she's pregnant.
Yeah.
So, but she did a good job of like asking for breaks at times where it wasn't bad. Like that would make her look weak. Like, oh no, I need to get a break here. So she did good. And then when she cried, I'll be honest with you, bro, it wasn't that much, man. She cried maybe 2 or 3 times. And it wasn't like at the worst times. You know, I know one time she cried was when she said that like Diddy took her autonomy away with the like towards the end of her testimony, and she would give the money back if she could get back her autonomy, which is like, come on, man, 20M, come on, bro.
Wait, so there was a confusing part of the trial, and they said the prosecutors got the better of the exchange, and it was with Cassie on the stand. They claimed that when they had asked Cassie about a message where basically, I guess Diddy sends to her, yo, do you want to have like a last freak off? And and the response is, let me find I don't want to have a last freak off. I want to have a first or something of the sort.
Yeah, I want to have a first freak off for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, and some people felt like, yo, she's still with it. But the prosecutors came back around and said the full context of that was her actually
saying like she had a UTI.
Yeah, but also kind of lamenting the idea of freak offs and maybe almost kind of like rejecting it rather than her like saying, no, I want to keep doing this forever. Because the defense was painting this picture saying, yo, Diddy may have introduced her to the freak off, but she started suggesting the freak off. She would text him like, yo, too bad I got to work. I want to do A, B, and C. Like she looked like she was trying to initiate, which I think later the chess match that happens, the prosecutors tried to paint the picture that she only said that because it was the only way to access him. So she would like say, hey, listen, if this is the only thing you're willing to do to be around me. And I'm wondering what you get from the demeanor of their relationship. I really think that Cassie was a side chick fighting to be a main chick.
Yes.
And it was clear that
but she was bad enough to be treated like a main chick.
Exactly.
Because she was hotter than, let's be honest, she was
hotter on the rock.
Recipes of Kim, but like, yeah, she was the hottest girl that he was dealing with.
But here's the thing. It feels like if it wasn't a freak off, he didn't spend that much time with her. And she was suggested to get time.
That's exactly what it was. He didn't spend time. He barely spent time with her outside of the freak offs. And during the freak offs, she would be doing weird shit like smearing semen on him.
Yo, you know what's also funny?
Bro, I was shocked when I heard that shit, bro.
Yo, there's a point where she says, yo, I suggested, and you could tell, like, there's a few things that, you know, you run a male improvement podcast, a dating podcast.
Yeah. I was shocked.
When a woman says, if I don't do it, another bitch will, you know that mentality.
Yep.
Hey, I'm competing to keep my spot. Yo, I looked up the math today. So Dawn and especially Kerry brings it up very clearly. When she says like almost this ad hominem attack at Gina Hill. I don't know how to say her last name. I just call her Hill. She says, oh,
Cassie hated her, bro.
Yeah, she says Diddy was dating that little girl. And Mark says, why you call a little girl? She was younger than us. Here's the ironic part about it.
Yep.
At the time, that year when that happened, because Cassie was in South Africa. It's 2015.
Yes.
Cassie is 29, about to turn 30.
Yep.
The girl at the time is 22.
Yep.
And I said this interestingly enough. I said, women, he met Cassie at 21.
Yeah.
Cassie never thought, oh, I'm a little girl.
Exactly.
No, but now Cassie's about to hit that wall, bro. 30, and she's seeing him entertain that new chick. Bro. He's like, yo, what's up with Diddy liking these little girls?
It's a story as old as time, man. Like, it's so funny how, you know, when women lose their luster, they immediately will shut out any woman that has that same luster that they utilize.
It's not like Diddy went to get a 16-year-old.
No.
Right? Diddy met her at 21.
Yep.
Diddy
he met her at 19. Yeah. Met her even younger. She could make the argument like, well, you were even dumber when you met him.
But Diddy started dating her at like 21.
Yeah.
When he started dating her at 21, he goes to get a 22-year-old after she's about to turn 30. And now she's like, yo, what is this guy doing? What was your demeanor about even how she or anyone else, Kerry also, how they described maybe this idea of like Diddy's having a harem? Because today, going into James's testimony and even Dawn's, it made me think, and definitely Kerry's, it made me think, yo, this nigga Diddy, is he a freaky boy? Yes.
Yeah.
I think Diddy's homosexual. I personally think so.
Yeah, he's bisexual. 100% bisexual.
If you believe in bi, you believe in bi.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe it. Yeah, I don't believe it.
I see gay, I say gay. That nigga gay. But
because most guys that are bisexual simply just go to dudes, bro. But since Diddy has the money, he can still pull the bitches. Let's be honest. A regular nigga can't be a bisexual. Because once a girl finds out you're bi, you're not that guy, she's good. But if you're bi, but your status high enough, some girls will be,
I think he was using her. I think he was in love with the power and control he had over her. But I think he was attracted sexually to the men. And the reason why I say that is that I think he had homoerotic desires, but too scared to operate on them. For example, he would go in a separate room. If you really like that and you're bi, have her rub the semen or have him nut on your chest.
Yeah.
If you that gangster and you trying to kill Suge, have the nigga bring his dick over and nut on your chest. Like a real nigga. Actually, not a real nigga. But no, that's what he was into. Don't have her scoop it out of her box in the next room and lather it in there and you cuddle with her until it's like this dried up flaky shit. And then you like come out with your chest looking like Ashy Larry. Bruh. Got to be homoerotic desires. Remember, he would never show. It felt like everybody but Cassie knew about the semen smearing.
Yep.
Then I remember there's these stories about freak offs that would happen with other celebrities. Like, for example, one supposedly with Ja Rule. I don't think Cassie was in that. And I think, they used to have like these multiple sexual type of shit. And I think Diddy always used women to give an excuse to other people who would be wondering like, hey, why are you into group sex that much? Why he would be in the rooms with other men nude.
Well, no, I agree with you. And the other thing too that was very telling, and I don't know if someone put this on the Twitter. This was how we did it. Guy walks in, and Cassie walks in. They start off with like masturbation, okay? But
remember, he got mad at the prostitute for looking at him. Homoerotic. So you smearing the nigga's man milk on your chest.
Yeah.
But when he's piping Cassie out and looking at you, trying to wink at you, now you mad? Come on, bruv.
Well, here it gets crazy. This is where it gets crazy. So, and I don't know if anyone reported this. So, Cassie is, fingering the nugget, whatever, and then the other guy's whacking off. And what Cassie had to do was stare at the guy, and he would look at Cassie, and Cassie would have to out loud describe the guy whacking it.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, we never heard it. Wait, hold on. Break that down one more time.
Yeah.
The only thing that struck me weird was like when Diddy was doing a nut check. Like he's like, "Did you nut, bro? Bro, you sure you nutted?"
No. Okay. So this is okay. I don't. Yeah. I think some people miss this. Yeah, dude. To start it off, this was the scheme. Guy walks in. They start with masturbation, right? She's staring at him. He's staring at her. She's fingering herself. He's whacking it.
So there's no contact at first.
No.
Are they dousing themselves in baby oil?
I'll get to that. So she's whacking off. He's whacking off. Diddy's watching.
Just visually, just looking at each other.
Yes. And he's sitting there watching, and Cassie is describing what she's seeing with the guy. And she even said herself that Diddy likes black dudes with BDs. Big deal.
Okay, and I'm cutting you off a bit, and I don't mean to, but there's other details that. So there's an old video of Diddy praising, and y'all got to tell me what this is. Maybe your audience knows because he probably got a little freaky niggas on there. They be on the OnlyFans chick space. Diddy did a whole thing before. He was praising what's called tantric sex. And the idea of tantric sex is not really sex, but it's I don't know what the full definition is, but
it's like whacking off against the edge and not doing it, not going all the way.
Okay, but I'm wondering if what you're saying in how you're describing the freak off, if maybe that was an alternate version of it that because he's never said any of these things publicly.
Yeah,
but like I've been watching old videos. I'm like, how did nobody fucking know?
Yeah, well, he did a good job of concealing things, dude. I'll tell you that. He did a fantastic job of concealing things. He had a whole team to clean up shit. But so yeah,
literally.
So they're
so they're staring at each other, whacking off.
Yes. Then they start touching each other.
What happens
That's
if the
when the
guy's
baby
nut?
oil comes.
Suppose the guy
No,
nuts.
you can't.
Suppose he can't get hard because is Diddy in the room or he's not in the room?
He's in the room. But the dude can't look at him. And he might be hiding. I don't know if the dude can actually see Diddy or not.
Wait, so Diddy's in the room. Cassie's looking at the guy. She's
Yes.
fingering herself. He's
Yes.
whacking it.
Yes.
And she's verbally saying something?
She's describing what the dude is doing. Verbally.
She's
out loud.
describing it to Diddy.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
right now, he cupping his balls and he's stroking his shit.
Yeah. Some
What the
shit
fuck
like
is Diddy
that.
doing? He's stroking his shit too?
I don't know if he was whacking off or not. I can't confirm or deny, but I'm
Diddy a
assuming he
different
was.
type of game, man.
So, but the guy can't bust. And matter of fact, Diddy would not pay them if they busted when they weren't supposed to. He would not pay them.
So Diddy got these niggas edging.
Yes, dude. Yes. Damn. Yes, and if they busted when they weren't supposed to, they don't get paid and they get kicked out and another escort comes in.
Yo, niggas thought it was an easy job fucking Cassie. Imagine
Yeah.
you're just whacking off looking at her.
Well, one of the guys couldn't get hard. The Phillips guy spoke about this in detail. Once he saw Diddy beat her, he couldn't get hard anymore, and Diddy stopped paying him. There were times when he got sent home without getting paid. The Phillips dude. So anyway, so step one, whack off session, right? Describe Diddy, Cassie talking dirty. Then after that, they start the baby oil rubbing and touching each other. Once that's done,
Is Diddy doing anything at this point? Or he just like
he's whacking and watching and directing. He's watching and directing and whacking.
But he's not touching.
Not until they start having sex. So then they get into oral sex. So masturbation, or baby oil, then that takes time, the foreplay and shit. Then the oral sex, then the actual sex. Then if he wants to jump in, sometimes he jumps in.
Okay, all right. Oral sex or oral copulation, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Fellatio or whatever. Are we just talking about her giving him head? Is he giving her head? Like
It's both.
Both.
Yeah, both.
He's just directing the type shit.
He's just directing
He
it.
think it's a music video.
He's literally directing it, bro. And the even the escorts like said that he had certain like things that he wanted. Like for example, he would stop them if there wasn't enough baby oil. If they weren't glistening and lathered up a certain way, he would literally stop them.
on the shiny suits.
And he would make them rub each other more. He was literally a director, and then he'd be in there. It's crazy. One escort, I think it was Phillips, described how it went from like camcorder to camera to cell phone. Like the nigga saw
He had 3 recording devices.
yeah, no. Like he saw the expansion of technology being used.
Oh.
Because he had like been dealing with them for a bit.
Oh wow.
So he kind of saw like the different ways that Diddy
now Diddy could just use his phone. So
Yes.
this freaky ass nigga like that. Okay,
Yes.
damn.
And iPads and all this other shit. So, yeah. So there was like a trilogy of technology, I guess, of how it expanded. But yeah, dude, that's something that he was doing as well. But yeah, he was basically there directing, and the guy was having sex, he'd be whacking ous in the corner.
Okay, I want to stay here. Pause.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask a question while I think about it. We're getting like some people who are assistants and so forth, and they could be seen, if you want to have an understanding of this quote unquote criminal enterprise that the AUSA is trying to pay out. Okay, maybe these people are, the co-conspirators, they're just not indicted. So maybe they had profits, whatever the case is. One person who, her name keeps getting brought up, Kristina Khorram, KK.
Yes.
She seems like very important. And number one,
She got brought up today too, multiple times.
number one, I don't think she'll ever work with the government. She looks like one of them that'll go to jail for Diddy. Okay? I haven't heard anything about her. Is there a
She had to have
possibility?
struck in a deal, man.
But what deal could she have struck where she's not involved in the case and just
She
absent?
might be the last witness.
If she testified, I think Diddy goes to jail.
Probably. She's probably because
She's the Ghislaine Maxwell. I think even when
Diddy, because it should have been Cassie, but they can't do that, obviously.
Yeah.
So I think she's probably going to be the last witness.
so the way I'm thinking about this, and just as you mentioned, you saw the technology go from camcorder to this.
Because she would have got indicted, bro. The reason why I'm saying that is because there's no fucking way that she did not get that she wouldn't cooperate and then not get indicted.
I believe that she was the one that probably was overseeing these videotapes that Diddy had and making sure they didn't get out.
Potentially,
and probably then destroying them. Remember, Cassie also said at the end, she said she wrote a book, which her capping ass told him about. Why did you write a book? I wrote a book that he could finally understand me. No, you didn't write a book for that. You got an author. What the fuck? Yep. Then she said, I sent the book over, got no answer. I sent it through my lawyers, got no answer. Then I hit up KK.
I wanted him to read it.
Yeah, and KK said to me, KK said, yeah, this won't go anywhere. And it was like she was speaking for Diddy, but that didn't it didn't sound like this is what Diddy said. This sounded like a co-conspirator. Oh, we knew you were running this play. Bitch, you're not getting shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That sounds like a co-conspirator.
Yeah. Yeah, she's trying to conceal the criminal activity.
I'm wondering because again, we're seeing 2 personal assistants testify. By the way, Farnsworth, I don't know.
Hey, where's he at?
I don't know
Was that all just an act?
Maybe I don't know, bro. He living it.
Oh, and then when Cassie said, I can't do it one last time, it needs to be the first time for the rest of our lives. That's what it basically was the statement that she gave when it kind of came to the freak-offs. Because they said, oh, we need to do one final freak-off. And she said, it's not going to, she said, basically, I can't do one last time. It needs to be the first time for the rest of our lives. So in other words, we will continue to do the freak-offs for the rest of our lives. It won't be the last time. When Diddy said one more last freak-off.
But does that mean
and then the government tried to, like you said, say, oh, well, let's show the rest of the text. And that, to say like, hey, you know, because she claimed, oh, I got a UTI, I can't do it, blah, 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 is what they meant. Like, no, I can't do a UTI. But then the defense tried to reframe it as, no, you're saying no because you want to do it for the rest of your life. And that's how they closed.
Yeah, I remember.
They got the last statement, and that's why, because I was just trying to go back to what you're saying, because you're saying that you think the defense got the best of them. That's where it comes from. Because they got the last word in, and they were basically able to interpret that same last sentence a different way. But this is the beauty this is when you have good lawyers, right? And I was talking about this in my thing. They have the same set of evidence. They have the same text messages. But one side is interpreting it from a victim perspective. The other side interpreting it from a woman that was willing and wanted to get involved in this and wanted to keep this guy.
Yeah.
And they're using the same discovery, but they're interpreting the text messages differently. And this is how you know that you got good lawyers. And then when they're able to, which the government did this a bunch, they're able to object under 413 or other situations, all speculation, not relevant, blah, blah, blah. And they were doing everything. And the government actually did a fantastic job of this. So one thing that the government did that I was like, incredible lawyering, was the defense actually named all the exhibits they wanted to use, right? And it was from the same discovery from Cassie's phone.
Yeah.
And they named all the numbers, right? Spent like, I shit you not, like 10 minutes naming all the different exhibits, like 20 exhibits, right? Because you have to name them.
At first, they said they had 400. They stayed up till 3 a.m., got 400. The government said, hey, judge, I thought we can do this. Supposedly, they say to the judge, well, we're going off after her direct. These became relevant. We stayed up till 3. We got them.
Yeah.
The judge says, narrow them down. He says, yeah, judge, we will. They come with 20. You're right. Go ahead.
Yes. So they come with like 20. Then she names them. And as she starts trying to introduce each piece, they object.
They object to everyone.
And they object. Bro, by the end of it, they were only able to get like maybe 1 or 2 images up. But why is this important? Some people might say, Myron, who gives a fuck? They were able to get 1 image in, or why does it matter? Because that the attorney had questions lined up per image. So when you're questioning these people, you can't ask them questions that lead them to speculate. You need to ask them questions where it like kind of leads to like a succinct and like almost absolute fact almost, right? So when they have these pieces of evidence, they're showing that, what is this, right? But if they don't have that piece of evidence, they can't show it. They can't go into their questions. So her entire, and I could see her like panicking as they were doing this shit, objecting, and he's like, sustain. I was like, sustain. So when they were doing this is fucking up the attorney, because now she can't have her questions, so she had to adapt quickly, which I'll give her credit. She adapted quickly, and that's when she ended her with the whole, rape situation and the, smashing the Diddy and all this other stuff. But if she was able to get these 20 exhibits in, and the government's devious because they waited for her to go through all of them, and then as she starts saying, okay, let's enter blah, 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 in, objection, Your Honor, blah, blah, blah. Objection, Your Honor, 408. Objection, Your Honor, 413, 608, whatever the hell, 603. And they just were able to get like 80% of it not in.
A bunch of them knocked out. Okay. And I hate
good lawyering, bro.
I hate to be redundant and go back, but we got to see the steps of the freak off. So we get to the fucking mutual jerk off, the lathering in baby oil.
Yep.
Then after that,
I actually wrote it down somewhere.
We're talking about fellatio or oral copulation, and then after that, it's time to fuck. All right. So is Diddy now saying, all right, let me now get up and just. Harlem Shake over there and just slang some.
Nah, he's just whacking off the whole time they have sex, and then sometimes he would come in, like when they
whack it up. Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Sometimes he would come in.
Yo,
but not often.
Let me tell you this.
Yeah,
I know Diddy was on some serious drugs, because this is TMI. But if any nigga could whack off for a good, they said that the fucking free calls would be 4 days long. If you could beat your cock for 4 days long, nigga, that's assault and battery. This is like attempted murder, nigga. Like, God damn it. Yo, if you could beat your dick for 4 days straight and not catch a heart attack, nigga, you great, nigga. Nigga, try to beat your dick for 5 minutes in the shower when it's all hot and you passing out. If you could beat your dick for 4 days, this thing is better than Brian Pumper. He better than all them niggas. He better than, what's the nigga who fucked Lena? I forgot what his name is. Jason Love.
Oh, yeah.
He better than all them niggas.
Yeah.
Did he just whacking off for days?
Like, he would do sessions, but yeah, I mean, it is like pretty much.
That nigga had to shave for shit, man. Like, yo, this nigga.
Yeah.
No way.
Because, like, they would take just a few hour breaks and go right back to it.
Nah.
But that's the drugs, bro. Like, that's just like the drugs. But yeah, that was the order of things, man. Absolutely wild.
No, this is crazy.
I was shocked when she said that shit, and I was like surprised more people didn't report it.
Yo, did you see? There was a part. You tell me how this went.
Yeah.
There's a part where Diddy had his skip bayless time. Supposedly the stripper was piping out Cassie, and he said, "It's my turn." Like he was like, "Yo, it's my turn to fuck."
Yes.
And I'm like, "Yo, that's some skip bayless shit." Like, yo, get out of the pussy, nigga. It's my turn. Get up in there.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Were both of them using condoms, or Diddy was just raw dogging right up in that joint?
I know the escorts were not using condoms.
Damn.
I know for a fact they weren't using, because he complained about this, and he said, I asked her for an STI test, I gave her mine, and she didn't give me hers. Phillips complained about this. You know, and the reason why is because he wanted him to jizz inside her.
That's why I realized the prostitutes didn't know too much, because they wanted to use protection, and Diddy's like, no, nigga, not only can you not use protection, you have to nut. And here's the thing.
Either on her or in her.
Well, here's the thing.
Was acceptable.
I think he probably liked preferably in her. I'm going to tell you why. If anybody ever nut, listen, I learned this back in health class, man. Nut dries up fast, okay? So I don't think Cassie's back flipping off her back. Remember, she was just laying flat down. They're peeing in her mouth. They're jizzing on her. That jizz is going to be dried up before you get to massage it into this nigga, like nipples. So I gotta imagine Diddy wanted her to get nut inside of her, because at least, you know what I mean, she could go in the next room, do a little squat, have it drip out in her hands, massage it into his nipples. At least, you know what I mean, it'll get flaky on his chest. But if you nut on a chick and it stays there for 3 minutes, that shit's done. It's evaporated.
It's cooked.
Unless it's just me. I'm sorry. Everybody knows this. Y'all watch porn. So this is what I'm saying. Diddy's a freaky boy, but he knows the shit.
Yeah.
No condoms. Hey.
Well, he knew when that dude didn't bust. That's when I was like, that's because when I first heard his testimony, why would Diddy care so much that because he lied and said, "Oh yeah, I busted."
Harvesting semen.
Yeah, that's. But then when Cassie gave her testimony, I was like, "Oh my God, now it makes sense why she was."
Like Squid Games when they were harvesting body parts. Yo, this motherfucker was harvesting semen.
Yeah, bro.
Nigga might be doing some stem cell research. We never know,
bro.
Yo, suppose Diddy was harvesting
because he came out. He was pissed. The guy, like the escort even said, like he was kind of concerned that Diddy came out and said, "Hey, did you not?" He was like, "Yeah," and he had to like keep the lie up. And then when Cassie gave her testimony about the nipples, I was like, "Oh my God."
Yo,
she just corroborated a very disgusting fact.
Yo,
the witnesses don't talk to each other, so you know it's legit.
If Diddy was harvesting semen for some type of stem cell research, Diddy might be a hero,
bro.
Like it's nasty, but he's a hero.
Yeah.
Diddy sacrificed himself and he used the freak off to extract semen. Yo, you ever see? No, this is real shit. Like you ever see? Like I watched this. Listen, I'm a biomathematics major. When they want to get I've seen them, for research purposes, extract semen from a frog. And because frogs have these involuntary muscles, they're really involuntary. Like you could actually even trigger one of the nerves even after death, and it'll move just like they're alive.
Yeah.
They could easily
like when you
do
cut the chicken head off and it keeps running.
So I'm like, maybe Diddy was harvesting the semen. And he could like solve some type of like, imagine he cures cancer because of the freak offs. That's crazy.
I'll tell you this, if he did that, then he'd be a hero, bro.
They get a little Pulitzer Prize, a Nobel Peace Prize, all that shit. All right. Okay. All right. Now, did you hear the fact today of there was something called, there's a drug dealer called One Stop. That's hilarious.
That's a crazy name,
The
bro.
niggas sold weed, ecstasy, Plan Bs.
Dawg said Plan Bs. I was like, wait, what? Nigga sells Plan B.
That's a good drug dealer. You got to sell some Plan Bs.
Yeah. Well, that's how you know Diddy was nutting them bitches too, I guess.
Well, we don't know.
Or no, you know what? She probably bought a Plan B.
Well,
bro, she bought the Plan Bs.
I was going to ask you this as well. So very interesting to note.
Yeah.
And I wonder, you mentioned this earlier, and I think we're about to get to the same thing, or you're going to use the same excuse, not excuse, but like the same reasoning.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about, we didn't hear her say she met with the government and probably got a proffer, and that might be carved out because she's a victim of sexual violence.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is, and that's not sure. I'm just speculating because like she was involved in a crime too, so I could see why.
And I think that's a reasonable speculation. So we're hearing about all this freak off shit. We're hearing about semen on nipples. We're hearing about everything.
Or she got some kind of immunity deal.
Okay, we're hearing
she
about
was ordering escorts and organizing all their trips.
Facts. And their defense has nothing to do with, hey, she was the main one. They don't even try that angle.
Yeah, they don't even try it.
So the question I have for you is, a person who gets brought up very often in this, and we get to realize he might have been one of the culprits of leaking the videos, or some of the videos that later was threatening Cassie through this guy named Sajit, which is like a really shady story. I'll let you elaborate in a second, but let me finish asking a question.
Yeah.
Jonathan Odie, the guy who shot up Trump Durrell in Miami, who later did, in his interview, he said, hey, I was a sex slave for Cassie and Diddy. So he said this back in like, was it 2018 or whatever the case is. And it turns out, shit, he was spitting. Yep. Pause. Facts, right? Now, here's the interesting part about it, and I wonder why this hasn't came up, and you tell me, I don't know if you know the answer, or we'll probably assume. The dude said he got a $5 million settlement from Diddy.
Okay.
He got a $5 million settlement for a few reasons. He signed an NDA.
OD, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He got he signed an NDA. He had videos that Diddy wanted back desperately that he gave, which by the way he gave to two attorneys, Mark Geragos and Ben Masalis. And as well, he said that through the freak-offs, he caught the herpes virus and he blamed them. So it was almost like this one payment
Cassie
for everything.
Did talk about lumps on her tongue and shit, or...
But that's what I was going to get into. I'm like, there's so much freak-off shit going on.
Yeah.
She's admitted hundreds of prostitutes. No one's using protection, and we hear nothing about STDs.
Yeah.
If
we know 20 at least. And in the trial, at least 20 names.
Okay, but think about this. From an AUSA perspective, if I really want those jurors over there in that jury box to really feel like this guy's a monster, I want to show how reckless he was. He was infecting people or facilitating the situation that was getting people infected consistently. And we heard no testimony about abortions. By the way, there's another woman, she's not in trial yet, Gina Hu. She said that she had 2 abortions. We hear nothing about maybe Cassie having abortions.
Cassie was mad about the abortions. Gina, that pissed her off when she was it was the video and then abortions.
Okay, but we hear nothing
came out during Carrie's testimony.
Yes, you're right. But we hear nothing about maybe her personal issues beyond the UTIs and sores on the tongue. You're telling me that we're hearing about all these other diseases and even abortions, but they didn't even pry. They didn't even say, hey, did Diddy ever get you pregnant? Were you on birth control? We don't even hear those questions.
Yeah, we didn't even hear that.
Why do you think not take the angle? Because the best way to paint Diddy as a monster was to paint him as a reckless asshole that forced everybody, right, to not wear protection. He was nutting in people. He was having sex workers nutting in people. Reckless. She was getting UTIs. Clearly, she was saying her health was being affected. Why not just go all the way to be like, look at the full side effects?
Well, no, I think they did. You know, she talked a good amount about, you know, the pain she was experiencing, how she couldn't, you know, she'd be in pain for days. She'd need to recover for days. She couldn't get her music done because the freak-offs would take so much from her between organizing it, getting pretty for it, then doing it, and then recovering from all the drugs and everything. She had no time. Those are her full-time job, according to her. So this OD guy, yes.
I was expecting to hear something about at least a little bit of chlamydia. Ain't no way y'all doing someone's fucking chlamydia hopping the bitch.
Yeah,
like, ain't no way.
There. But with the OD guy, okay, so I'll do Sujit first. So Sujit basically was like a friend of hers, some dude that like was associated with WooKid. She went out to she went to Atlantic City and she went to New York City. She had like 2 events that she had, and this guy was there with her. So he tells her, "Hey, I heard that you're in a porn video," and she's like, "What?" And she freaks out. She calls Diddy or contacts Diddy and says, "Yo, this guy's saying that there's a sex video on me." Now Diddy obviously freaks out too because he has a vested interest in not getting discovered either. So he tells her, "Yo, figure out, get to the bottom of it, and don't let him out of your sight." Diddy's in LA when this is all going down, right? So he's not there.
So Diddy tells her, "Don't let this motherfucker.
Don't let him out of your sight and get to the bottom of it."
We might have to Tupac his ass type shit.
Potentially. Well, he didn't say. She didn't say that.
Love Pop.
But yeah. But what she did say though, she actually recorded herself, and it's funny. The government didn't play this, but the defense did.
Did she record herself or he recorded her?
No, she recorded herself. It could have been him recording her.
Or maybe she recorded the conversation with her and him for Diddy, but now that conversation is weaponized.
That's what I think.
She's shouting at him like, motherfucker, I'll get you killed. Yeah. Like, I ain't killed nobody yet, but you be the first one. That's the call.
I think she recorded it for Diddy, more than likely. Because to me, it looks like it was recorded from her angle. So, because I think they asked her even on Cross, did you record this? Yeah. And I think she confirmed it. But either way, there's a recording. And we see a whole other side of Cassie we didn't know exist. She's saying she's going to kill him. She's going to bury him. She made 3 to 5 different threats against him, that she would bury him. And the crazy thing was she said, it's not going to be me that does it. I'm not going to get blood on my hands. And then she really made it. And the other reason too, that was interesting. She kept saying like, I'm not going to get my career fucked up. Like you got me fucked up. And she was like swearing at him and nigga this and nigga that. So it was actually very shocking to see her speak to him like that. It was very shocking because at this point, remember, bro, everyone's looking at her like, oh, she's pregnant, she's innocent, blah, blah, blah. But when dudes saw that, they're like, oh, what the hell? Okay, I can read for you right here. I got it. Ask him on recording, was I touching myself or someone fucking me? So that's important. I was touching myself. That comes back to what I told you. They start with whacking it, right?
Ooh, that's why she was asking that.
Yep. So she asked that specifically. Was I touching myself or was someone fucking me? So she says he has the video. Then she says, wait, you see it? You have it? Let me see it. Cassie says she needs to see it now. She threatens to kill him and bury him if he doesn't show it. And then she tells everybody there, get the fuck out of here, and tells them to leave. And you could kind of hear like people dispersing. And she says, if you don't show me this thing, I'm going to kill you and bury. And, and I'm not going to be able to do it. There's not going to be blood on my hands. And she threatened him like 3 to 5 times in this recording.
Wow.
But that's a good detail. She says, and I wrote this down and I put a star. Was I touching myself or was someone fucking me? So that tells you right there. It starts with the whacking off.
And I'm pretty. I don't know if you were still done with that train of thought or you're keeping going, but
no, I'm done with it.
I wanted to ask you about just generally what I did take away from the entire thing. I said, you know what? With all things being said.
Oh, and the OD thing. Last thing I'll say, because he was the other person I was threatening to the video. Because the defense brought this up. Hey, if Diddy was, because remember, Cassie's argument is he has these videos on me. He's going to blackmail me and ruin my career. Defense comes back, bitch. Did you and him not conspire to shut this Suja nigga up? That's why they played the video. That's why they played the recording. So Diddy had a vested interest in making sure the videos didn't get out either. Then they brought up the OD guy and said, OD had a video and Cassie knew about it. And then they asked, do you know how the video got deleted? And she said she had no idea. And then that's when the defense was like, okay, are you aware of the fact that Diddy spent months and a significant amount of money to get rid of that problem? She was like, no, I wasn't. But I didn't know it was 5M. But that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what the guy said in the interview. He said $5 million in NDA.
So that makes sense. But they did say that he spent a lot of money and it took months for him to negotiate that. And the nigga's clearly off his rocker, so that makes sense.
Yeah, and I don't think that guy's going to be involved in the trial because his testimony or his conversation, whether it was so high or whatever when he was talking.
He's not credible, bro.
He's not credible.
They would never bring him. He got involved in that shooting. He gave a ridiculous interview. Though some of the facts line up, he's probably mentally unstable at this point.
He said Tupac's alive in Cuba.
Yeah. You know, that's a nightmare witness, bro. The worst witnesses are the ones that like have nuggets of truth, but a lot of bullshit. Because then it's like, oh my God, bro.
Yeah, they say something that works, you're like good, and then they say some bullshit, like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's AUSA's nightmare.
It invalidates everything else.
Yeah, and then the defense is going to have a field day with that.
Okay, it's Cassie's demeanor. And I guess I'm asking your overall opinion. Did you feel like she came off credible? One thing I believed she came off overall was that I looked at her and I said, I do think she was loving some of them freak off, activities. But one thing I do believe, she was protecting Diddy a lot.
You think so?
Okay, let me try to make the point and then you respond. Freak off going on at Intercontinental. Diddy feels he's about to get arrested. They escort her downstairs. Diddy shouting to her, Cassie, call my phone. They about to lock me up. She goes downstairs. She's trying to ignore him. He's texting her. She's calling my phone.
Yep.
Yo, he beats her ass. She goes back to the joint where Carrie,
the hotel, her home.
Yeah. What's her name? Carrie, what?
Carrie Morgan or something.
Morgan? Yeah, Carrie Morgan.
Yeah. She
goes with a hoodie. So you can see that her face is fucked up a little bit. Diddy storming in like, yo, where's she at? Hitting the door supposedly with a hammer.
Yep.
They don't answer the door. They call the cops. The cops come.
They didn't press her at all. By the way, chat, they didn't press Carrie Morgan that much at all. So, like, she basically gave more context to, like, why they're not friends and shit like that and what they did. And But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, his defense didn't do much with that.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And then what happens is the police come.
We did find out she got a nice $30K though for getting hit with a clothes hanger. Not bad.
Oh, okay. We didn't know the amount. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay, okay.
So the settlement was 30K.
Okay, so this is why they're not friends no more. Diddy does that shit, right? Shows up, grabs her by the neck, kind of like drags her, and then hits her with a clothes hanger. Okay? She says she got a concussion and she went to the doctor and shit. She retains legal, and I think they correspond with Diddy's people. Cassie meets with her at a pizza shop, one-on-one. Says, hey, you overreacted to this shit. It's not that serious. Blah, blah, blah. Carrie gets pissed. Bitch, what do you mean? Your boyfriend hit me while you were in the bathroom just chilling.
Hey, I describe this if you want to think about just how relationships are between men and women. Every girlfriend of your girl hears about how you ain't shit.
Yeah,
she's a person that your girl vents to. So Cassie I guarantee, would probably be like, yeah, Sean did this, blah, blah.
Oh,
he's a new girl.
But
so she was there soaking everything in and defending her and be like,
this.
you got to stick up for yourself. And the moment it's the other way around, Sean is in her presence and she gets hit, she looks at Cassie and Cassie's like,
yeah, let me give you a quick summary, bro. This is like easy mode, right? Basically, these chicks are they meet at a modeling gig, right, in New York City. They end up becoming friends. It's interesting. They met because they had to wait in line for a Polaroid. Isn't that crazy? Like,
yeah.
20 years ago, you had to wait for a Polaroid. That shit would never happen now.
They had to wait for the Polaroid to be developed or something.
Yeah. This is like, bro, she's like 39. Bitch is like 40. Anyway, so they're there. They become friends. They end up getting an apartment together, live together like in 2004. Cassie meets Diddy, blah, 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 2007. They're going on trips. They're hanging out, blah, blah. So she witnesses Cassie get her ass whooped by Diddy on 2 different occasions. Once in Jamaica and once in L.A. In L.A., he basically shoved her. She didn't really know what the context was. She just knows that he pushed her. She saw that, but she didn't see anything else or why it happened. Then in Jamaica, she sees him like drag her because she took too long in the bathroom. And then he sees her push her and she falls and hits her head.
I think that's bullshit.
That's what she claimed. I'm just telling you, it's precisely what her story is. Mm-hmm. So she says she lied there for like 20, 30 seconds. Carrie comes out yelling at Diddy like, what the fuck? Cassie gets up, runs into the woods. They both say, and get in fucking golf carts and go after her. Carrie finds her. They hide in the fucking thing for like hours, and then they go back to the house, whatever. Oh, and then in LA, they also ran and hid for a bit, for 30 minutes or whatever, and then she left. And then, they go on trips, they hang out. They go to Burning Man like 3 times. They have fun here, have fun there. She says that, Diddy, shits on her and yells at her or whatever. It puts her down. And then the other thing too is that she told Cassie on multiple occasions, you need to leave. And she was like, no, he pays all my bills. He gives me an allowance. He takes care of me, blah, blah, all this other shit. So, I can't leave. I don't know if it was Dawn that said that. But either way, the point is both of them understood, Cassie said the same thing. He supports me, controls my career. I'm not going to leave. Whatever, which I think to the defense is actually a good thing. And then the things comes to a head where he shows up at the house in 2018 looking for Cassie. I forget what for, and he had a key. So he walks in while she's there, right?
So, yeah, he's paying that spot.
Yeah, he paid for all her shit. Cassie didn't pay for nothing.
Well, but wasn't she living with Carrie at the time or no?
No, she was not. Okay. Carrie was there visiting. This is LA. Carrie's back in New York at this point. So, but now Carrie lives in LA and she's a personal assistant. At 39 years old. So ain't do shit with her life. But anyway, girls live life on easy mode, bro. So, bro, I'm telling you, these bitches to live life on easy mode.
She might as well get in that free go. Yo, in the beginning of it, Diddy's defense team brought up to Cassie, were you jealous of Carrie? Because there's a message that says, yo, she suggested
I know
Diddy,
you like Carrie more.
Yeah, I know you like Carrie more, this is why 2 bad bitches can't be friends.
Yeah.
A girl like to be with an ugly friend that knows he clearly fucking with me, bitch, you ugly as sin.
Well, now she is. She was better before.
Oh, she was ugly in court? I got an old picture of her. She kind of look a little bad. A little blonde girl.
Yeah. Now she's a little bit more cooked. Bro, blonde women age bad, bro. You know how it goes.
Nah, it's not blonde woman. It's broke woman. That's what happened. Like, cooked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, cooked.
She probably broke.
She like 40 and shit. You know what I mean? You can see like, because they partying and shit in their 20s and living life and shit. So whatever.
The drugs are just coming to her poison at this point.
Exactly.
Damn.
So anyway, and I don't think she's married.
Moldy porridge.
What was that?
Looking like moldy porridge at this
point. I'm telling you, the bumps in the face, whatever. Cooked. Right, I could dye my hair and go back 20 years, baby. Like this girl's fried. But anyway, so niggas suckers say, Myron, you would look like you age. Nigga, I can tie my shit back. I could be Diddy. I could dye my shit black. Not that way, and be fine. But anyway, so
yo, you got to sneak some Just for Men Rogan into him. Like, I hear Diddy's looking crazy gray.
Yeah, he is very gray.
He need that just for men.
He does, but they won't let him do it. He got a patty and everything.
Damn.
Yeah, he got a patty and everything. He's not as dapper. But I'll finish the story. So she's at the crib with Cassie listening to her music. There was no drugs there. She denies that there was drugs there, contrary to what, they claim that he hit her because she was putting Cassie on drugs and he wanted her to get off. So Diddy walks in, has the key. She's shocked. What the fuck? He's looking for Cassie, losing his shit or whatever. And he grabs her by the neck and drags her or whatever. And then he throws a hanger at her. She said boomerang tosses the hanger or hits her, basically hit her in the head area. She gets a concussion.
Hey, do we know what time this is? Because it feels like he was crashing out when Kid Cudi was punching Dick in the stomach.
This is like 2018.
I ain't gonna lie. I'd be mad fucked up if a nigga wearing a crop top was fucking my bitch.
Yeah, this is 2018.
A crop top?
This is way past.
Okay.
This is way past.
2018. Who's fucking her then?
But he sparring kicked her in 2011 because of Kid Cudi.
Oh.
That's where she got the bruise on her back. Nigga sparring kicked her.
He gave her a 300 combination with
and
Drake.
Then she went home and then she showed the bruises to her mom and her mom. That's how she showed the bruises to her mom. Like the government showed the exhibits of her with like lumps on her back and bruises.
Oh yeah,
because that was when he fucked her up in 2011 for being with Kid Cudi. Nigga sparring kicked her in front of everybody. And then she fell. But going back to the Carrie situation, so he shows up to the house unannounced with a key. Carrie's like, what the fuck? Cassie knows that he's there, locks herself in the bathroom. So he fucks up Carrie, whatever, hits her in the head with a thing. Carrie's mad as fuck. So like a month later, whatever, or a couple of days later, I forget exactly what it was. I think it was a month later they met at this pizza shop to discuss the situation. Cassie basically tells her, yo, here's an NDA. You overreacting, 30,000. And Carrie just took it. And then they haven't spoken since because Carrie was furious that she didn't take her side in the situation. And they didn't talk since. And then the lawyer kept bringing it up. I don't know why this nigga trying to be like a fucking mediator. Like, well, you ruined a 17-year, the defense attorney, you ruined a 17-year relationship because of this. Like, you got the money, blah, blah, why don't you, whatever. And then she said, oh, well, she hasn't contacted me either. So, bro, it's ego. Like they could easily rekindle it. You could tell that she would want to talk to Cassie again. But it's because they don't want to talk to, like, they don't want to, she don't want to admit.
Hell no. They would never be friends again.
No.
When two women see their lives go, this chick is the personal assistant, like fucking broke as hell. She'll probably thinking I'm better than Cassie. Yeah. I deserve Diddy.
Yeah.
Diddy shows up. She probably wasn't down for the free calls.
And it brings back bad memories. And then on top of that, like Cassie, they'll probably be in hoes together. So like Cassie don't want to open up that shit and she probably don't want to open up that shit.
Yeah, you can't let your girl get back with her whole friend. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, really.
They're being hoes in New York City, bro.
Really important question. So
we covered the Dawn stuff last if you want.
Yeah. So
that show's crazy.
Improving the RICO, and I explained today to my audience, like there's two different parts of like what's usually alleged, right? So there's a few things that need to be understood, right? There has to be some type of agreement. People have to understand that they have knowledge of this, but there's something called predicate offenses and also what's called overt offenses. In a RICO, you need to prove two predicate offenses. Overt offenses aren't necessarily crimes. It's like you going to get rope, but the rope is used for the kidnapping.
That's for the conspiracy.
Yeah,
that's for the conspiracy angle.
Right. So the predicate offenses are going to matter. For example, sex trafficking is one of the predicate offenses. There's actually about like 6 or 7 of them that they hit.
There's
Diddy
a bunch, bro. Yeah,
bribery, all that. They also include arson.
Yes.
Do we expect?
That's why they brought the Kid Cudi shit in.
Okay, but do we expect for that to be flushed out a little bit more? I don't think Kid Cudi's touching that stage, but do we expect maybe like some type of forensic report on the car or,
What I think is they're looking at it like we need to put as many predicate offenses here as we can, and if we lose all of them and keep 2, we win. Okay. I think they're throwing everything at 6. And I actually heard Diddy's defense when he brought this up and saying like this is fucking wildly ridiculous because you can argue that like almost any of these things, because he's saying like, yo, these assaults, like this is assault. How the hell, like this is a simple assault. How the hell is this being a predicate offense? But then they're saying, well, it goes to means and methodologies, means and methods for the organization to institute that fear or whatever. So this is why RICO's so powerful because, bro, you could damn near like, because there's 2 things. Okay. There's 2 main reasons that the audience needs to know why the AUSA's office went with RICO. 2 main reasons. Number 1, they were able to bring in all the crimes from the early 2000s and that they weren't able to bring in before 2010s, because this would have probably been a statute of limitations problem, right? So that's number 1. They were to bring in all these fucking crimes. And then number 2, it allows you an incredible amount of a variance and latitude to like make crimes that normally wouldn't like be federal offenses. Now they're federal offenses. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say me and you got a gang. you know, let's see here, the hard on thoughts.
Yeah,
Me, you, and Leaf.
Game, man. That's what I'm talking about.
That's the game. Hard on thoughts, right? We decide, all right, we need money to fund this organization, all right? And me and you decide to rob a bank, right? And during the course of the robbery, you shoot, right? You shoot up in the air and you accidentally kill somebody, right? Yeah. Now, that would normally be like a murder charge, right? Which the state would take because the feds never take murder. But since we got a gang and we committed like a federal offense, right? Or it could be even an offense that's not federal. Like we could just be like, you know, just plan a murder, not even robbing a bank. We just plan a murder because, you know, some OnlyFans niggas talking shit about our gang. So we go and we murk him, right? We just shoot his ass, bum, done. Yeah. Don't talk about the fucking, you know, hard on thoughts gang, you fucking loser. Yeah. I almost used the wrong word. And we murder his ass, right? Pause. So we all murder him. Now, when they charge us with RICO, they can hit us with murder. Feds normally never investigate murder. Murder is a state charge every single time. Yeah. But since we are a gang, murder is a racketeering activity. So now they can lump us and hit us with murder. So that is why RICO is so powerful, because you're able to take crimes that normally wouldn't be federal. Carjacking, arson, shit that the state would normally take. Yeah, there's federal statutes for it, but they never take it because it doesn't hit interstate nexus. But when you use the RICO, now you can bring all that shit in.
Hey, the perfect way to even also describe this, and also it's going to show the difference between districts, but also the reason why RICO is just so effective. R. Kelly's a perfect situation. So R. Kelly was charged.
They did that to bring in all those crimes in the 90s.
Yes, so R. Kelly was charged in 2 different districts. He was charged in Illinois, where Chicago is, and then he was charged in Eastern District of New York. Eastern District of New York
did that too.
Eastern District of New York used the RICO charge on him and the Mann Act. In Chicago, he got acquitted on 4 of 7 charges. He was only found guilty of 3. Eastern District, 9 of 9 guilty.
Yeah, that just goes to show you the difference.
It goes to show you the difference. When they're coming in with that RICO, they're coming in for some years. And by the way, you know, we're
and the other thing also with the RICO, with the R. Kelly stuff, like for that they had to do that because they're bringing in stuff from like the 90s, and all they need to establish to bring it in. Are you still continuing the criminal activity?
Yep.
If you're still continuing it,
up to
and
10
it's
years.
in the statute, and it's in the statutes. Now they got you for whenever you were doing. That's how they got the mafia, bro. They're getting these niggas for crimes they did in the 60s. Well, you're still doing it, so now we can go after you for this stuff.
And we're not trying to jump ahead here, but we're trying to play Oracle. Let's try to play Oracle.
We got time,
right?
Can I get another Red Bull?
Red Bull, please.
Please.
So
we're cooking tonight. Pause.
Playing the Oracle, I started thinking about a potential plea deal that, because we've heard he turned down a plea. I'm going to give you some scenarios, and then
turn down a plea, right?
Yeah. So this is how it goes. There's 7 predicate offenses under RICO. At minimum, if he pleads guilty, and I don't think they would ever give him a plea for just bribery and obstruction of justice under RICO. No, they want sex trafficking. As soon as he gets that, that's minimum 20 years, right?
Yeah.
You take a plea, you can't even depart from that. So you're not going to give him a plea for 20. So the RICO, mandatory 20. Now, here's the thing. The 2 individual charges, which are the sex trafficking.
Yeah.
The sex trafficking, there's 2 and 4. It's count 2 and 4.
Yeah.
So if count 1, RICO, count 2 and 4 is sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. 2 is on Cassie. 4 is on Jane Doe. We haven't heard Jane Doe yet.
Yeah, we don't know who she is.
Either of those brings at least 15. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Brings at least 15. And I'm asking you from a AUSA government perspective, would the government be okay with this, right? So the way I was trying to do the math on how they could have given him a plea that maybe he could really consider. The only thing that brings him 10, right, is going to be count 3 and 5, which is the interstate prostitution shit.
Which I think that's actually, at this point right now, I think that's their strongest charge.
Really?
At this point. Right now.
But
there's more witnesses. There's more witnesses.
But do you think there would be a win for the government? It looks like they want blood. Do you think there would be a win for the government? They're like, hey, let's give this motherfucker, like, you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, they want a conviction, obviously. The more time, the more months they get, the bigger the charge, the better. But they're going to be happy.
You think they'll be good with 10?
Well, the more, the better. But like what I'm saying is like any conviction is a W. So let's say they only get him on the lowest one, it's still a W because they won. As long as they don't lose a trial.
not conviction, but we're talking about a plea because that was the
A plea
rumors.
still a W.
Okay, so you think they would have probably offered like, we'll drop the sex trafficking shit, plea to the prostitution, we'll give you that.
That's interesting. I don't know what they offered him, but they had to have offered him something because going to trial
They had
this
to give
sucks.
him one of the sex trafficking shit though.
Yeah,
This is too trumped up in the media. If you guys came with a racketeering charge, okay, I could see that being dismissed, but the Cassie count 2, the sex trafficking, I could see them doing that and him getting the lowest version of that. He has no criminal history. Hey, but buddy, you getting 15 or close to 20, bro. Like,
yeah. It's tough, man, because he has the means to actually fight it. So, like, from the AUSA's perspective, it's kind of like weighing, like, okay, this dude can actually hire a legal team. He's not like a typical stupid ass rapper.
do agents have any input on it?
No, agents have zero input on that. For us, we don't give a shit. So once
you give this stuff up, even if you're like, fuck this guy, I hope he doesn't get a plea. The AUSA isn't like, yo, bro, like, how was when
it depends on how cool you are with your AUSA. But most agents, keep it real with you, we don't really care how much time they get.
Oh, as long as it's a dub.
Like as long as you get a guilty conviction, I don't care. Like, yeah, I mean, unless it's like a really bad dude, like he killed people and shit like that, then that's a little bit different. But, most agents would be like, yo, as long as I get the W, I get the guilty W. You just don't want to lose in trial. Because the worst thing is you don't want to go to trial and lose, bro. You really don't want to go to trial and lose. That's like some shit that's like, I don't want to say career ending. It's not career ending, but it's extremely embarrassing for you. And it's really bad for the AUSA. Like, really bad.
6 of them are like the lead.
All 6 of them.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to be embarrassing for all 6 of them. And keep in mind, this is a career maker for them too. So they want to probably get them on like the biggest charge. But any guilty on any of this stuff is going to be a W regardless. But what I think is, at this point, I think the interstate, they got them. That's right, because the escorts are there. They paid them. You got the witnesses. It is what it is. Hey, that's the simplest one.
What do you think about? So the lead isn't Emily Johnson. It's Maureen Comey, which is the daughter of former FBI Director James Comey.
Yeah, she is the lead because she's sitting on the first chair.
This is going to be this is a career defining.
Yes,
like approach for her. Do you think we're seeing a lot of nepotism, like even in court? Like, I mean, Teddy Geragos, Mark Geragos is. By the way, Mark Geragos represented Diddy back when Odie sued.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that. Okay.
So, and by the way, he's doing PR for them now.
Wow.
I know this is a fact because his PR people hit me up. They're like, hey, we're in court. I got their cell phone numbers and everything. They're like, hey, just let us know if you need any info. We'll send it to you. Obviously, they're trying to get some good press. And I'm like, all right, cool. I look at the bottom, contracted out to Geragos and Geragos. So
that makes sense.
Diddy's paying,
Yeah. He has PR people in there. He does.
Got to.
He's got people, PR people. I mean, this is what happens when you have the money and they're paying people to wear Diddy shirts and shit. So
you think he's paying people that directly?
It's his team.
Probably. Okay.
100% his team. So, and notice how like they're starting this thing now as like the witnesses are starting to get a little bit weaker and they're like finding like, chinks in the armor a bit. Then they're like, all right, let's roll out the t-shirts. Niggas wear t-shirts in front of the courtroom. I ain't see them, but
the narrative is kind of starting to change a bit.
A little bit. I mean, even for me, bro, I'm telling you, like, the witnesses, like, they have, like, Cassie, they beat her up a good amount on the stand. Her promiscuity, drug use, the fact that she didn't want to leave, the fact that she was living a certain lifestyle, she got all these benefits. They sit there and say he didn't progress her career, but then again, he put her on with Kid Cudi. She got songs with some of the top artists. She did put out a mixtape. You can make the argument, well, maybe she was lazy. Was it really Diddy that was holding her back when he put her in touch with all these artists?
She said at a point, and I don't know if she expounded on this. She said her job was to train for freak offs. How do you train for a freak off? I've been trying to figure this shit out.
Well, this is exactly what she said. She said basically her day was
how quick you could get doused in baby.
She would get told to do a freak off. She start hitting up the escorts. She start booking the hotels. She start doing her nails, picking up lingerie. Because she had a couple of sex shops she would go to get the outfits. She would show the outfits to Diddy, make sure he liked them or he didn't like them. She would just do all the coordination, and then she'd do the freak off that would last who knows how long, and then she would say she was doing a freak off like every week, and it would last somewhere between 1 day to 4 days, so like half the week, and then she's recovering the rest of the time. So she said she had a very tough time making music and being productive, but she was living a certain lifestyle. So like, you know, she was getting everything paid for, whatever. So you can make the argument like, bro, she could have been left. So my thing is, and then the defense really did attack. Like the Intercontinental that she got 10M from them, that nobody knew that. That was like a breakthrough.
That's why I said to my audience, I said, hey, if you think Diddy only is hiring these lawyers, that's investigator work. Investigators found that out. That's not in discovery.
Oh, yeah.
Cassie's not saying that. Somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody.
And you can tell that they just got that info.
And I could tell that she
was
got
right
a little bit,
trial.
she was a little bit rattled, and she knew she couldn't lie, and she had to admit to it. And I'm actually surprised that, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure she was
smart.
like looking
They asked
at her
her, did
lawyer.
you file a lawsuit? She said no. They're like, oh, okay. Did you file a demand?
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, so she covered
She was
herself a little
smart.
bit.
Did you file those? Nope. She said, I haven't filed. I'm not involved in any more litigation. I've not filed any more lawsuits.
Yep.
And I don't plan to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's how they locked her.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was shrewd.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, let's do some scoring a bit of defense versus...
Crowd went crazy, by the way, too, when they said she got 10M. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yo, she's a bag chaser.
And also, not only that, the jury wasn't happy with the rape situation either.
Let me ask you a question. And I know that
They were like, what the fuck, man? Like, even the dudes were like, bro.
this is going to be redundant. Now that...
Me Too shit getting out of control.
Well, we can talk about that too, but this is going to be a redundant question.
Yeah.
If they settle with Cassie for 10 M's, granted, Diddy seems...
Intercontinental or Diddy?
Intercontinental.
Oh, yeah.
They settle with Cassie, I mean, for 10
That
M's.
nigga fucked up.
Right?
Flores fucked that one up.
No, but here's the thing. If, granted, Diddy is the aggressor in these videos, but Diddy's life has changed from this. If he beats his case, I need 10 M's too. Come on. If I beat this case, that video heavily prejudiced an entire nation against me. The whole jury pool, that is literally, I was a paying guest. I was the one who booked the hotel. That video has severely changed my life. I need my 10 M's too.
Bro, I'll tell you this. If Diddy beats this, there's going to be hell to pay, bro. Nigga, he's suing everybody. We might even get cooked.
No, his team already hit me up. They cool with me. I talked to Diddy in jail. I'm like, all right, Playboy. He said, Playboy, you know, I ain't got no problem with you. I was like,
You spoke to him?
yeah.
Why he was in jail?
I ain't tell you this?
No.
What?
No.
You want me to tell you a story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm chilling.
Listen to that shit, though. I hope you know that.
No, I know.
Yo, they
I know.
listen to all this jail calls,
I
bro.
think they brought it up low key, but I don't
Besides the
think-
privilege conversation, they're not listening to lawyer shit, but they're listening to you, bro.
No, he was calling a lot of people, so I know it wasn't me. But because they did bring it up in court when he tried to get bail.
Oh, they brought you up?
No, not me, but the way how the conversation happened, I'll tell you.
Okay.
So I was here. Who did we just interview? Because YK was here with me. I can't remember who. But we're chilling. We're chilling in there. Tekashi 6ix9ine locked up.
Oh, he was locked up with him, wasn't he?
6ix9ine
Probation
calls me.
violation.
6ix9ine calls me.
Bro, what's wrong? I gotta ask you.
No, so 6ix9ine's brother calls me.
Okay. I got a question on 6ix9ine after this.
Okay.
I don't want to
6ix9ine
interrupt.
brother calls me. I get on the phone and say, yo, Danny wants to talk to you. I said, oh, put him on. He said, all right, hold on. I put him on the phone. He put him on the phone. He's like, yo, Ak, what's up, man? How you doing, bro? It's like, everything good. And I'm going to be honest with you. Me and 6ix9ine, we have like an interesting relationship because like that's my guy, but also at times I give him like that big brother love because, bro, I really want to see my boy win, bro. My career was helped by him.
You stuck by him.
Bro, I still stand by him, but
you
like-
stuck by him at his worst times.
Yeah, but I really still stand by him, but I also...
No, yeah.
And I'm telling
Even
him,
now.
And I'm telling him, I'm like, yo, bro, you got to stop doing some shit. Like, and I'm kind of reaming him out a little bit on the phone, but not really because I understand that he's locked up. And he's like, yeah, I know, bro. Like, I'm doing A, B, C, and D. I'm about to do blah, blah, blah. Cool. And then he's like, yo, bro, but yeah, no, yo, Ak, I did call you because, like, yo, I wanted you to talk to somebody and, like, yo, he's like, you know, Diddy, like, yo, you know, he locked up with me. And I'm just thinking generally in this building.
GP.
And he's like, yo, how is it with you and him? I'm like, man, it ain't really shit. Like, he been locked up. I mean, at one point, I think he was like hitting me up about like, yo, Miami, but it ain't really nothing. He's like, yo, Ak. He's like, yo, I fuck with you, you're my friend. He's like, I met Diddy in here. He think he don't fuck with him. And he told me real quick, he said, when I came in here, Diddy was depressed and was sleeping all day. And I was like, I was like, wait, you see Diddy's like, no, we're in like this private thing. It says it's me, Diddy, SBF, and he was just like, it's all these high profile
Sam
people.
Bankman-Fried, yeah.
And by the way, Anna Estevio, I believe, she's SBF's lawyer, and she did Cassie Cross. Go look it up. He hired when he got out. He didn't get out nor SBF, but he hired SBF's lawyer in the last month and a half. I think it's Estevio, but someone
he picked up Steele like in the last month too.
And for what people told me, Diddy in jail around these high profile inmates. Sam Bankman-Fried's a billionaire. He tells like, yo, she's good. You got to get her. He adds her to the team. But anyway, Six is like, yo, whatever. He's like, yo, I've been telling him, yo, dog, you can't just be here just like depressed all day, just sleeping all day. You got to fight this. And he said, Diddy asked him, what does that mean? Because he's thinking, well, I have the lawyers, they're fighting. He said, yo, you're getting killed because like every day in the media, 6ix9ine's the media guy. I've always said 6ix9ine, he's a cool rapper. I do like songs from him because maybe I'm biased. He's my friend. And also he makes hot songs when they used to back in the day. But I think 6ix9ine's the best marketer in the game. He understands media like no one else. So he tells Diddy, he's like, yo.
You know what? I'll say this too, because I've said this. I've been saying this for years. I think his return from jail, the Gooba marketing push was one of the greatest marketing pushes I've ever seen in my life. He was able to take the rat thing and make it a joke and laugh at everybody. And he did the rat emoji in the music video. To this day, one of the biggest trolls I've ever seen in my life.
It was all him.
Had all the street niggas angry, losing their minds.
Yo, the first, before he got locked up, his label spent $0 marketing dollars. He would just cook up thing after thing every day. They didn't spend no money. Anyway, so.
Oh, that was just all him, no money. Guaranteed. Nobody put money into it.
His label, to the point, his label would send private jets for his bitches. Just because they had so much money, this marketing dollars don't spend. They don't spend his market. They're not paying me. 6ix9ine's my guy. It's almost like quid pro quo. Like he's supporting me, I'm supporting him.
Yeah.
He's cooking up viral shit every day. They're not spending marketing dollars. Artists of his level.
Because he was doing it by himself.
Yes. Artists of his level that's millions of dollars that you don't have to spend because you're cooking it up yourself. He would just tell them, yo, fly these two bitches here, give them this, and his label would just start be his personal booker for bitches. Guaranteed. Because he has so much money in marketing.
Yeah. And they got to spend it too.
They got to spend it.
They got to spend it before the end of the year.
So it's like, he would just say ridiculous things. That's why later on he's like, all right, give me
it's actually incredible that he was able to do this just off Instagram. I remember, does he still have the highest IG live? Or does someone break that record?
No, in hip hop, but like some Hispanic person or some overseas
person.
Bro.
Half the world speaks Spanish, man.
Okay, so anyway, so I'm talking to Six, and he says, yo, I want to put you on the phone with Diddy. Like, yo, I just want him to talk to you because I've been telling him he got to tap in with the media because he got to change the narrative. Because right now, everybody don't even know him or know the truth. They think he's guilty. And
you know what I will say? Now that you mentioned this, it's a good point. Because Diddy, after 2015, you ain't hearing from him, bro.
And other than
he was never a
video,
social media nigga.
He fell all the way back.
Yeah, he was never a social media guy. And this is a dude that dominated in the early. I try to tell these Gen Zers, like when I'm on stream, yo, you couldn't turn on the TV without seeing this guy in the 90s and the early 2000s. You couldn't. Because here's the other thing I talked about. He blended races. He was hanging out with Ashton Kutcher. He was hanging out with Russell Brand. He was hanging out with rappers. He was hanging out. Like this dude blended things. He was hanging out with rock star niggas, right? So like the thing with Diddy, I'll never forget, we ain't going nowhere. Bad Boys for Life, right? In the music video, he has rappers there. He has rock stars there. In the early 2000s, when it was like not cool to hang out with white niggas, right? Or not cool to hang out with rocker people. He was doing that. He was doing it before Jay-Z did the crash course with Linkin Park. He was doing all that stuff. And on top of that, he dominated television too. You making a band, MTV, MTV2. He was on BET. He was everywhere. So like he dominated like media in the early 2000s. And I feel as though like looking back now, 2020 hindsight, he never switched over to the Instagram, Facebooks, and the YouTubes of the world to a degree. He did for a while, like up until like 2008. You gotta remember, he was really instrumental in, Vote or Die and getting Barack. Of course. But I don't even consider that a social media era.
Okay.
I consider social media era 2013 above. I'm saying that's Instagram, Facebook don't count. Like I'm talking. He definitely got. Yes, he was huge at getting Barack Obama elected. Actually, huge. But what I'm saying is that I'm talking 2013 plus. I'm talking Instagram era, YouTube.
Yeah. After that,
Facebook, yes.
I think he let narratives
Facebook,
run about
MySpace,
him.
yes.
So anyway, I'm thinking,
But that's a good point though that Tekashi caught on to, like, bro, you're not, you know what I'm saying?
So 6ix9ine says, yo,
Kristina's
listen,
dead.
I want to get y'all on the phone. So I'm thinking it's like, all right, yo, I'm gonna call you back at this time. And I ain't gonna lie to you, it's the same thing that happened with like I think with Loose Cannon and Dirk. 6ix9ine literally said, hey, yo, Diddy, come here. And I'm thinking, all right, he's just saying some shit. Within 2.5 seconds, I hear, yo, what up, Playboy?
Oh shit.
It's Diddy on the phone.
Wow.
And I knew he was aware of shit because he's like, bro, listen, man. How's everything doing out there? And I'm like, yo, everything's good. And he's like, yo, I just want to let you know, I never had a problem with you. And that was he was aware of whatever, because I was out here publicly saying, yo, I think Diddy tried to invite me somewhere in London to line me because I was calling his side chick, Young Miami, a prostitute and whatever. Oh. And he had hit me one time. I was kind of like, bro, you're fucking up my pimp game. So I'm like, maybe he was trying to, you know what I mean? Like, give me a lesson type shit. Okay. And he quickly addressed, like, I don't got no problem with you. And he was just like, listen, man, I just want to tap in with you. And, we got to put some good energy in the world. Like, he was speaking ambiguous because he knew it was being recorded. Of course. Because obviously it's on the jail call. It's a 6ix9ine jail call. And he then says, like, I want you to get in touch with my son. And he was just like, the last thing he said, Christian, Justin. Then the last thing he said was, they
weren't there today.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, they weren't there today.
The last thing he said to me was, what did he say? He said, yo, I'm gonna see you when I get out. And I ain't gonna lie, that creeped me out. I was like, whoa, okay. It's like it's the first time I heard confidence in the voice of what he was saying. Okay. But what 6ix9ine was telling me that he was like, yo, he's moping around. He did not sound like that on the phone. He sounded pretty like, yo, I'm gonna see you when I get out.
Well, bro, I'll tell you this, man. The reason why he was moping around and it's because it's interesting how you're giving me information and then it's connecting things on my side. Bro, this guy had assistants do everything for him, bro.
It's MDC, bro.
Bro, and MDC is one of the worst prisons. Bro, you know how many people used to complain to BOP about MDC? Like, it's one of the worst prisons in America in the federal system in Brooklyn. But with Diddy, the reason why I was moping around so much is, like, as I listened to this testimony, bro, he didn't lift a finger. Bro, so his assistants were at his house 30 minutes before he woke up, or an hour before. And they were getting shit ready. They were telling the cook, have the food ready. They were getting papers ready. Like, his life was literally handled from to every degree. He didn't have to worry about nothing, bro. He just, like, existed and showed up to wherever he needed to go. Bro, one of the duties is, like, you need to have a boat for me ready when I go to San Tropez.
Oh, no, no. Hey, listen. No, wait, no. Nigga, no. I only called you because I'm watching the trial today, or I'm like, and David James said this. And David James said this to me. Or not to me, but he said this, but it resonated. Yo, David James, the personal assistant of Diddy, said he was working 20 fucking hours a day.
Yes,
wait,
bro.
hold on, Claude, you gotta listen to this shit. because now I'm like, yo, I might be overpaid. He said he was working 20 hours a day for $70,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Diddy, what? Yo, Diddy was using all the money for baby oil, bro. Facts. 20 hours a day, every day. Yeah, bro. You gotta wake up 20 minutes before Diddy.
Bro.
And I had to stay till 3 a.m.
You gotta be at his crib.
I was like, yo, Diddy had a real sweatshop.
You want me to tell you what the schedule was?
Yeah, okay, all right.
I'll find it. Keep going.
No. That's the only thing that really struck me, because you know I'm a pocket watcher to the max. Because I'm usually thinking, I'm like, yo, for Diddy to get people to conceal crimes for him, he must have been paying the bag. When I heard this nigga was paying $70,000 and they were working 20 hours a day, hell nah. The free club just ended last year.
This is 2007. All right, so that's like maybe that's like 100 today. It's like 100 today.
Still.
Yeah.
If you conceal
that's
the
crazy.
free costs,
yeah.
And you got to clean the baby oil.
Yep.
You got to do this. You got to do that.
Yep.
Imagine you walking into a room and it's caked up semen on the sheets.
So this is what it was. He said Dia was his boss. She was the chief of staff. He was with Diddy every day before he's up every day. Have a file of all his business docs ready. News mention of him for the past 24 hours. Schedule all the business meetings that were ready. He would call security, let them know Diddy's leaving to arrange the vehicles. Work from 6 p.m. They would work from 5 to 6 p.m. He'd do his meetings. Then he'd go to dinner. Then he'd go to the studio, work until about 3 a.m. Then they would either take him home or anywhere else he wanted to go, aka partying. And then 30 to 60 minutes before wake up, and he would work, just like you said, 20 hours typically. Made $70K per year with some overtime, worked 6 to 7 days a week. Sometimes he worked 3 weeks in a row, no break. He had a writer, list of items. He prepared all the rooms, hotels, concerts, etc., the way that he wanted. And he had a particular list for hotels versus a particular list for other places. He coordinated the security, D-Rock, Malik, Bonds, Uncle Paulie, security bit with Big Tim. He didn't see any illegal weapons by security. Bonds, Paulie, and Tim in the beginning told him to stay in his lane because he was getting too ambitious. He also managed the households. Amanda had a house in fucking Alpine, New Jersey that he helped manage with a woman named Amanda in Miami. Amanda managed a place in Miami, but he also helped with the place in New Jersey. What else here? Diddy had multiple girlfriends that he knew about: Kim Porter, Sarah, Tara, Yana, Cassie.
Nigga had bitches with rhyming names. This nigga was a player.
Met Cass and then it goes into how his interactions with Cassie, but those were some of his duties.
One thing I will say about Diddy, and I think Diddy's one of the smart, dumb criminals.
Yeah.
I think if you do crime, you're dumb.
Yeah.
I think he always did it in a
20,
way.
30 years.
Yeah, I think he was smart in a way of compartmentalizing.
Yes.
So, like, think about this. If you're doing all this wild shit and your assistants never see it, all the security guards claim they never seen a lot of that stuff either. Everybody had certain little things that they saw. By the way, there's 2 people who I'm expecting to be on the witness list. You could tell me how many witnesses are left. D-Rock or Roger Bonds. They've been mentioned by important key witnesses, also
I think Malik
assistants.
also will probably come. The Fahim guy.
Okay.
Because that's the one actually that like people name. I think he was real big mention in Lil Rod's thing. Oh, another bombshell for you. Lil Rod was the main person that provided all the probable cause for the search warrants. Fucking found that bombshell out.
Wow, wait, hold on.
Bro. Yo, they better like the goddamn video. I'm looking at your shit. Bro, you only got 1.3. Yo, they need to like your shit on King Academics.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Like,
and they need to like my shit on Myron Gaines X. Bro, what the fuck? We're giving, this is by far one of the best talks on this case I've seen. Nobody gets us in the weeds. Nobody's educated on this shit. Guys, like the fucking video, subscribe to King Academics.
We got 12K watching, you only got 1,000. Like, you be stopping the show. You'll be like, listen, I'm gonna stop the show right now.
Bro, this is fuck, man. Like the goddamn video.
Yo, that's so crazy.
So, and I got it from a very good, I'll tell you off stream.
Okay, but
who told me, but
okay, but now let's get into some legalese, like
sure,
explanations or discussions about that.
Sure.
If your main source of probable cause evidence came from Lil Rod, how is Lil Rod not a witness or a victim in the case? That seems that I would have went to a probable cause hearing then.
Well, remember, they indicted him. He doesn't get a probable cause hearing.
Okay.
If you're indicted, you don't qualify for
only a
probable
complaint, right?
Only a complaint. So, okay. And again, I'll tell you off air, then you'll know.
But they did the search warrant before the indictment.
Yes, and they also did it before Rod filed his shit. If I'm not mistaken, I think they did it before Rod filed his. So
the government talked to him before.
Yeah, he was a predominant source of the.
He showed up to the trial.
He did, bro. He was there for like the first couple of days. First couple of days. But yeah, I saw him there. He was there with his lawyer. But yeah, bro, the probable cause that they used. Because here's the thing.
Why not use Cassie? Or is it so far removed?
I got you. So they did use Cassie. Cassie did provide a significant amount of information on the multiple homes. It was stale though. Because with the feds, and I'll explain this, when it comes to search warrants, they need like a 2-week gap of what they call the information to be fresh. Can't be stale. The thing with Lil Rod, since he was there making music all the time, he knew the house intimately. He knew where all the stuff was. He knew where all the safes were. He knew the layout. Dude was drawing floor plans for the feds. So he was able to provide real-time information because he had been at all the houses, fresh to the feds, real-time, and they were able to execute the search warrants because with the feds, you need that 2-week thing. I'll give you an example, just so your audience really understands, because this is super important, because this is what led to them like doing a lot, really was kicked off the case. Let's say me and you are agents, right? We buy drugs from Leaf's house. We know Leaf is a drug dealer, right? And we buy an ounce of cocaine. Huh?
How'd you know?
I just knew.
Okay.
He doesn't look trustworthy. So we buy an ounce of cocaine, right? So We go to the prosecutor. Hey, we want a search warrant for this house. Okay, when'd you do the drug buy? We did it yesterday. Okay, cool. Drafted the warrant, cool. But if we went to the AUSA and we said like a week later, 2 weeks later, like, you got to do another buy. Sorry, this is not. By the time we get this thing signed, it's going to be like 10 days, 14 days. Not good. We need more fresh PC. So in other words, the feds are very particular about giving search warrants for houses because the house is considered the top echelon of the Fourth Amendment. So like the house, it goes your phone, then the house. That's why Title IIIs are such a big deal to get, right? And I could talk about T3s too, why Big U is cooked.
Yo, that is crazy.
Yo, let me tell you this. If they ever get T3s on you, you're fried. You're air fried. You're done. You're done. Because they need more probable cause to get a T3 than to arrest your dumbass. I'm going to say that again. They need more probable cause to listen to your phone than they need to arrest your dumbass. The only reason they're going up on your phone is because one of two things. Either you're the top nigga and they're trying to really get you cooked, or B, they're trying to climb up and what's called spin up another wire because they want to identify co-conspirators. So either way, if they get you on a wiretap, you're air fried based on like what it takes to get a wiretap.
Yo, once I seen 20,000 over there, I'm like, yo, bruh, you know how much chatting you got to be doing to be on 20,000 calls, bro? Bro, that's a lot of chatting.
Here's the thing. I still talk to,
that's a lot of chatting.
Here's the other thing too. I still talk to, agents. Nigga, nobody does wiretaps like that no more. Everything's encrypted. So like the fact that they got this dumbass nigga on a wiretap.
You gotta realize Big U is one of them old ass niggas that don't use FaceTime. You know what I mean?
Stupid.
Like with him, he's still like rotary phone dial. Wait, but hold on.
But we'll go back to the search.
Yeah, let's go back.
So Rod gets in the search, and I know that it's good PC and it's super fresh because you need 2 weeks.
Break it down though. So you think? And by the way, I need people to fact check this with me. I'm gonna do this on stream tomorrow because we're gonna go through a civil complaint now. So Rod goes in.
Yeah.
Or they find him somehow, or they get a heads up that he's probably gonna file a civil complaint. And when he goes in, they have him signed to a sworn affidavit of what what he claims.
Not Rod. No,
for the search warrant.
No, because search warrants you can use hearsay all day. It's just probable cause. You could say an informant told me this information. Like it could come from. So with a search.
In the search warrant that gets signed off on, they don't have to say this information was produced by Rodney Jones.
Hell no.
Really?
They'll just say a confidential source. I want to read that search warrant affidavit bad.
Do you think it would be available?
I think if we find a case number, we could probably do it because it's got to be unsealed by now. It's got to be unsealed. You just need the case number. It's going to be an MJ case number because it's a search warrant. Because the magistrate judge signed it.
Yeah, I did find it. Yeah. Chat, remind me tomorrow. We're going to look for that. We're going to look for it on stream.
The problem is that it might not be under that same case file. It might not be under, bro, I hate the fucking federal court system. Their shit is all fucked up. CR indictment, but search warrants go filed under other shit. So you got to like know the case number almost. And when I was in the courtroom, they showed, it was crazy. They had to show the evidence log of what they took from the house or what like, cause they did like a drug test of ketamine.
Or in the indictment or complaint in attached,
they're not putting a case number in there.
In attention.
A lot of detention hearing, they're not putting that shit.
Remember they had to show that, hey, we found a gun.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
We found a gun at whatever.
Yep.
You don't think they cross-reference like the search warrant, like maybe it was sealed at the time, maybe now we can find it.
Well, yeah, they talked about it. They gave the press release, but they're not going to put the case number on there. They gave the indictment case number. Or did they even give a case number? I don't even think the case was indicted. The case wasn't indicted at that point, I think. When they found the serial numbers and they did press release, the gun without the serial numbers, I don't know if they were indicted yet.
I think it's in the indicted one too, though. There's got to be a way. I'm going to try to find it. That would be really important.
Because here's the thing. You're going to have to look for an MJ case number. So when they're indicted, it goes CR.
Are you going to say how they got the probable cause in that?
Yes, yeah.
Really?
That's why I want to read it because the thing is, with a search warrant for a house, it has to be extremely detailed. So there's probably because here's the thing. They're going to go attachment A, which is going to be what's to be searched. There's going to be attachment B, what they expect to find in the house when they search. Then attachment C, which is going to be the affidavit, which outlines all the probable cause. And with that, with the search warrants, you don't have to list who it is that gave you the stuff. Hearsay is completely acceptable. Informants are acceptable. Other agents or other people giving you information is completely acceptable. Like if you look at the search, the Trump search warrant is a perfect one that I like to refer people to because it's public. If you read that, well, half of it is redacted. But if you read through that, it says like, you could tell us informant information. Anytime you get a warrant for someone's house, bro, informant. Well, undercover, but that's way harder to get undercover. It's an informant.
Or maybe a victim that was there.
Which is basically an informant.
Okay.
Because they're telling.
Yeah. Damn,
But yeah,
Lil Rod.
Lil Rod is the one that provided that shit. That's a bombshell.
Yeah, but he's not. I don't think he's gonna be in this. I'm wondering if Diddy could use that to be like, yo, this guy that gave you the information. I mean, he's not charged with guns.
Diddy?
Yeah,
They could. They found an error with the serial number obliterated.
Is that worth prosecuting? It's a mansion with like 20 people in there.
With all these charges, no. But I'm surprised they didn't do it because I've been trying to throw a book at him. I think it's 18 USC 922K. Someone Google that. If I'm right, bro, I need some ones in the chat if I'm right. I think it's 18 USC 922K. Firearms used to be my shit, bro. I used to work with the ATF like this. Because when I was in Laredo, bro, niggas were taking guns and buying them in Texas and trying to smuggle them down south all the time, bro. So, like, I seized hundreds of guns, man. Maybe even hundreds. Literally hundreds of miles a job, bro. Maybe 1,000.
What does it say that Lil Rod is not in the case if he ends up not being?
You know, they can always bring him in to testify as a witness. There's probably issues with him that they don't want to use. Maybe a criminal history. Maybe
Clay Meek Mill's getting fucked. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
what? It's like one of those when I see them, I'm like, I'm gonna use this because me and me can't get along, but I know there's some bull. But it's all good. Like I'm like,
the prosecutors
this is a good story right here.
Yeah, like the prosecutors don't give a fuck about the story. They're like, yo, how credible is this nigga? You know what I mean? Like, cause see, you got to draw the line where it's like, okay, I want to bring witnesses in that got dirt, but at the same time, I can't bring in a witness that has an axe to grind too much. Cause then it's gonna be like too obvious. Like, why are you here? Oh, I hate this nigga. Okay, bro. Okay, you know. So, and they already got Cassie and Dawn, right? And the fact that they put Dawn on instead of him,
yeah,
bruh. You want to go over the Dawn shit?
Oh yeah. Please.
Yeah, let's go over the Dawn shit. I'll go throw it with your audience and shit like that. Let me see here. What's the engagement like? Yeah, we got what? We got 4.5 on my shit. We got 11 on yours. Yo, y'all niggas need to like the shit, man.
I'll take. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. They do be going crazy when it comes to watching, but
yeah,
should they be in the chat?
Guys, engage with the shit, man.
Okay, here we go. I'll tell you how much.
They said 1,000 Aura boots. Thank you, guys. You guys like my cowboy boots? Awesome. Niggas hating on the Chelseas. I know you got them too.
We got 5,000 on the Academy channel. We got 12,000.
Wait, how many do we got watching
Academics.
total?
All right, so we had 17,000 just on my 2 YouTube channels.
Okay.
Then we have 600 on Kick. By the way, you guys go to Kick if you guys don't want like ads. Like, you know what I mean? It's an ad for experience over there. And then Rumble, I can't see it from this multi-streaming thing. So I probably got like 2K on Rumble. So that would be like 17K. No.
So no, just with you, that's like 19.
Yeah, that's like 1920 just with me.
Okay.
And then whatever you got going on.
Yeah. So, and I'm streaming on Twitter and shit. So we got over 20, bro. We got like 25,000.
Yeah, we're probably closer to 30.
Yeah, we got like 25,000 right now. So 20 to 25,000.
Hey, for everybody who's watching, you got to understand this. This is what you call we're not working like David James, but like this is pretty much like a 15-hour work day, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like you've been up since what time?
I woke up yesterday 8 p.m.
No, this morning.
No, I didn't sleep. I woke up at 8 p.m. And then
you've been up since 8 p.m. yesterday?
Yeah.
Bro, what the fuck is in them Celsius? Like,
I don't know, bro. I woke up and I streamed and then I just didn't go back to sleep. And I did the court thing earlier and then I'm just here now.
You didn't sleep at all?
Nah.
When are you going to sleep?
After I'm done with this.
But you got to get to court in the morning.
I'll live.
One of the hardest. Hey, one thing he says, much as they dislike you, or not everybody, but some people, they act like you're the worst.
Yeah, niggas hate me.
You outwork all of them. And that's one of the reasons you're always going to be here.
I'll tell you this. The reason why I know so much about like being an agent, I can give you like these intimate details is because I did it. Like all the stuff I tell you about when it comes to search warrants, writing wiretaps, pen registers, bro, I can go in the weeds like about how investigations run or whatever. And like, I can see the mistakes. As I'm watching the agents testify, I'm like, you fucked up here. And I told you this example before. So I'll give you all a quick example of what I mean by this. One of the agents, when they searched his hotel, right? They seized a bunch of baby oil, good. They seized ketamine, good. It corroborates what the witnesses told you, fantastic. You found it there, awesome. They find $9,000 cash, right? In a little satchel, Louis Vuitton satchel. What do? They seize it. Stupid.
Why? Can they say that's the money he's using to pay for drugs or pay for prostitutes?
Okay, and here's the thing. That's a good angle. Now the agent, when she's on the stand, they said, well, why'd you take the $9,000? Because the defense is like, why'd you take the $9,000? Why'd you seize it? They didn't take it. They seized it because when they went into the courtroom, she actually pulled the satchel out from the thing and cut the bag open, pulled the satchel out, pulled the money out of it, and then fanned it in front of the audience on some poo shiesty shit to the jury.
Wait, they cut the bag open?
Yeah, because it's evidence bag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like they cut the Louis V bag.
No, my bad.
Yo.
Yeah. So they seized the bag as it was with the money in it, and then they counted it, zipped it back up, put it in there, and then put it in the evidence bag, sealed that shit up. And it's been in the evidence vault since September. Then she brought it out just for the trial, and then she took it out, cut it open, pulled the satchel out, pulled the money out, and fanned it out on some poo shiesty shit. I was just waiting for her to do this. I was like, what the fuck? Now, when she did this, I cringed because I knew as soon as she did that shit, I was like, the defense is gonna come at you. Here we go. So they say, why'd you seize the money? Oh, we believe that it could have potentially been involved in criminal activity or criminal proceeds, blah, blah, blah. She's like, okay, for what? Oh, bulk cash smuggling. I'm like, you fucking dumbass. Now, this agent has been on the job for like 5 years, really 4, right? Because she spent like a year getting ready for the academy shit, probably 3 to 4 years of actual real investigative experience. And she went to her first duty station is New York. Bro, they're not. Why
wouldn't they put like a lead person on the stand?
Because they got a lot of new agents, bro. Ooh. And new agents often go to places like New York, Los Angeles, Miami, and the border. Hard to fill offices that no one wants to go to.
Is that not the person who's the lead agent that cooked up this entire thing?
No, but the lead agent is 5 years in too. I spoke with him. He's only 5 years in. So these niggas are all new, right? So she fans the money out. And I already knew I was like, they're going to cook around in defense. So after that happens, Cross comes. Ask her some questions, whatever. Okay, why'd you seize the money? Oh, illegal proceeds, blah, blah, potentially. That's a good answer. For what? Bulk cash smuggling. Wrong. Why the fuck would you say that? This dude is a billionaire. This money is going to be legit. Y'all shouldn't have taken it in the first place. You guys shouldn't have seized it in the first place. Because like, under what statute are you going to seize it under? Because 9 out of 10 times he's going to be able to prove that money is legitimate. So what she should have done, what I would have done, and I talked about this on my show, whenever you're dealing with someone like this where they're clearly committing crimes that it's not for profit and he's rich and he's wealthy and more than likely that money is it was made legitimately, you're creating headaches for yourself by seizing it. Right? It's easy to seize money from a drug dealer. It's easy to seize money from a scammer or someone that's doing some other illicit crime for profit. That makes sense because you can say this money's being seized until you can prove that it's legit, and they never can. But with someone like him, bro, billionaire, $9,000 cash, that's play money. That's his real money. You know what I mean? So with that, I would have seized the money under a 60, and they went over the evidence forms. It's called a 6051. All right, is a form that the DHS uses, all of it. 6051S. I would have seized it just to secure it. Put it in the bag. Then, once I got him to the marshals, hey, bro, we found this. I'm going to give you a 6051R return. Have him sign it, count it in front of him. Here you go. This is going to go with you to marshals. I'm not taking that fucking money. Because seizing money, so there's 3 high-risk items. I'm really giving you guys some in-depth shit that will get you in fucking trouble in law enforcement. Money, drugs, weapons. In every agency, whether local, federal, state, municipal, whatever, these tend to be higher risk items. Typically, they need to be disposed of or dealt with within 24 hours because they're high risk. And I always look at it like if you can get rid of that liability, do it. For example, I had a friend that worked at the ATF and I had a friend that worked at the DEA, and I would often work what's called OSAF cases. And I can go into that detail if you want later. But the reason why I did this was I knew for me to seize drugs, it was a pain in the ass because I had to bring it to a CBP lab and all this other bullshit. And then I also knew that dealing with guns was a pain in the ass because we had to lock it up in a certain storage room. So guess what? ATF, they're the gun agency. DEA is the drug agency. I had friends over there. Unlike other agents, I always work with other agencies. And I had guys on speed dial. So I'll call my buddy. Hey man, I got a gun here. You want it? It's a part of a case. You can stat it. Yeah, I'll come take it. Comes, takes it. He could come take it by himself. Writes the serial number. Done, right? Versus with me, HSI, they got like a 2-agent policy. He can come with his task force officer, take it, no problem. They deal with guns all day. DEA, hey, got this dope here. It's not that much or whatever. You want it? You can stat it. Yeah, I'll come take it. All right, boom. Give him the drugs. He deals with it. I don't got to worry about it. I don't got to worry about putting it in my vault. And then with money, if it's not illicitly tied to a crime, I'm getting rid of it. And the other thing, I'm really getting in the weeds here, but there's a lot of states have something called, what is it called? Tee-off. There's a program where you can, if you seize money and you're working with the state and locals, you can actually give them the money and they're able to take about 80% of it, right? And it works for their department. And it's like a very good way to like build connections with local law enforcement agencies that don't get the same level of funding or whatever. If obviously you're able to articulate that it comes from proceeds, drug proceeds or scammers, it was very obvious. So I would give it to the state and locals and let them deal with it. And then the agency gets 20%. And then the local agency that I work with, they get 80. And then I don't have to deal with the money. Let them deal with it. That's how I dealt with high risk evidence my entire career. Never got in trouble for that shit. Never had to deal with problems because this is what you open yourself up to. And anyone that works in law enforcement, guys, whether you work for FBI, DEA, any of these agencies, like I implore you, whenever you seize evidence, if you don't need to take it, don't fucking take it, right? Especially with the high risk stuff. So,
okay, let me ask you about just even what they found in that hotel room. Mm-hmm. What type of...
And her testimony was going smooth until that money shit came up. And they're probably going to have to give the money back at the end of the day. What I think, predict.
I think Diddy...
They're not wrong for doing it, but they didn't have to do it. And she just opened herself up for no reason. You know what I'm saying? They had everything else so smooth.
Yeah.
But they're new, so it is what it is.
I think Diddy opened it, what planet could Diddy be on if they raided 2 of your houses looking for things involved in sex trafficking? You go to New York with planning to turn yourself in at some point because you heard the grand jury indictment was near.
Yeah.
And in your hotel room, you still got Astroglide, baby oil.
He had a lot too, bro. They showed pictures.
Yeah, like why would you have the free
it was like 10 plus bottles, bro.
This is where I'm crazy. Like, I think I see why his defense tried to argue this angle to say he was incapacitated, or they're almost kind of saying like he has a problem.
Yeah.
This sounds like a motherfucker that got a problem.
He does.
Like, bro, if they're looking to arrest you for sex crimes and you're going to a closer place to make them feel okay that you're not going to evade arrest, why would you have the evidence that you might be doing more of it?
Yeah. No, I mean, he has a problem.
Isn't that stupid?
The fact that, because he went to New York knowing he was going to get arrested. Like, maybe he thought they want to get a search warrant for his hotel, or he thought, like, he's too smart, but that was retarded.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't...
That's what I would like, yo, I think Diddy has a real fucking problem. This might be from some childhood shit. I kid you not.
Yeah.
Yo, the way how Cassie described how frequent he started requesting the freak-offs.
Yeah. Once a week, dude.
She was saying multiple times in terms of like...
Well, it was once a week, but it would last days.
This is sick, man.
I can get into Dawn shit.
Yeah, please.
My bad. But yeah, no, that was just a thing on evidence, rules of evidence. Someone's probably watching this shit right now like, oh shit, I gotta... All right, so... okay, so let's go to Dawn. Sorry, man, I took like pages.
Jesus Christ, you're writing fucking...
Yeah, I was writing novels, bro. But it's okay. I wrote it in a way where it's going to be able to make a lot of sense. Is your audience familiar with the first story she gave? Skillet and all that?
Yeah. The first story that Cassie not making the eggs right, Diddy came down and slapped the shit out of her with a skillet.
Yeah, or attempted to slap her with the skillet,
yeah,
as we're going to see here in a second. All right, so it starts right with the, and by the way, nigga spent like 30 minutes talking about the skillet thing. The defense and the prosecutor, by the way, before Dawn came in. So anyway, so it begins with the ex-skillet story and Diddy threatening statements. The incident was passion, and if people talk, they could go missing, right? Another important thing when he brought them in. Your audience knows the story, right? Yeah. So and I think Dawn was kind of grilled on that because she never said this whole thing about, oh, Diddy said people could go die or people. You know what? Let me say it again for them because this is very important because I'm going to be coming back to this story. So let me tell them because there's a lot of new people here. All right, guys, it's very simple. 2009, she's at the house in LA hanging out with Diddy and Cassie. It's nighttime. Cassie is like cooling eggs in the kitchen. She hears Diddy come down belligerent loud saying, hey, where the fuck are my eggs? Cassie doesn't have them ready. He grabs the skillet and he attempts to smack her in the head with the skillet, misses, and she goes down in the fetal position. As she's down in the fetal position, he's punching her, he's kicking her, he's talking shit to her or whatever. Then he grabs her by the hair, drags her upstairs, and they watch in horror as they hear sounds of glass breaking and yelling and shouting. That is the story. Then, following day, Diddy tells them to come in, her and, who's it, Harper?
Harvey Peer.
Okay, the other girl that's a part of their Diddy Dirty Money.
Oh, Kalina.
Yeah.
My bad.
This is 2009. So Danny Kane is gone. So she tells them to come in. They recorded the studio, locks the door when they come in. hey, just so you know, what you guys saw was a crime of passion. We love each other. It's all love. I'm going to take you out to the top. We need to keep this behind closed scenes. And, you know, people that talk about stuff like this go missing, right? Very important that he said that. Then he gave them flowers.
This is according to her testimony.
According to her testimony. And then he gave them flowers, which is crazy. Like, yeah, don't worry that I whooped my chick's ass by here's some roses, bitch. Anyway. So anyway, allegedly, this is what Dawn said. Okay, so now that y'all know the story, so it started with this skillet thing and the going missing, okay? She felt shocked and scared when she saw it. It was early in the recording for Diddy Dirty Money. This is in the early stages. She still saw Cassie, but saw her at the studio, hotel, house, etc. Saw her often, saw her other acts of violence frequently. Saw Diddy punch her, choke her, pull her hair, slap her, face, punch her in the stomach. The reason she didn't say anything is, or the reason why he hit her is because Cassie would talk back, having an opinion, and wanting to perform. Talking back is that bad? No, I'm just kidding. So then they went, and then his security guys were Harv, Mia, or people that work for him, Harv, Mia, D-Rock, Capricorn. They're all witnesses, and they were staff and security to some of these incidents. So the first incident was 2009. Security like D-Rock showed images of D-Rock in bonds. They were security and worked for Diddy from 2009 to 2011 when she was at Bad Boy. So those were other witnesses there, I think, at the first event. She saw evidence of violence, the evidence of violence against Cassie. So she saw injuries in her hands, face, knees, arms. She covered up with makeup, clothing, and sunglasses, which does corroborate other things. Her and Kalina getting makeup. Okay, so this is the other story, I guess. So her and the other girl were getting makeup. They heard arguing between Cassie and Diddy. Diddy punches her in the face, okay? And then Cassie came to the bathroom crying. Her eye was swollen, but she put makeup on and sunglasses to cover it. She stayed with Cassie after she was punched, and this was like right before a Central Park like performance or appearance. And then they showed a photo, exhibit, if your audience wants to know, 9P102. It showed a pic of Cassie and her and Harper on that day. All three of them are wearing sunglasses. The prosecutor asked her, this is on direct, by the way, why did you guys all wear sunglasses? And she said they wore in solidarity to support Cassie. Diddy punched Cassie in the stomach at a restaurant. This is another incident of violence in Hollywood. She left the room after. Harv, Pierre, Capricorn, Mia, Pawn, Harper were there. Keep in mind who I just mentioned, guys, because it's going to change in a second. And then they showed a message of Pierre. She had positively identified him. As they're mentioning people throughout the story, they're showing images of them and, you know, the witnesses confirming that's XYZ. Pierre was president of Bad Boy Records at the time. They went back to L.A., a house and a Sprinter after this Hollywood punching situation. D-Rock drove. Cass and Puff were arguing. Cass said that she was embarrassed and she didn't like that. Why do you have to do this in person? Diddy wasn't taking none of that shit. Huh?
In public?
In public, yeah. Cass. So they were arguing. She was embarrassed and she said, why'd you have to do this in public? Diddy smacked the shit out of her in the mouth and told her to shut the fuck up. And everyone on the rest of the ride was quiet. She just stared out the window the rest of the time. Cass wanted to do more modeling and more for her career. This is something that she confided in Dawn in. She heard Cass and Diddy discuss her career. Cass said it would happen on his time, and he told her to wait. And then she overheard a conversation, I think, where he told her he owned her and would slap her. She overheard a conversation, I think she said.
Damn.
Diddy didn't like Cass talking to Dawn, told her to stay out of his relationship. You bitches are here to work. You don't know work. He told them the world pay, the world, they would pay for it if they didn't mind their business. Man,
stay out of my motherfucking business, man.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, like, yo, stay out of my business. You bitches are here to work. And you bitches don't know work is what he told them. And then he said they would pay if they didn't mind their business. And then since he beat Cassie, his lover, because they asked her, yo, why didn't you do nothing? And she said she was scared for her life. Important. Note that too, guys, that she was scared for her life. Because this was the rolling theme, why she didn't do nothing. She was scared for her life because she saw how he was beating the shit out of Cassie. And he was like, yo, if he's treating her lover like this, like I'm cooked. I can't say nothing. So she stopped interfering in Diddy's relationship. She saw Diddy do weed, Molly, ketamine at the studio. Never saw him take opiates though. Then she mentioned this guy, One Stop, who was the drug dealer. He brought the drugs. He was a black dude. He showed the picture of him and she identified him. He brought cocaine, Plan B, weed, Molly, etc. Diddy stored the drugs in his Louis Vuitton pouch. He or his assistants would carry it. Diddy offered drugs to them. Dawn said she only smoked the weed. She didn't use any other drugs. She said D did use drugs while working, but he was a productive druggie. She observed Diddy with a gun on his possession. Saw this from 2009, 2010. She saw D carry the gun in his lower back. His security also did the same. She left Bad Boy in 2009. She kept in contact with Dawn. Diddy kept in contact with Dawn. Diddy would contact her anytime she got some motion. If she didn't answer, his cast or his management would contact her. She was always pleasant when talking to him because she knew how he was. She did not disclose what she saw because she was told not to by Diddy, Harv, and Pierre. She and Cassie filed a civil lawsuit around the same time. Her lawsuit is still pending. And then the defense cross-examined her. So I got to take a drink before this one because this is going to be one of the greatest ass whoopings
and
I ever witnessed in a courtroom.
Who did this cross? This was
the black chick, the short black chick, the one you mentioned.
Oh yeah, this was Westmoreland, Nicole Westmoreland.
Yeah, she was a feisty, short black chick that sounded white. But that's how you know you're cooked.
The black chick sounded white,
bro. Nigga air fried. Like she spoke proper English.
Sounded like Condoleezza Rice.
And here's the thing,
jump, man.
Dawn, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Dawn is stupid because she would be like, "Yeah, so you hired your lawyers to litigate on your behalf, and are you aware that they did this?" She's like, "What? What was that?" And she's like, "You hired your lawyers to do a certain." She didn't know. Basically, she didn't know what the word litigate meant, and a couple other terms. There was like 4 different. I know. Leave us in the back. Like, what the fuck is going on? I know, bro. Straight niggardry. But there was multiple times where Dawn didn't know what she was saying, and she would have to like make it like baby steps. It was painful. So Dawn's not smart.
Did you see her getting bullied when she was walking out the courtroom? There's a video of it.
When she walked out the courtroom?
Yeah.
I know as she walked out.
No, not the courtroom.
Out
she
the
was
courthouse.
walking courthouse, yes.
In or out the courthouse?
Looked like it was out.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, when she left the courtroom, she got the fuck up out of there quick. She like she walked by, she didn't even wait for the people that were with her. Like the people that were with her just like filed right behind her.
Really?
Yeah.
By the way, Pain Zombie Ghost, and thank you for the 20 Canadian, bro. Appreciate you.
Shout out to you, bro.
Okay. All right.
Okay. You want me to do her cross now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here's a cross examine. So she confirms that the lawsuit is pending. And guys, I'm summarizing for you what they said so you can infer what questions were asked, but I'm summarizing for you like what was said based on the questions. So she confirms the lawsuit is pending with a motion to dismiss. Her attorney sent a demand letter prior, filed the suit in September of 2024, roughly. She sat down with federal prosecutors 8 times, asked if her allegations are consistent. She said yes. Asked Dawn about Cassie Skillet's situation, claimed she dropped down in the fetal position. So she repeated kind of the same story. And then this is where the defense attorney started to start cook her. She goes, "Are you aware that the egg incident was in your letter, in her demand letter to Diddy's people?" And she says, no. The demand letter says she heard the pan hit, but didn't see it. She heard it hit the wall. So she didn't see it in the demand letter. Then she goes on and says, on October 31st, 2024, you met with the government and told the government Diddy did hit Cassie with the frying pan versus saying Diddy tried to hit Cassie. So we already got 3 stories already in 10 minutes, not even 5, like this is like the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes of her talking to her. So first she testifies, Diddy tried to hit her with the pan. That's what she testified to. Then her demand letter says she didn't see him hit her with the pan. Rather, she heard the pan like hit the wall, right? Then she told the government on October 31st, which was on Halloween, Diddy did hit Cassie with the frying pan versus Diddy tried to hit her on the frying pan. So now we got 3 stories, right? In 2025, Dawn told the government Diddy threw eggs at Cassie. So she changed it again, that he threw eggs at Cassie and set the pan down, right? So now we got multiple stories. We got one story where it's throw eggs in the pan down, another one hitting with the pan, another one attempting to hit with the pan, and then another one, pan hit the wall and she only heard it. So we got multiple stories. So she calls her out on this, like, which one is it? This is a big difference, right? Then she says, Diddy called her to the studio the next day. Now they get into the whole danger thing, right? I felt you gonna go missing. Diddy called her to the studio the next day, Love and Passion, Don't Say Anything with her and Harper, etc. People go missing. October 31st, first interview with the government, same one. Government did not say to the government that people go missing to the AUSAs. Okay, maybe she forgot it. March 18, 2025, second interview. She did not say anything about the people go missing comment. April 17, 2025, third interview. She did not tell the AUSAs or the government about the people going missing in this interview either. So she met with them 3 different times, didn't say shit about this people go missing, which you would think that's a pertinent fact, right? Because she mentioned that shit day one when she stepped on the stand, by the way. And she only had 30 minutes to testify. That's another important thing. So when she came in and testified, it was right after, I think, Agent Binda. It was like 4:30.
Yeah.
Friday, 4:30. So she comes in within that 20 minutes of testimony or so, she's able to rattle off immediately. Yeah, she hit him with the pan and we were scared because he said that people go missing and gave us flowers. And she said it pretty smooth. I believed it. I was like, damn, this story is pretty solid. But now the defense attorney's coming in saying, like, you met with the government 3 times. You didn't say shit about this. She also met, and then she mentioned the other dates that she met with the government. April 8th, April 9th, May 10th, 2025. So the first time that she mentioned people go missing was May 10th, 2025, right before the trial.
Really? That's like really right before.
Yeah. Another thing that she brings up, the restaurant assault. She said, who else was there at the restaurant with you? Neo, Usher, Jimmy Iovine. She didn't bring that up when she met with the agents. And she didn't bring that up when she met with the government either. She mentioned those people being there. Next one, video on the event from the Central Park punch. She said that there was video on it. They didn't go too much further than that. They didn't show the video in the trial. Government asked about the allegation in the civil complaint. In the civil complaint, she said that she made an allegation that Diddy grabbed Cassie and dragged her on the grass. And then she said, did that actually happen? And she goes, no, that was a misquote from my lawyers. So then she asked Diddy about the guns. She said she saw Diddy with the guns 3 times in New York City. Never saw him do anything with the guns besides have it. Never saw him pull it out, reload, any of that stuff. She just saw him with it. She saw Diddy do drugs. Weed only. She only did weed. She pretended to use other drugs. Diddy did cocaine. Told the government she never saw Diddy do cocaine. Okay, so in her testimony, she says she saw Diddy do cocaine in the trial. But when she met with the government, she told the government she never saw Diddy do cocaine. When was this? October 31st, 2024. The first interview. So now this is...
Her testimony is pretty unreliable. Like, it's all over the place.
Bruh. So as time progressed, so the attorney, this is where the attorney like kind of got her with the fucking fatality. She goes, so as time progresses, your story changes. She said yes. And then she...
Did she say something like, yo, I'm remembering more with time?
That's how the government redirected to try to save it.
Oh.
So she never saw Diddy pay one stop. And then they asked her, so now your story changed. And she said, yeah, but it's but different. So she asked her about now she asked her about the fear with Diddy, right? Because the whole theory was, I'm scared of Diddy, etc. So because of so they said, okay, if you were so scared of Diddy, why did you contact him on multiple situations? You asked him to come back as a solo artist. And she said, and then they also said, you initiated contact with Diddy on multiple occasions and you want to work with him again. And then she also said, so he threatened you, scared you, but then you asked to go back and work with him, right? And then she also said, the defense attorney asked her, Danny Kane and Diddy Dirty Money went platinum. Both of them did. Danny Kane from 2004 to 2009, then Diddy Dirty Money from 2009 to 2011. And she says, since she left them, she hasn't reached the same level of success. And she asked Diddy to sign her as a solo artist in 2011 after leaving. Asked her to work with Diddy as recently, and then they got her with this one. Asked to work with Diddy as recently as 2020. And then felt Diddy had no reason to dismantle, and she was mad. They asked her, were you mad about Diddy dismantling Danny Kane and Diddy Dirty Money? Because she felt like there was no reason for him to dismantle it. And she said that she was saddened by it. And then said Diddy ruined her career twice with dismantling both those organizations.
And that's kind of a reason why she would be making up all the shit.
And then the defense attorney says, you saw Cassie file the suit and you read her complaint and then you filed soon after. She disliked, and then she said, you did it for the money. And she said, no, I didn't do it for the money. And she said, okay, what'd you do it for? She said, I did it for compensation. And then they said, so money. And she was like, yeah. So she air fried her, bro. And then basically the government redirected. They tried to say, okay, well, you wanted to meet with the real reason you called Diddy was because you wanted to meet with Lorianne to be a judge on making a band. She asked her about the different government interviews. Same thing with Cassie. Did you see the reports that were prepared by agents and government officials prior to what the defense attorney showed you? She said no. Let's see here. She said, let's see here. In every meeting with the government, she said that Diddy hit Cassie. And then this is what you said before. As she said she tried to, the reason why she's remembering things is because she tried to push it back in her memory. And then as she met with people and she was talking about it again and again, she started to remember facts.
Wow. Absolutely. I think that was a nightmare.
And then she tried to play off the Diddy thing. Like when Usher and all them were there, she said, well, the government, didn't we ask you which employees were there? Because she omitted Usher and everybody else from being there.
Yeah.
And then the grass incident, when she said that, what was the issue with the complaint saying that Diddy got dragged on the grass when it didn't happen? She said her lawyers misquoted her. And then they also said, did you see the demand letter that your civil lawyer sent? Remember the civil lawyer said the bullshit about the, it said the stuff about the grass and the skillet difference. And she said, no, she didn't see her lawyer's demand letter. But that's kind of crazy because, like, bro, most lawyers, they're not sending a demand without you looking at it, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah, of course. They got to go off your statements and then they want to put it in a way that they feel like they're not giving up too much, but they could elicit the money.
Yeah.
Or a settlement.
And they said that, like, yo, these people working on your behalf. And they sent this letter on your behalf, litigating on your behalf. And like, she couldn't even understand when they were trying to say that. So, yeah, I mean, bro, I'll be honest with you. I've never seen a cross-examination go that bad ever.
Wow. Okay. Let's try to give like scores for overall and also the first week. We're only the first day into the second week.
Yeah.
I wanted to score this like boxing. I said that I think Diddy had a 10-9 week last week. I think the government should have been 10-8. That should have been a knockdown. So in boxing, you get knocked down, you lose an extra point. Usually, if you just lose the round, it's 9-10. I think the government should have knocked down Diddy with Cassie. Instead, I feel like somehow he edged out the round with all the people from, I think I'm going tied with the opening. I think that who was the first witness? The first witness was, am I blanking here? First witness,
that was
Flores. I think they got the best of Flores.
Defense?
Yes.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, Brian still embarrassed him.
I think,
bro, he wrote that report. That report. Oh man, they cooked him with that report. Granted, to his defense, he's a regular security guard. He doesn't know that this is just going to be used in a trial of the century against him later on.
Well, he's a cop now.
Yeah, he's a cop now. Yeah. But when he wrote it, he wasn't a cop.
You're right. So I'm giving that to.
How long had he been on the force? I didn't get that part.
I think it was about 3 or 4 years.
Okay, so he was like new.
Yeah.
LAPD, right?
Yeah. And so the sex worker, I think prosecutors handle that well. I think Cassie, I got to give it to the defense. I think the defense elicited, there's no way to defend the assault and the abuse, but I think they elicited the right things out of her where she admitted that she was seeking love. She was down to do things or open or even suggested things that she felt could keep him.
Yep.
And that many of the things that beyond an abusive, toxic relationship, it was her idea to do some of these things. And I don't know if that constitutes necessarily sex trafficking. And that's why I think neutralizing some of that position, that's where I gave her the big W, or gave the defense the big W for. I think winning that exchange, or maybe not even winning it, but not having to be
here's
effective.
The thing. You also got to remember, like, 1 point for the defense is really like 3 points, because keep in mind, the burden of performance is on the government. Like the defense, and I say this all the time, like the defense's job, chat, isn't to show that Diddy is innocent. The defense's job is to make you question that he could be innocent.
Yeah.
That's all they got to do, right? Like, damn, maybe you could be innocent, and make the jurors do what? Doubt the evidence. You know what I mean? That's why it's got to be beyond a reasonable doubt. So I think the defense did a good job of at least establishing that, like, okay, this nigga, there was like at least a 40-60 situation here. You could go ahead and give Diddy the edge and say 60-40, but at the end of the day, he wasn't like doing these freak offs and Cassie not participating like openly. Like, she's an adult, she's a consenting adult. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is this really sex trafficking and coercion and violence and everything else like that when she could have left on multiple occasions? I don't know, you know? And then the rape situation made it worse because now her rape story is incredible because, like, you were cheating on your man with him. And I think that's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way.
Rape isn't a standalone predicate offense, even though I think maybe some people might say it's implied with the predicate offense of sex trafficking.
Yeah. And that's kind of, I think they brought it in because of relevance, because of that.
Yeah.
For relevance. But the defense, I noticed, didn't challenge it because they had that in their back pocket. The date discrepancies and the fact that she used it to cheat. So they're like, you know what? We could object this, but you know what? She actually stepped on a mine because this is going to make her look like a whore for the jury. And here's the other thing that's important. One of the things that the government fought so hard for, and bro, they argued about this for like an hour. Okay, the day before, who was supposed to take before cross-examination? The day before cross-examination, they argued about this shit for like an hour. They didn't want the defense to bring up other sexual partners and other sex acts done with sex partners. They were so strong against that, arguing 412, all the privileges of sex, victims, sex crime victims, etc. So I think the defense was kind of playing chess by allowing that to come in, this alleged rape, right? And like not objecting to it so they can hit her with the fucking Uno reverse.
I remember quite the opposite, actually.
What do you remember?
So there is a part in there where they're about to get to it, but the AUSA was going to bring it up. And
get to what?
The rape. Okay. The AUSA was going to bring it up, and there was an objection. There was actually a sidebar where supposedly they said, hey, listen, this shouldn't be admitted. And what I believe the judge said, or maybe I'm misquoting, the judge said, you guys introduced it in opening. You guys mentioned that you're going to hear about an alleged rape.
The government did, yeah. Yep.
And no, the defense did. So
no, the government did too.
Okay. But they scolded, well, not scolded, but they told the defense because
basically it got brought up in opening statements. It did,
and that's why they're like, hey, listen.
Let me look.
So Agnophilia had said it's not one of the predicate offenses. Why is this relevant?
That came out this morning.
Okay.
That's what they talked about this morning.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that when they did this shit with the rape, this was days ago.
Oh, okay.
This was, I think, on like her last day of testimony.
Yeah.
But like what I'm saying is, but yes, you're right. They talked about that this morning. That's literally what they spent the first 30 minutes or so talking about.
And they're really going
and the skillet. They talked about that and the skillet.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the rape with Diddy, the defense, I think, was waiting the whole time to use that to Uno reverse and damage her credibility as a 304. And they were able to do it circumventing the whole 412 and 413 shit that the government was using all this time to cock block them.
Yes, it worked in their favor.
It worked in their favor, bro.
What's your scoring of the entire thing? What's your feeling? Just as the
I wasn't
viewer.
in the jury. I wasn't in the main courtroom the day that got broken. But multiple people, even people that were pro Cassie and pro prosecution, they're like, damn, the jury was not happy when they found out that she had sex with Diddy after making an allegation a month before.
Yeah,
the jury was not happy with that.
What do you score? Where we're at currently, I think Diddy is making a decent argument for this is not a beyond a reasonable doubt, open and shut conviction that this guy's a sex trafficker. You could call him a lot of things. He's a domestic abuser. He's a drug addict. He has a temper. He's a freaky motherfucker. He might be homosexual.
He's a woman beater.
But what doesn't seem very easy, and again, I'm with you on that.
I want to say this too. Cassie hit him too, though.
Okay.
Like What? So they use this. The prosecution used this this story from 2009 where Cassie got stomped, right? And they kind of play. They said, yeah, like Cassie, you hit him, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, now tell me what happened. What they didn't tell you is that Cassie was talking to some nigga. Diddy called her a slut. They got to the car and she fucking socked him in the face. She punched him full fist. And that's where he got mad. Now, of course, like hitting a woman is never acceptable. But I do think it's important to understand that there was context in play. She was drunk. She was talking with this nigga. Diddy called her a slut. And then she fucking socked him once they got out to the car in front of everybody. And that's why he got so mad and he stomped on her. Still not acceptable. But what I'm trying to say is that the violence was definitely on both sides. Maybe a bit more pronounced on Diddy's side for sure. But you can make the argument like, yo, this is domestic violence. And that's what the defense is trying to do. So my take on this is what I think. I think right now we're like 50-50. Normally, which I'm shocked. Normally, we would be looking at it like, oh man, this defendant is getting cooked. What the hell's going on here? But I do think that his defense is doing a really good job. And I think the AUSA's office is doing a really good job too. I think we, obviously, I'm not going to say he's innocent yet or whatever, because there's still way more, bro, they still got like probably 10 more witnesses. So we got to see what happens. But I will say that his defense is doing a good job. And right now, at this moment, as a closing we have half of, what's this guy's name? Daniel? The personal assistant's testimony.
James, what's the name? It's not Daniel. Kevin James? No, it's something James.
David James.
David James, yes.
Yeah. Like, as of now, where we have half of his testimony, which apparently someone said that he gets great by Diddy too. I don't know. Someone was telling me that he got dogged out by Diddy. I will say he got emotional when someone talked about Diddy's picture. I don't know. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
He cried?
But he got emotional when... So Mia, or whoever, not Mia, whoever the chief of staff, which was
KK?
Dia.
Oh, no.
Dia, chief of staff, when she was interviewing him, she said, see that picture over there? And there's a picture of Diddy when he was doing his interview. That's who we command and serve. And he got like emotional talking about that her pointing at the picture and saying that. And I was like, that's weird. Because he was very stoic. The whole testimony, he was stoic, very matter of fact, very succinct, very clear spoken, very well spoken, very articulate. So I was like, this is weird when he showed that moment of emotion. Then someone told me, yeah, this is the guy that gets great by Diddy. I was like, what? So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But as of this moment, right now, from the evidence I have, looking at the testimonies, being there in the courtroom, looking at the witnesses testify, etc., hear what I heard about the jury, etc., it's 50-50 right now.
Fair enough. All right, man. Listen, unless you have some more to add, listen, I think we went through a really comprehensive breakdown. I know you have more details. But man, after a fucking 10-hour day,
no. We
I'm
bro,
on my 15th
we gave the
hour.
best, bro. We gave the best breakdown by far.
15th hour, and I'm like, I don't know how you're waking up to walk to court.
I don't know either.
Me, I'm about to dive in bed, get a couple of hours of sleep, and I can't wait to get up tomorrow to kind of like see what's gonna happen. If that story gets brought up, now I gotta imagine if that's supposedly the case, I'm Diddy's lawyer. I'm trying to make sure that don't get brought up.
Yeah,
but I'm waiting on Jane Doe. I think Jane Doe is going to be the real, the low key bomb.
That's why I'm like, okay, I'm reserving my judgment because that is the other person that the government is heavily relying on. That might be the last witness.
That's going to be a thing. That's going to be a thing, man.
Bro, what if Jane Doe? Oh no, I was going to say, what if Jane Doe is a KK? But no, that's not going to be it.
Yo, we got to see where KK is, and here's the thing, man.
She's got to be testifying, bro. She's got to be. She didn't get indicted.
Again, I think, and this is just me. I'm assuming right now because we're super early in. I think Diddy says, "I got the Avengers," as in terms of my lawyers. If I get not guilty on all counts, by the way, this is a new dream team. Clearly, if he gets not guilty on all counts, obviously OJ was facing murder. We get it, but this is a dream team lawyer squad. But secondly, I think, and I don't know if they have probably talked to him to like measure his expectations. I think a mixed verdict, if he gets found guilty on the prostitution charges, I think he's still hugging and kissing and walking out that courtroom because that's something that, he's going to be already.
Honestly, if he gets 10 years, not the end of the world.
That's the point. I
think that's a W. Reputational damage and shit like that, but He'll live. He could walk away from the music business. He don't got to do shit again.
I think they'll fight on appeal.
He's 55. You know?
I don't even think he does obviously the mandatory 85%. I think they work this in appellate court. I don't know how quickly that works there, but that could probably get a couple of years off. But again, I think that's still a win. Anything that doesn't give him I think anything over 20 is like a mandatory life. It's pretty much
yeah. I think 10 and below is I don't even want to say manageable, but he'll get out and live.
Yeah. And I've seen other cases where the trafficking and prostitution across state lines, they've given for non-offenders, but usually with people who don't have multiple charges. Granted, this would be a verdict, not a plea. I've seen lower than 10. So let's just say.
Well, I'll tell you this: he's going to trial, so they're going to cook him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You go to trial, bro. Niggas are like, we had to prepare. Fuck you.
True.
When you go to trial. Now, I want to say this too. Another thing that's on the table. Prosecution could still make a plea deal in the middle of the trial.
At this point, if you're Diddy, would you take it?
It would have to be. If they gave him 5 or lower, take that shit, bro. Yeah, it sucks.
That's so embarrassing. I think SDNY looks too embarrassed for that. You look crazy.
It's a conviction.
It's a conviction, but publicly, this seems like a farce, and it was a overcharge from the get-go. You guys knew he was just a freaky-ass motherfucker who beating his bitch, backhand her every time she fuck Kid Cudi or somebody. And, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie. A lot of this shit it's like, you could tell, they're both the same people. He cheated on her, she cheated on him.
But the thing is, maybe you don't get him on a sex traffic, but you get him as a sexual pervert, woman beater, abuser. That's still W. He's violent. Like, they're gonna say, bro.
If they get him on some type of sex charge, yes,
it don't matter. Yeah.
I just think that prostitution charge is a little bit lighter.
If I was Diddy and they offered me the 5, I'll take it. The 5 or below.
You take that in a heartbeat, right?
Yeah, I think I would take that.
Shit, you get out in 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? You get out in 3 years, man, you're now going to be at MDC. You're going to be at some.
He's already done damn near a year.
Yeah.
He'll get a medium. He'll get a medium probably the first year, and then he'll slowly work his way to a low.
Yeah, get to a low, and then the fucking halfway hours, pretty much 3 years in or 2.5 years in, you're out of there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You set up the biggest freak off when you come back, and then you do it over again. This guy won't learn. Come on, he won't learn, man. He just probably knows, all right, man, I'm going to do this shit over at Bali with motherfucking, I'm going to do it Russell Simmons. I'm going to Bali.
They want him in the U.S., don't they?
No, but there were rumors that he heard about an investigation and then got out of wind, and basically there was just no. It's not like Diddy, who was really just in the limelight all over the place, and they're like, all right, let's build something.
Russell Wilson hasn't. I haven't heard about him since 08, bro.
Yeah, he's right
Fat
now.
Farm died.
He's chilling, and I mean they got a couple cases on him too, or not cases, but he started dating his ex-wife allegedly at 16 when he was in his 30s.
Kimora Lee?
Yeah, she was a model.
She filed a lawsuit?
Nah, she ain't filed a lawsuit. He gave her some kids. I also said this: if Diddy had given Cassie kids, same with Shannon Sharp, some of these bitches just want some kids, man. You're giving her some kids, she's not suing you, gang. But she felt you wasted her years. She hit 30. She's tight like a motherfucker. She's now seen it with young Miami thought ass. She's seen you over there with Gino, who's 22. And once a woman is thinking, I'm 30, I gave you my whole 20s, and you're fucking with this new bitch doing the same shit, I'm good.
What fucked him up, bro? Yeah, I agree with you. She was a side chick that never got the side chick. And here's the other thing, too. This nigga lied to her and sold her a dream. He put her on a red carpet like a main chick, but he treated her like a fucking whore. So she felt like, what the fuck? I'm in the limelight with you. Why are you not giving me this same thing behind closed doors? So that probably burned her all the time.
That is such a conundrum. You treat me like the main, but also, you see the other girl? So I was watching her interview.
That's a big insult. That's probably why she got, and she tolerated it for years. Now, again, I'm not saying what she did was right, whatever. I'm not saying what Diddy did is right, but he fucked up. He didn't manage her properly.
Yo, I was thinking about the other girl, right? And it was so interesting, all these girls.
And he stiffed her on the career, because now she's looking back like, I don't got nothing to show.
He had to stifle that because she was going to get big-headed. And you know, I realized, this is what I realized. He's kind of like a interesting person. He wouldn't mind if she fucked the porn stars, but he would be so upset if she talked
confirmed.
to
Carrie
Michael.
confirmed this. She was talking to Michael B. Jordan while in South Africa. Confirmed.
Oh, but here's the thing. That's what I'm saying. He would be so upset about that. He would beat her ass. Oh, you about to go to Drake shit without me? Beat her ass. Yo, you letting Kid Cudi, the nigga wearing a crop top, fuck you? Beat her ass. Yo, you fuck 45 prostitutes? Don't care.
Now, from what I understand, the beatdown before the Drake concert wasn't because she was going to go see Drake. It's because she was supposed to be packed and ready and she wasn't. And she got drunk and like does whatever. She didn't, and she was asleep. So he's like, you useless ass bitch.
Yeah, but like, it was definitely high tension because rumors came out that Drake was trying to sign her. And that became tension between Drake and Diddy because, again, I personally think that part of Diddy's control mechanism over her was to control every aspect of her, not only life, but career. And if this chick think, the worst thing you could, like, it's like a girl come to me and be like, yo, I want to be a music star. And they're like, you're going to make me a star. The moment I bring her around motherfucking, I don't know, Kai Cenat, and she's like, oh, Kai Cenat's going to sign me. You know, she going to say, peace out, nigga. Yeah. I'm with Kai now.
Well, here's the other thing, too, that I want to also, like, bring to the light. I find it incredible that, like, behind closed doors, he's totally okay with being a cuck and letting her get fucked by dudes, right? But in the limelight, he has a big issue with her even talking to other dudes or being associated with them. But Kid Cudi, Michael B. Jordan.
It's ego. It's a
celebrity thing.
Yeah. For him, it's like, yo, I am the alpha male in this industry.
Yes.
And it's one of those things where it's like
he looked at it as disrespectful. Like the big thing with the direct when they were talking about the Kid Cudi thing, the thing that irked him the most is that he introduced her to Kid Cudi and of who he was, and you're doing this to me. Like,
I ain't gonna lie. You go fuck a bum. You go fuck a bum that I know I'm shitting on in all type of ways.
Here's the thing. Back in 2011, though, like Kid Cudi was tough, though.
Man, Kid Cudi
not me. I don't give a fuck.
No, respectfully, Diddy is Diddy.
Yeah, of course.
Like, come on, Diddy.
But he was relevant. Like, he was more relevant. You know, what was that shit?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Memories? Remember that? Every white boy was playing that shit back then, bro.
Pursuit of Happiness. I know. Listen, I love Kid Cudi, but if I'm Diddy, my chick can't fuck no rapper, man. You gotta go fuck Ronaldo. Like, you fuck Ronaldo, I'm like, I see what you did. I see what you did right there.
And then you're single.
Yeah, you're still single. But like, I definitely believe he looked at her and he probably, I do have a wild theory too. I think something happened. Diddy was always a cheater. Yes. And we all know when a dude habitually cheats, I want to know
what he did to J-Lo.
Well, I think she did before. I think the first
you don't even think she did the freak offs?
Well, I have a theory about everything. I think Lori Harvey saw the type of time he was on. If you look at Cassie and Gina Hill, both of them that stayed around for a long time and got very docile. Very docile. I think Lori Harvey seen what he was on and said, fuck you, and fucked his son and dipped.
Future was a Lori Harvey, right, to it?
Yeah. I think she's a man-eater herself. I don't think...
Did she fuck Diddy or no? Lori Harvey?
Yeah, Gina said, yeah. I looked in his phone. I was trying to make a picture of me.
Oh, because she did an interview with somebody, didn't she?
Yes, Tasha K said, I was trying to make a picture of me and him, his phone saver. I save it to the thing. I go to his photo camera roll. When I look, he in bed with Lori Harvey. I could only see from the top up. What they do in the bed? They ain't shooting no fucking music video.
Yeah.
Come on, man. So I think what happened, because rumors were that his son was talking.
Is Gina chick Asian?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Something like that, but shit, she was giving it up. She said a couple of...
Bro, these chopstick hoes, man.
She was definitely doing the freak offs.
That's why Cassie was pissed.
Yeah, bro, you gotta imagine.
I think Cassie got some Filipino in her.
Yo, let me tell you this. The shit that everybody knows, you get a chick at 22, the shit she down to do, man, she sucking dick for hours. When she gets to 29, she suck dick for 20 minutes and it's time to go.
Yeah.
So when Diddy,
especially as like a no name, she ain't an artist, so she got.
So when Diddy saw Cassie, like,
did he do freak offs with her too? He had to have. Gina, he had to have.
Nigga, he was doing freak offs with everybody. Yo, have you ever seen a man go from a girl that used to suck good dick and then go wife of another girl who don't suck dick? No, dudes don't go decline. Dudes just go worse. Bro, the dude was called this hotel with Astroglide. Yo, you think that he was like, I gotta stop the freak offs?
You think he did it with
who?
His soulmate?
I out of respect for the kids, I don't want to speak about that. But I don't think the wheel was invented with Cassie. And we can move on from there. Fair. The wheel wasn't invented with Cassie.
Fair. I had to ask.
And I wouldn't be surprised.
Because I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't starting to push those boundaries and women started to leave. I think any woman who stayed had to be somewhat complicit. And maybe...
You know what? I don't think he did. Because he has kids with her.
Hold on. Maybe at best, she was like, yo... When you want to do that shit, go over there with them chicks.
Yeah.
But I agree with that.
Because I think she knew what he was on, and she said, you know what? Go, whatever.
Because how he described her was that's my queen in LA with my kids.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Yo, she had to have known it. She said, you know what, go do it. The saddest part about Cassie,
she never realized, bro, a man who want to have kids with you, look at you like a queen, he's not letting 55 prostitutes.
Facts, bro. He's not letting it happen. And she should have known that, but she was young and dumb.
Yeah, well, she thought that eventually,
and
if
also,
she got all his kinks out the way, he was going to be like, you're what I want.
And the music shit, too.
Oh, yeah.
The music shit was a huge thing. And early in the relationship, she admits this, like she was like, just wanted his attention. Like, she couldn't get him in 2009. Like, he was so busy. Yeah, but that's the other thing I was going to say.
She should have knew she was a side chick. If you can't, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
well, here's the other thing I was going to say.
Yo, he's writing on captions. He said, "This is my soulmate, Kim." Yo, if that was, it took her 10 years. Like, yo, it took you 10 years to realize he gave this chick mad kids,
bro. But the girls didn't have game like that, bro. Bitches were using, yo, they pull BlackBerry messages, bro. But here's the other thing too. I want to say, BBM. That's crazy.
Yo, she was gassed because she looked good. So what happened is he started bringing around a trophy wife, and a lot of times the trophy wives start thinking, "I'm the chick."
One thing you can't refuse is Cassie's extremely attractive.
No, she's extremely attractive.
Even now I'm shocked, even while she still has a pretty face, even though she cooked.
But here's the thing. Sometimes you meet a chick, she a hoe. She might be pretty. Yo, a man chooses with his sperm. Facts. Yo, listen. We want to fuck we know a couple pretty bad whores that will fuck all day, all night, but you won't put a kid in. Whoever you give your kid to.
Or if you do, you'll regret it.
Yeah.
You kind of do.
Yeah.
Like,
if you're proud about it,
the sperm chooses for you. But if you're proud, you gotta be proud.
You gotta be proud. You gotta be proud. You gotta be proud. You gotta be proud.
The sperm and the proud.
Yo, he was super proud. And you know what the fucked up thing is, and this is why I think he loved replacing her with 22-year-olds. It's the Shannon Sharp syndrome. A lot of these women, once they get they like these men that represent a different lifestyle. Remember, she was dating.
None of those girls were black either.
She was dating.
He was on that pro black shit with her, and then just dogging out these other girls.
Yo, she was dating Ryan Leslie.
Yep.
They went to. He made up a lie to isolate her. Mm-hmm. Remember, Ryan Leslie introduced her to Diddy, and Diddy stole his girl. You know how he stole her?
Yeah.
He made up a lie. He said, "I have an event that me and you have to go to Miami.
Make
you
a
can't
bullshit
go."
billboard. Yeah.
Piped her down. Took her from him. You get what I'm saying? And
and they were together for 3 years, bro.
Yeah.
She said that on the stand.
When Cassie came back, Cassie told Kerry Morgan, she said the lifestyle, like she was bragging about the lifestyle she was experiencing.
She said the lifestyle was crazy, even to the assistant.
Yeah.
Like, this lifestyle is crazy.
Yeah, she was bragging about the lifestyle.
Oh, that's what it was. She told the personal assistant, he said, let me fucking read this shit so it sounds better. And then the other thing I would say before I read this shit to show the Cassie thing, before I forget, I find it crazy how behind closed doors, he would, cuck his girl out to these dudes or whatever. But out in the limelight, if she even talked to another nigga, he'd lose his mind and like beat her and all this other shit. And it goes to show how in control of his personal image he was. Spending millions of dollars on OD, making sure that this shit never got out. Bro, the reason why this trial is so shocking is because no one saw this coming. He did a great job of covering this up for 30 years.
Now, I would have to know his past with Kim Porter.
That's why it's so shocking.
Because right when Kim Porter's ending, that's when he gets with Cassie. I have a theory. Let me tell you this.
Yep.
It's a lot of times when you get with a beautiful girl, she does something and she eliminates whatever in your eyes that she's wifey. And you get to the point of you could only smut her out. Because it just doesn't. It's either that or it's his homo. She was the beard, like the mask of his homoerotic desire.
That's the 80s term. I like that. I ever heard that? Admit it.
What he was doing. It was like in a lot of these sexual things, it was almost like he was punishing her. Like, I don't know. Maybe when he first met her, he was just like, "Yo, yeah, whatever." And who knows?
He asked it within the first year, bro.
She was cheating too. And I think she
in the first 3 years, I don't think so.
I don't know, bro. She cheated on Kid Cudi with Diddy.
Yeah, that's 2011.
She cheated on Diddy with the trainer.
That's 2011. I think up until 2009, because she used to write this nigga long ass, stupid ass poems, BBM. And hey, man, texting on a BlackBerry is not fun. So I think up until at least 2009, I think she had a 2 year run where she wasn't a whore. That's what I think.
Something must have happened because Diddy felt comfortable enough. And for any nigga who watching this, you know the time, if you never did a threesome with your girl.
Gina came in the picture.
No, Gina didn't come yet. Gina came in around
2010, 2011? I think Gina came in the picture of that.
No, but the freak off started in 2009. No. So I'm back in 2009. So here's my theory. If anybody ever suggested a threesome to their chick,
Stupid.
It's usually at the point where you have some leverage. I think something happened, and he brought up this different type of lifestyle because she said he was vulnerable with me and I wanted to do it. I don't think they were in a healthy relationship, and he just popped the question. I don't think we're in a healthy relationship. She's not cheating. He's not doing nothing. And he just says, hey, baby, just to let you know, I know we've been good for the last 2 years, but I need to do freak offs where another man fucks you. I think something happens because it almost feels like she was doing it out of guilt. She was doing it out of guilt and doing it to keep him. If it's a healthy relationship, I think she'll be like, nigga, what are you talking about right now? Like, we've been doing this for like 2 years, doing regular shit. What are you talking
Also,
about?
keep in mind that she wanted him so bad in 2009 that she was willing to do anything. She was begging for his attention with the BBM too, if you remember. She was writing cringe ass poems. I was taking my notes like, what the fuck is this? But let me say this. So he met Cass, the personal assistant guy, James. Met Cass at the house in Miami. When she came down for the weekend to be with Diddy. Diddy rented the yacht. Diddy was trying to impress Cass. This was 2007. Had 2 convos with Cass. First one, Starland, 2007. Her friend Carrie and them smoking cigarettes. And then Cassie says, man, this lifestyle is crazy. And then he says, if it's crazy, why don't you leave? And she says, no, Diddy pays for all my stuff, gives me an allowance and my career. Then at the second conversation, Sundance Music Festival, he looked at her. She was so excited about her track list and happy about it. And this was like 08 or some shit like that. But the album never came out. So that was really important that she said, I'm not going anywhere because he gives me an allowance. He pays for all my stuff. She was living life on easy mode. And she was probably still getting bad boy money from fucking. Does she get money from me and you?
Nah, he owed the publisher. Hey, the point what I was trying
not
to make
even a
is
percentage?
Nah, she would get an advance, but that's it. Nah, Diddy owned everything. The point I was definitely trying to make though is that because we're in this trial,
should make the song "Me and Me."
She should have.
No, he should make it "Me and Me."
Oh,
because he gets all the money.
You get a lot more than that, huh? I mean, a bunch of semen from the men. Yo, I'll definitely say this, and this is why I've been trying to use this like almost thinking outside the box. And people might say I'm reaching. This is a trial where Diddy's on. We're never going to hear Diddy's side of why did you beat her ass. That's not you don't even you don't try to explain it.
Yeah.
Why did you bring up the freak offs? You could never know. He could have found out. Yo, I heard she was in a train with like 3 other rappers. I was in love with her, and at that point, that was the only way to make me feel whole as a man, and she was down to do it.
Niggas will feel that if you say.
No. I'm not saying that
not I would feel it, but I'm saying other guys might.
No, that could never be part of his defense. But I do think there's a rhyme and a reason why these things are happening. That, I mean, in the overall scheme of things, we don't care. Like, if you're letting your girl get fucked, you're just a weirdo. We get it. But I do think if Diddy, which we'll never know, we'll hear rumors if he ever beats this, but we'll hear rumors of, hey, nah, like, yo, matter of fact, he didn't want to bring her in the freak off. She wanted to stay. He was hurt over A, B, and C, and then she was willing to do anything. He got drunk off that power of her being down to do anything, and it turned into A, B, and C.
You know, I would love for Diddy to take the stand, but he never will. You know what he'll do? I'll tell you this. If he ever beats this shit and he does an interview.
Nah, he ain't talking about.
Huh?
It'll never look good. It's like Chris Brown. Chris Brown did a documentary. He tried to explain that, yeah, Rihanna was beating me. They're like, nigga, but what about the pictures? Like, it's just, again, it's one of those things he'll tell his homies. Like, he'll tell his homies it'll be an industry thing. Yeah. And maybe people, you know, once I hear it, I'm telling everybody. But he could never say that because once you see that video, nobody wants to hear nothing else. It's over. Like, we want to hear you say, sorry, you're getting help, and you're wrong. That's it. Anything else is not taking accountability, is gaslighting or whatever else. Yeah, especially in this woman-first society. I'll tell you this. Is the industry waking up that Tory's innocent finally, or no? Bro, I've been saying forever that fucking chick shot her friend, bro. I don't know if the industry believes, the majority of the industry believes he's innocent. I think they believe he got railroaded, which it might be two different things. They believe that this was an aggressive prosecution, that we still didn't get the full truth, and him being found guilty. And again, I think it's more of a court thing where it's like, Yo, there was an agenda.
Dare I say it? He should have taken a stand, man.
Well, let's talk about Diddy though.
Yeah.
If this week was brutal, and
No, Diddy can't take the stand. It would be great to hear a story, but he can't, bro.
If it was an 80-20 and Cassie absolutely fucking annihilated with these very harrowing stories that painted it in where she's like this real deal slave that no one else can give the context.
Taking a stand at that point is a bigger L.
But you have to explain it. You have to explain it. I think right now they're getting the explanations without him having to do it. If Cassie painted a crystal clear picture that the defense couldn't twist at all, they might be like, yo, hey, listen. And I think they carved out a way for him to take the stand with them saying that, hey, he could use the defense that he was incapacitated. All these years I was drunk.
I wonder if they have any witnesses.
Who?
The defense.
That's gonna be interesting.
They might develop some later.
Well, I would imagine they would have some. They were arguing over a clinical psychologist, which would be supporting the theory, and the government was saying they had one. They were trying to rule out the government's one because the government's one was like it was the same one that was used in Amber Heard's case, and they were like, yo. Get this bitch out of here. Get her out of here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. They're like, so they're like,
oh, because the psychologist that made Amber Heard look like shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, nah. Yeah.
So, this is gonna be interesting.
Nah, it will be.
If this is a coin toss going forward, I'll be surprised. But I think Diddy lives to fight another day, and I am gonna say if Diddy does beat this, it's two things that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
there's a domino effect that's about to happen.
Oh, and he's suing everybody.
Well, forget that. I think the larger picture, which I think that's absolutely true as well.
He's going to sue everybody into oblivion. He has the money to make them poor from the lawsuits.
If we think about everything that's going to happen in the next few years, this is a last stands for like Me Too and these people that say believe all women.
Good point, yeah.
If Tory gets out, Halle Bailey, people are already like, again, people are looking at her as, bro, you're a fraud. If
I'm not even
Diddy beats this, I'm going to be honest with you.
Bro. Look, me and DDG don't even get along. We've had problems, but I'll be fucking damned if I'm gonna just like sit here and be like, I don't like this nigga, so I'm gonna side with the bitch. Hell no, bro. She lied. He didn't, bro. This nigga didn't beat his chick. Here's the thing: women are devious like that. She's mad that he has girls. She's mad that he streams with girls. She's mad that his son is on camera.
Of course, a lot of women.
She's mad about all this shit.
A lot of women, when they have a child, think that you're the babysitter and it belongs to them.
Yep, exactly.
Right? You know, like they don't want to.
You're the sperm donor and you get no decisions. And here's the other thing too.
Yo, like, she wrote in court documents, he wants to take my child and not tell me when I'm getting him back.
And look,
basically saying the child belongs with me. You get him sometimes. You could get him for a weekend, but make sure you bring back him on your 8th.
And let me tell you this too. Let me put my clan on hood for a second. Bro, black women, they think, this is why niggas don't want to be with the kids. They think, it's my kid. I'm going to do what I want to do. And there's no respect for male authority, like in the black community, bro. And this is a perfect example of that. He's clearly a good father, clearly takes care of his kid. Hey, he loves his kid. He wants to be there. He's fighting to get his kid. This chick is over here. Nah, I don't want you to see your kid. And then the part that pissed me off the most. Leverage. Here's the other part that pissed me off the most. Again, me and DDG are enemies. But what she did is vile. She got a restraining order against him. That impedes his ability to get a gun and protect himself. This guy's a fucking celebrity rapper that walks around with jewelry. Now you're impeding this man's ability to defend himself in LA where the people are getting robbed all the fucking time. He can't even get a gun now? So what the fuck? So when he is with his son, he can't protect himself or his son. He's got to get security who is going to have the same stake. That's what pissed me off because I know as someone that has a restraining order on you, you can't get a gun, bro.
That's true.
That's when I was like, fuck this bitch. Like, this is ridiculous. I got to say something.
And by the way, and what's going to happen next, and some people have called me the Oracle, and I hate that I was right in this situation, but
niggas are going to call me a racist in the chat.
Yo, we know what's happening next. If this ain't successful, let me tell you this. She only filed this shit because women love winning the public narrative. They love the ain't shit dad, the single mom who's doing whatever she got to do. When people start saying he's not that bad of a guy, you look like you're trying to leverage the kid because he's not complying and you see him with other women. So she put look, think about this.
She wants him to be a degenerate, not want to be father so
She
bad.
had pictures from January. She only chose to use them now. Why? She mentioned in the affidavit and the application for the domestic violence restraining order. She said, and it's a temporary restraining order. Now they're going to have to go to court for the permanent one. But still, she says, I filed this after he went on stream. Like when you're seeing shit like that in the restraining order,
bro.
and he weaponized his audience. She has exhibits of like 30 tweets.
Oh, niggas just cooking her?
Yes, and she said he sent them, and you know what she says? He's playing victim. When they play victim, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when we do it. So here's the next step, and I hope I'm not right about this one. If this don't work,
she can't make the argument. She's a celebrity, bro. Niggas gonna fry her anyway.
Well, you got to realize here's
what
the
is
thing.
she, the nigga maid? Bro, we don't want a black mermaid. Niggas been cooking her for years.
Yo, here's the problem. Though.
Since Ice Age.
Yo, here's the problem. DDG is like most men in America. My man Leaf know about this. A lot of men in America are good fathers. They love their kid, but they don't want to go to court.
Yeah.
DDG,
or they don't got the money to fight it to go to court. That's another one.
I said to DDG months ago, I said, DDG,
you did.
Don't come online and talk about it. Go to court.
Yeah.
She beat him to the punch. She got a domestic violence. She basically got temporary custody just off beating him to court.
Yeah.
Because he thought she would have been like, no, let's be amicable, blah, blah, blah. She couldn't win the public narrative, and she said, let me put the courts on you. And here's the thing. If she can't, the next thing she's going to use it for an arrest. And also, here's the thing, too. I think the DA might look into this because she said proudly in the thing, she says, I have the ring footage of him doing A, B, and C. She's trying to get the DA to look into it. The next thing, if that don't work, if all else fails, she's going to claim that he's abusive to the kid. I guarantee it. And I hope that don't happen.
No. Again, like I said.
When a woman looks at a kid as, that's my property, and you're the babysitter, trust. They got
all I got to say, Hallie, you know it's fucking bad when the op is defending him. You're a fucking piece of shit for that. The dude wants to see his kid. I hope he gets his kid back. Regardless of our differences, I hope the man gets his kid back because I can see that he's a good father. So yeah, bro, fucking ridiculous. And the fact that like the restraining order, that's the lowest blow. The guy is a fucking famous rapper. People try to rob him in LA. He can't even fucking defend himself because your dumb ass is mad over him streaming with some bitches on Twitch.
Yeah.
Incredible, bro. Incredible. So yeah, man, I hope he gets his kid back. Like I said, I still make fun of him every now and then, but bro, until he gets his kid back, I ain't gonna roast him, bro. I hope he gets his kid back. It's fucking ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, we'll see how all these
I also gotta come to his defense now, because this dumbass mermaid.
We're gonna see how all these situations resolve themselves, man.
Yeah.
Listen, another day of court tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. If you want to do something, let me know. We could do another breakdown.
Shit, yeah. Well, if you're around tomorrow, we could do some shit. I'm running on empty, but shit, I got a little bit more.
Go to sleep, get some rest. And we can make something happen. Because I think from what I heard, this guy's going to give some crazy testimony tomorrow. That's what they were telling me.
Now you got me hyped.
Somebody flew out from all the way from LA and told me that shit. Like, yeah, this is the dude that gets pegged or some shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. If that's the case, I'll pull up. We'll work it.
The salacious details is really what like keeps us like, yo, this is better than TV, right?
Yeah. We could do it late night or some shit, whatever.
All right, let's do it. Yeah. All right, listen, man. Thank you guys for watching. Whether you were watching on Myron Gaines X or you were watching on Rumble on either of our channels, or you were watching on YouTube. Thank you to the guys on the King Akademiks and the Academy channel, and also my people, my loves, my people. Go subscribe to my Kick.
And they're making fun of my boots the whole show and my clothes. Fuck y'all niggas. I go to the gym, all right? So on, I gotta be form-fitting a little bit here, okay? I had some nigga shit here.
They want to see you with the J's so bad, man.
You know what? I used to be a Jordan collector.
Really?
Yeah. I got like 30 pairs. I just never wear them.
Yeah. Also,
and I got a pair of 4s at the house and a pair of 11s, but I just never wear them.
They don't know that also like you're not the necessary like casual like yo I'm about to go to the club type of person like
no I hate that shit.
You used to be working,
but I could become a nigga in 30 seconds if needed. Like I could get the waves back and wear the Jordans and you know.
Well, they want you to do the Mr. Beast transformation. They want you, you know what I mean. You gotta look like a scammer real quick. You know what I mean? Like you gotta look like a scammer still.
Yeah, nah. Because I was always a Jordan fan, so I always loved Michael Jordan. So and I played basketball, but like yeah, man, I got a bunch of like the rare shits. I got like Spiz likes that you can't even find no more, motherfuckers.
Wait,
I got 11. Huh?
Do you have it in Miami?
I got them in Connecticut.
Oh yeah, you gotta give people the shoe to, bro.
Yo, they're dead stock. I got Flint 7s. I got fucking I got a bunch of different 8s. I got the playoffs. I got the Aquas. I got 6s, 7s, 5s, 4s, 3s, 2s. 15s.
Shit.
No, the 16s are ugly. Those are trash. Anything after 15, honestly, is trash. So, but yeah. Yeah, I'm an avid Jordan collector back in the day, bro. But other than that, man, yeah, no. Dunks are lame.
All right, guys. We're going
to sleep, man.
Oh, by the way, Eddie, my man on Kick. Yo, everybody, if you're watching me, go over to kick.com/academics. Please go make an account. We're going to be doing a Kick exclusive stream. You know what I mean? I got to run some money, and yeah, we'll be having a good time on this. And I get to just chill out and riff, especially after a long day of hearing about all the guys that Diddy has pegged, got skeeted on his chest. Like, this is crazy. So please make sure you guys go follow Kick. We're Academics on Kick. Kick.com/academics. We're trying to get to 100,000. We just made it to 10, so appreciate all you guys.
Boom.
Yo, thank you for coming through, my brother.
Yeah, of course, bro. And guys, sorry that I started late. I normally start at 5 or whatever, but I'll talk with Ak right now. We'll figure something out. If we do a stream for you guys tomorrow, awesome. If not, then, you know, it is what it is, depending on what time this guy goes to sleep or whatever. But yeah, we'll see if we can make something happen. I think the testimony tomorrow is going to be crazy. And I think tomorrow's going to be my last day, bro, to be honest. Yeah. Or at the latest, I'm out of here Thursday. I got to be out of here Thursday.
I'm still at it, man. All right, man. See you guys. Peace.
Later, guys.
Thank you for watching.